Welcome to Chronic Curiosity, where real people have real conversations. From anything to everything, and sometimes nothing. But if you enjoyed the show, we'd ask that you would make sure to follow, subscribe, do all the things that you're supposed to do, but more importantly, share it with a friend and get the word out there. We love interacting and communicating with everybody, different ideas, opinions, and thoughts to have real conversations. If you want to support the show, tell your friends. Or you can also go on the website, chronic-curiosity.com. You can donate there in USD or Bitcoin, or you can also pick yourself up a t-shirt, a sweatshirt, a hat, even a coffee mug with Bitcoin or USD to support the show. Hope you enjoy. And here we go.
That's nuts.
So I
man.
popped before you get them confused. I popped that one.
Oh, okay.
C921. I think that's what it is. Turn around. I can't see it, but
I've never seen so many different kinds of Elijah Craigs all in one
Dude, somebody's got to
place
take a
before.
picture for social medias.
social medias.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, the camera too.
Jody looks to see my face.
Oh, yeah, that's a really good view from up there. It looks
Yeah.
really good.
You got it?
Yeah,
You're
there's
still
just-
going?
What type of brand trouble are we gonna get?
Yeah,
in here?
right?
Well, I would
Oh,
say,
I'm not making any money, so none.
I think all of them except two of them. There might be some doubles too. Yeah. Whatever you guys want to.
Holy shit.
It's so many.
So if
Yeah, because
if anyone absolutely wants to crack the 18, we will. If not, I'll probably just save it for.
I think we're probably
all right. I think we'd be
We'll
all
Here,
right.
probably
take
be
a,
okay.
Take a picture over
I
there.
think we'd be all right.
Yeah, here's another barrel.
You just got to get them all.
Are these? I didn't even ask. Are these? What are these? Are these barrel proof or what are that?
So, dude, some of them are barrel proof. We'll separate those.
Okay.
If they're not barrel proof, there's the one toasted, and then the rest of them are all store picks.
I'll probably start with whatever's lower
Yeah.
proof. I already did the toasted barrel, so I'm pretty
Yeah, I
familiar
know
with that one. But
we're a huge fan of that one.
Yeah.
So I figured Fred might like, which I think you had, but it's like sweeter.
Yeah, now I know what I'm actually like drinking though.
Yeah.
At this point,
So
I think
these are
the
store.
1910 is like the best toasted finish to me. Like
it is good.
it's
Did you
hard-
say you mix that
hard to
with?
beat that one. 1910 with rare breed rye is killer, dude. It's really good.
There you go. I think those are all the. Yeah, and then these are the
It's
store
wild
picks.
turkey in the forest.
That's
Right?
funny. Okay, so these are all barrel proof. Here's the toasted. These are all store picks. Here's the 18.
Jeez Louise. They're Elijah Craig's, for sure.
Yeah,
Definitely. I got you on that one.
It's hard to mistake those.
Yeah, I got you on that one. You got enough of them.
Do you want to put your password in?
Yeah, sure.
Where did you find this Old Kirk at? Like, what state was this
Oh,
in?
Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Yeah,
okay.
I don't know if it's anywhere but Tennessee. So I think that there was a company out of California that originally had that contract, and something didn't happen. So someone in Tennessee like got it, and they started bottling as Old Kirk. And everyone says it's
Thanks.
Willet juice in disguise.
So what were they originally going to use it for? Do you know?
Oh, I don't know.
I didn't know that Willett even sourced anything. Like they would actually let somebody source their
Right.
juice at all. Like,
Yeah, dude, I didn't. So 8 batches. This is 2019, 20, and 21 8 batches. B batches. Oh, I had a this year's, but I think I drank it.
I heard from some people that they said the B batch this year was the best, and the other people said the C batch was the best. Those were the two that they kind of like argued between.
I like the. I wish I could compare them.
Yeah.
I thought the B was pretty good. I thought the C was better. I know you weren't wild about the C.
Mhm.
So, but fire away. Let's force it fast.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah, man. There's a bunch of little ones over here.
All the Karens.
Yeah, all the Karens.
Tim Karens.
Yeah, what are we doing here,
See that
Tom?
logo on a Glen Karen glass. That'll be cool.
Oh, but you're the one making it, so.
just so many.
That'd be ridiculous.
Or on the front of a barrel. That'd be cool too.
That would be our pick.
Yeah.
The Glen Cairn
That'd
pick.
be super
Mhm.
cool. There you go. Where are we going with, Tom? What are we doing?
Bro, you guys tell me.
I'd say start lower proof first.
Yeah.
And work up. But
Yeah, the picks. So, and then move to these if you guys want. If you want, you can crack that Old Kirk. Or do you want to wait?
that's up to you, brother.
Well,
That's,
no,
that's,
I
that's your
brought
call.
it so we could crack it. So you could try it.
Yeah,
didn't know
I mean,
if
we
you wanted
can-
to try it first, or if you wanted to try it afterwards. It is a higher proof.
921. Well, these should be the same. This is the same barrel.
Because if I
The
do
same-
that, I'm not
Yeah,
gonna taste.
it's
These are gonna
the
taste like
same
water.
So we probably take one of those off the table.
It probably makes sense, right? You want to take the Buller one out?
I had a killer store pick, one of the OHLQs of the Elijah Craig of the small batch
Yeah.
last year, and it was like $28 or something like that, and it was
No kidding.
wicked good.
OHLQ,
I don't remember the numbers because it's all like a serial number thing.
Right.
One of those, one of those type things, but I don't remember the numbers,
of
and it was
these.
wicked good for the
Yeah.
price, man.
I should have brought the new riff. that tasted
Oh,
like-
really? I've never had anything new riff yet.
I have one that tastes like gas and lightning bugs, and it was a pick. And you compare it head to head. And the other one I have it wasn't a store pick or anything. It's great. It's like
Really?
very good cherries.
Mhm.
But I'm telling you, the other one, if you had it, you'd be like, dude, this is something.
Well, that's what we tried the new riff the other week, and you were like, it just tastes like gas and
Bugs and
lightning
gas.
bugs. I'm like, oh,
That's
not to my
terrible.
knowledge. I'm like, I don't think so. I've never had a
Yeah.
new riff that
I
tasted that
cannot
bad before.
emphasize how bad it was. It's just terrible.
Ugh.
Terrible.
It's almost too many. It's almost too many bottles here, Tone.
Said no one ever.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Need a bigger table. Need a bigger table.
Yeah, I know nothing about bourbon.
Sorry.
I'm the
Did you have a
only one.
spreadsheet on your phone just a
Should
second
have
ago?
Well,
spreadsheet.
Well, I know how to buy it. I mean, you go like this.
I have never seen that. Somebody have a spreadsheet of bourbon on their phone, but then
No, that was a receipt, dude.
make that statement. Ah, gotcha.
Yeah, that was a receipt of all the bourbon. I
Yeah, that
bought.
was he called me. I was like, why is Chad calling me? He's like, hey, I'm over here in Wyoming, wherever he was at. He's like, the store's got all these things. You want any of them? I'm like, well, yeah, sure.
It was $800 worth
You
of.
sent it. Yeah, you did.
Jenks Liquors 12 year.
I was like, I'll get the Apple points.
This smells a
This
lot
one.
like the one that I had. That's probably.
Oh, the OHLQ.
Yeah.
I'll try.
Where'd the
I'll
trash can go?
it's over here. Sorry.
No, you're good. I was just like,
I missed anyways. Sorry. I'm gonna try this one.
Is that how it goes? You just grab one and go?
yeah.
Yeah, sometimes.
Sick.
Unless you know what you're looking
Just
for.
get on in there.
No fucking clue. Is it what one tastes like Dr. Pepper?
I'm gonna say neither of them.
Yeah, probably not.
Nah.
No.
Hmm.
Which one are you going?
All right, well, pick one for me, Tony.
That's a good one to start with.
Yeah, so
I'd
this
say-
one.
It's gentle. It's
Hook it up.
nice. It's welcoming.
It is. As soon as I smell, I guess gentle and nice.
It's gonna
and
be
welcoming.
gentle.
It smells good.
There you go, good sir.
Let's figure it out.
It's a little cold at the moment.
Figure it out.
Hmm.
That's pretty good.
Mhm.
Yeah. Especially if you only, well, you said you got yours for like $30 or
It's
something like
$28.
that.
I got one bottle, went home, cracked it open, and I go, oh shit. And
Yeah.
I went back in to get more, and they were all gone.
Yeah.
It drove like it's like, oh fuck, I get more of this shit.
Oh, shoot.
It's good.
I mean, for $28, it's not gonna like blow your mind or anything, but
No, but
it's
for $28,
crazy good.
yeah, it's really good.
No.
Yeah.
If you can spend $28 on something and drink it neat, like
Yeah.
that's a
Exactly.
score.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's
Yeah.
that's a real score there.
I mean, that's if you think about it, that's way cheaper than beer. I mean, that bottle's gonna last you how long, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Well, maybe you, Josh.
so-
Yeah.
all right, fair enough.
Cheaper for the effect at least. That's good.
Okay, so what one was that?
That was the
No.
OHLQ number 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mambo number 5.
Oh,
And now, because they had numbers, and then they had serial numbers underneath them, right? So I don't remember if like for each like OHQ number 4, was there a different serial number, or inside of 5 was there like series of serial numbers because they had tasting notes for each one of them.
Gotcha.
And I don't remember. There might be a lot of different variations in those.
Yeah, they're good.
that one says sweet tea.
Yeah, get that one down if you want to.
Or you can try. Well, he said he liked the with the caramel there now.
Oh, yeah, he
try
was
that
like,
caramel
it's
one,
sweet.
too.
You'd like that one.
It's a little higher proof though, so we'll get
We'll
you.
get to it.
old
Get
girl
you
may
wrapped
sneak
up
up on
first.
you.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to introduce. I know they've both been on, but if you want
Yeah,
to reintroduce
yeah.
them.
Yeah, maybe not accidentally, but it just so happens we got Josh and Chad here with us today, who have both been on previously. So
Sweet.
excited to hang out with you boys.
Yeah.
I appreciate you coming back.
Thanks for having me.
Hanging
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
Appreciate
I didn't realize it was going to be this.
Oh no, this
Oh.
is just this is here.
It's,
Like,
it's a
that's
side.
not-
Yeah, it's just a
there's-
side.
there's
Yeah, it's
more
just a
down there.
side project.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's it.
It's a side effect.
Yeah, anytime there's bourbon, it puts a smile on my face.
Yeah.
And you combine that with good people and good convo,
Yeah. Well, I know
just builds
last
off
time
each other.
it seems like you've gone into a bourbon dive since the last time you were here. So
Yeah.
he was like,
Deep-
I'm going to bring
deep
some
dive.
a deep dive.
Yeah.
He said, yeah.
I haven't hit the bottom of the rabbit hole yet.
Oh,
Still
haven't
falling,
gotten to the
still
bottom of the
falling,
bottle.
yeah.
What do you think?
You know, it's not as sharp as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
It smells like it's sharp. It smells like literal, rubbing alcohol, but it doesn't bite like that.
Usually, what do they say on bourbon? That first taste always has that super like upfront ethanol.
Mm.
You're like,
There's things that you can do like as you kind of get more comfortable with it and do it over time, of like how to breathe and how to nose, like taking in air through your mouth while you're breathing, like through your nose, so that it's not like a direct, like deep nose and like pure alcohol hit, like you said. So
I think there's something too about the way you swallow. If you just like toss it back and it
Yeah.
hits your throat, it's
Yeah.
like, oh, like you let it actually, you sit down and taste it for a second. It's
Right.
like, oh,
Yeah, like
get ready for it.
the crappy stuff, the stuff that's not that good, you try it and you get like tears in your eyes. It's so strong. It's like, oh.
Yeah.
And you just drink it to get fucked up. You're like, I'm here for a purpose,
yeah.
Like,
Yeah, we're here for this is just a different kind of purpose here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
this is more like the enjoyable part.
Yeah.
There's beef sticks, by the way, and cheese.
Oh, there's stuff in there
You want
fridge
some?
too, if you want.
Well, I mean, yeah.
have them out there.
So I bought them.
Yeah, that's good.
I thought of you.
That's
The
interesting.
beef sticks, I thought of you, and
Did
then I
you
was
do the same
like,
one?
what's
yeah,
that?
the OHL coup. Yeah.
Then I was like, I gotta get cheese too and pretzels.
Chad
my
comes.
language.
Chad comes
Oh yeah,
prepared
you just stick it right in the middle.
amongst everything else. Yeah, if we had a middle.
Yeah, we used to.
Part the sea.
Yeah. Never thought this table would be so full.
Right? I like it though.
Yeah.
These are the Bueller special.
Ooh.
Oh. I went to, there's a store that Tony always gets beef jerky for, well, not always, but there's a place that they get beef jerky from, and it's a local place, Freedom Foods, right down the road.
Oh yeah.
And they have that cooler. I went in there the other day and I saw it was like half full, and I was like, oh, I better get some jerky while I'm here. And like it was all hot. And I was like,
Yeah, the
I don't-
devil's kiss.
Oh man,
There's-
it kisses you somewhere.
Yeah,
but it's
well,
not in the
So
mouth.
you remember
It's
the,
more
you
on
remember the first time you had it?
Anus.
Yeah.
we were going down to Kentucky, and
Yeah.
I was like, hey, I got some of this. I was like, it's pretty hot though. I said it's not hot like immediately, but on the back end, she's gonna do something to you.
Yeah.
And so you were
And
just
I was like,
smashing.
yeah, I
You're
was like,
"Oh, it's not that bad."
whatever. No, it was hot.
Regret.
it was hotter going out than it was going in. I can tell you that. Yeah. So I don't get the hot from there anymore, but they do have good sticks
You
and
learn.
jerky though.
Well,
We'll see how good the Wyoming one is.
oh, is that the Wyoming?
Yeah,
one?
Oh, is
crafter.
that the one you just you got?
Yeah. All right.
Oh, so, gentlemen, tell me a little bit about what's kind of going on in your life right now, work-wise, family-wise,
I have a job.
updates.
I-
Well, that's good. You have a
That's
job.
true.
Yeah. Well, I drove around the whole state of Colorado and texted you about half of it.
Let's talk about it,
You
man.
do?
That sounds fantastic.
Oh my gosh.
So, what was your purpose for?
Well, so the wife and I, we want to look outside and see mountains. I'll be quick, because I know I can go for 3 hours on that alone. But we want to look outside and see mountains. I fell in love with mountains when I went out to California for work. And then just, you wake up in the hotel, you look out, and you're like, holy shit, there's mountains, So hiking in it, checking those out, I'm like, we got to do it. So Colorado, we just always talked about it, and like, oh, it'd be kind of neat to go check that out. So I had a unique opportunity to where there was a flight out to California that I had to take, and there was a layover in Colorado.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, well, cool. And I was like, well, I usually do Google Flights, and then I do it through my internal expense stuff after that. But there was one that was like a 9-hour layover, and I laughed. It was the cheapest one. I was like, that's ridiculous. I just need to get out there, And I thought, that's a free rental car, basically. And it's a free trip to Colorado to check it out. So I did that. I got a rental car, and I was going to drive all the way to Aspen and then drive back. Well, I didn't make it to Aspen. I made it to Glenwood Canyon.
Okay.
It's awesome. It's right after Vail and all that stuff. And it's just beautiful. And I was just, oh my gosh, and the whole time I was like, wow, the whole time. And then I told the wife when I got back, I said, listen, we have got to go out here at some point. She said, okay. And then with COVID, the masks and all that crap, I'm not putting one on my kids. So we're like, well, we're not flying out, so we'll drive out. So car service drove all the way out straight. Drove from Ohio out to Colorado Springs. It was 20 hours. And that was Christmas night, because my parents had COVID.
Done that drive before.
Yeah, it's a pain in the ass. We took 72, so it's really fucking flat.
Yeah.
And then around like Kansas, after Kansas City, what was it? The state, is that Kansas? The state of Kansas? Anyways, the one right before Colorado.
However, those states are aligned these days.
Sorry. Yeah, but it was
Nebraska on top, and then
yeah.
Kansas
Oh, that's what it is. Yeah,
Colorado.
that's right. Yeah, Nebraska's 80. So it was like a dust storm, like this wild freaking dust storm, and I'm talking like nasty. Like you had to turn recycle on.
Was it a haboob?
I don't know. What's a haboob?
Oh yeah, we talked about
We did.
boobs. They're like particularly they're special dust storms.
Dust
that have,
storms
like-
just come out of nowhere.
Dude, it was wild. It was like half the state. And then you got into Colorado, and it was half of the state until you got to like the prairie, like pretty high up, closer to the mountains.
Yeah.
Anyways, it was wild, man. It was pretty gross. So got there, Colorado Springs, spent a day, checked out Pikes Peak, and then did that whole thing. Bought some edibles out there. Those are freaking awesome.
Wait, hold on. On Pikes Peak, do they still do the? You guys drove up it and drove.
Well, they had it closed after, I think they had 13 of the 16 miles open.
Okay.
So we only got 13 miles up.
Okay. Did they still do the brake check thing?
What do you mean?
I know back in the day when I went up there, when you were coming down, they would stop you at a certain point, and they had like a heat gun, I think, on your brakes to make sure that
You weren't gonna die.
the brakes weren't going to fail when you were going down.
No, when we checked in, because you had to pay money to get in, they said, the lady was like, you know how to use the paddle shifters, right, on your car? I'm like, how'd you know I had paddle shifters? And she's like, well, you need to use those coming down so you don't wear out your transmission or wear out your brakes. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Makes sense.
So,
That I would absolutely love to do that in a rally car sometime.
oh, yeah. Well, and the weird part is, dude, Pikes Peak's but go out to Telluride.
Yeah.
Telluride will blow your freaking mind because we did Pikes Peak and then the next day did Telluride. It is insane, just the freaking sheer size of the mountains, and you're driving through it. Wolf Creek Pass, nuts. That's over by Durango. The $1 Million Highway was closed due to an avalanche.
Yeah, that would have been wild.
I know.
That highway
Well, you
was
text me
crazy.
that, and I was like, $1 Million Highway. And my wife's like, oh yeah, that's the road that's closed. I was like, what? And it was avalanche. So we ended up going down south. Went through Wolf Creek Pass. It was 5 feet of fresh snow, and I'm talking like
Jeez.
you
That's a lot of snow.
Well, right, you're like 5 inches. No, 5 feet. Like the side of the car. It wasn't like it was piled up. It was they shot it off the side of the mountain with a snowblower, and it was shaved off up over the car. So they had 5 feet of
So you're
fresh
just
snow,
driving through like this
That's crazy.
walls of.
and it was fucking coming down hard. And they had the chain. You have to put chains on or all-wheel drive vehicle thing. It was freaking nuts. And I'm sitting there like half asleep driving like this with kids in the car. It was nuts. Anyways, did that, and then you get over the pass, and it's all beautiful. It's all snowy. Then we pulled into Durango, and stayed in Durango, and
Okay.
it was cool. And then we just made our way up, went to Arches National Park.
How big's Durango? Is that a pretty small?
Nah, it is kind of small.
What do you think their population is?
I don't know, like Worcester.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not that big, but it's big enough. It's kind of neat. Then we went up to Arches, checked that out in Utah. Speed limit's 80, which is crazy. Speed limit is 80. I'm doing 80. I'm like, I've never driven the speed limit in my life. And so, yeah, that was nuts. And then
Yeah, he got
stayed in
out
Moab that night.
Wyoming.
And then we drove up to
How was Moab?
Moab's cool.
Did you get to do any hiking out there? Or just
No,
overall?
man, we drove like 5 hours a day. Like
Okay.
just, it was a lot of miles. I think we drove a total of 4,000 miles over a 7-day period.
Ooh.
It was a lot.
You see a lot.
But yeah, we got to see a lot. The cool part about it is when we got up, we went to Telluride, and then we went over to Leadville, which they've got a place called Melasagna or something like that.
Okay.
It's this custom. They make in-house these hoodies or whatever, the shirts. So you only can buy 2. You have to have an appointment to get in there. Everything like that. It's pretty like they only have one store. It's like prestigious, right? So I went in there like $170 a piece. Bought 2 of them.
Hold on. So I guess what's special about these hoodies?
They're just handmade.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
they're just handmade literally in that store. I'll show you after the podcast or whatever.
What's the material that they use?
Cloth? I don't know.
I didn't know if it
Cotton?
was something special. Like, if it was like hemp or
No,
What's it
it's in Leadville. It's melasagna.
lasagna.
Yeah, something like that.
I like lasagna.
I do
I
too.
was
But
gonna
if
say, I'm
you
hungry.
if you go if you look in Leadville and you just type in clothing, you should be able to find it. But the store is pretty cool, and then Leadville is at 10,000 feet elevation.
Yeah, I thought it was.
It's really
Pretty
high
high.
up. So they have it's the wildest. I'm sorry, I knew this was going to take forever, but they
No,
have we had to stay in a hotel because it was a snowstorm that night as
Okay.
well. Because like you'd be driving and it's like 60 degrees out, no snow. You're like, oh, I'm going to go up this mountain. Ooh, it's getting a little snowy. You go over the crest of the mountain, full blown snowstorm. So that's what we did. And so we're driving through the snowstorm to get to Leadville and then finally get there. And it's just like, it keeps coming down more. We're like, we literally can't drive in the snowstorm. So we stayed.
You guys had. What was the vehicle you had? That
Acura MDX is
Okay.
the Acura that's out there, yeah. So new tires, everything, high performance, all season tires, stuff like that. So, anyways, got there and bought those, and then there's a hotel. There's not like a Marriott right there. Like you got to find like a local hotel.
Yeah.
Well, there was a Delaware hotel, and it's this old school hotel, and I'm like, I asked somebody, I was like, hey, what's the best hotel you guys got here? He's like, well, it's either the Delaware hotel, it's haunted, or this other hotel over here that's kind of shitty. And I was like, oh,
Bring
fuck.
on the
Yeah, I
ghosts.
guess we're doing Ghostbusters tonight. So did that. The guy was weird that checked us in, but I asked him jokingly about haunted. He's like, oh, yeah, that's what they say. I was like, oh, okay, not a big deal. Then I ran into a guy that was the construction foreman that's over all the construction there, and he was talking to me. He's like, oh, yeah. He's like, I don't believe in ghosts whatsoever. He's like, but working here, he's like, man, I went to sleep one night. I'm sitting there. Yeah, there it is. He's like, I was sitting there. Yeah, that's what it is. 100% handmade here. I was there.
Oh, they like so. I wonder how.
There's a good Mexican place next door. It's pretty cool. But yeah, they're just unique. So anyways, the dude was telling me, he's like, I don't believe in ghosts whatsoever. I've got the orange one right there. They even sell hats. There's one of the ladies I saw.
Those do look comfortable.
Dude, they're so comfy. But so he's like, I don't believe in ghosts. He was laying in bed, and all of a sudden he's like, I kind of woke up, and he's like, a woman was sitting on the edge of my bed. And he's like, I just looked at her. He was like, holy shit. And then he went back to sleep. Woke up, obviously she's gone. He's like, the next night, same thing. Went to sleep, boom, lady sitting at the end of my bed. He's like, it was the weird. He's like, there was a lady sitting at the end of my bed. It wasn't a real lady. I could see through her. It was a ghost. I was like, holy shit. He's like, yeah.
I don't know if I'm going. I'm sorry.
He's like,
I don't know if I'm going back to sleep though. If I wake up,
That's
it's some
exactly what I'm
strange lady.
thinking. You
still
don't
at the end
maybe
of my bed.
front?
so maybe
Like,
he was like, are you going to come in here, with me? I mean, what's this going to be? You
Is
know?
some ghost sex.
He's like, is this a brothel?
Bro, on one of the Rogans, do you remember that? One of the comedians was taught. He's like, "Oh yeah, I used to have sex with ghosts all the time when I was a kid."
Oh, jeez. I've heard of people
It's
doing
like,
that.
oh my god!
I've heard a lot of things.
Well,
Yeah.
you sure that was a
It
ghost?
sounds like your whole trip. Have you guys ever heard of? I think it's Brian's Questionable Decisions.
Oh,
He's on like Facebook and Instagram. He drives this. Look at type of Instagram Brian's
Brian's
questionable
questionable
decisions on
decisions.
Instagram.
I feel this is dig at me, but all right, go
Yeah.
ahead.
No, you'll see what I'm talking.
I need to get more of this,
He has
bro.
this old Ferrari that he drives
Oh, okay.
around,
Oh yeah, I
and he
know.
takes it like
What's next?
he'll like drive it through like.
What's next?
There's
you said you wanted more of
plenty
that.
them.
Oh, I mean,
But he'll like drive it through like
it's a mouse.
upper
I-
Canada and like Alaska and
Mm.
stuff. And so
Oh.
he takes some really neat pictures. Yeah, that was different. That one that you got where was this, Wyoming? That you
Yeah,
got-
I like that one.
Yeah.
It is.
Wyoming one?
It's because that the OHLQ one was like a little sweeter,
Yeah.
and this one has like a caramel, but like it's not as like I don't know. It's got like a
Mouthfeel?
cleaner mouthfeel. It's a little spicier though. I feel like it's good though. Yeah, yeah. Brian's questionable decisions. He drives around this
That's so
Ferrari,
awesome.
and like there's like pictures of it like in snowstorms and stuff. Yeah, he's just like driving it through the mountains.
So that is literally what it looks like. That's what Pikes Peak looks like.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Super cool.
I always wonder, like, do people get tired of that view ever? I mean, do you ever
Dude.
like wake up like, oh, this is so boring? You
I
know, like,
lit-
Yeah, I don't know how you
There's-
could.
I talked to somebody in Moab about that because we were at Arches, and I was like, hey, it's like, so I was pumping gas. I was like, you live out here. I was like, is this pretty cool living out here? He's like, it's all right. I'm like, okay. Would you rather take this or Ohio? He's like, probably Ohio. I'm like, what are you talking about, man? I was like, why? He's like, well, just 'cause it's kind of old out here. I said, dude, what gets old? He's like, well,
The fresh air.
Yeah, I was like, he's like, well, you go off road or you go check out arches or you go out to like the sand dunes or, I mean, you go into the mountains and I mean, it just kind of gets old. I'm like, okay, you like cornfields, do you? He's like,
Cornfields.
I don't know, it's different. I'm like, cool. Well, there's cornfields in Ohio. I was like, we
Soybeans.
don't have mountains.
Yeah.
I was like, so there's that. But
There is one nice thing about Ohio is there's not a lot of tornadoes or earthquakes or hurricanes or real snow at all. The temperature usually stays fairly decent. This is the first time it's dipped below 20 degrees all year. I mean, it's not like
just a lot of seasonal depression.
yeah, a lot of seasons. Well, I knew I used to work with a guy who lived out in North Dakota for a while. And he said, like, when they would go to the bars and hang out, but like during the winter, when they go to the bar, you leave your car running. And every car, like a garage, has like a engine block heater because it gets, negative 15, negative 20 degrees during the winter. He was like, you'd have to leave your car running. He's the one time he was kind of an old hippie. He's like, we went out. He's like, we were driving around smoking some doobies. He's like, we went back to the bar. He's like, yeah. He's like, I couldn't make it back inside. So he's like, I had to take a leak. He's like, so I started peeing in the parking lot. He's like, and it was so cold. He's like, when I got done, it was just a mound. And I'm like, yeah, bro, I'm out on that. Like, that's too cold.
dude,
Like,
so it was 7 degrees out there. And I was, we were in Fort Collins because that was where our last stop before we went north. And it was 7 degrees. I was outside unloading the car in shorts and a t-shirt. And I was like, this is nothing, man. Like the whole time, I think every picture I have, I'm in shorts because it's not that cold. And then I got back to Ohio and it's 20 degrees outside. And I thought, shorts, t-shirt, and flip-flops, whatever. Not a big deal. Dude, I froze my butt off back here. And it's what it is the humidity.
I was gonna say the humidity.
The humidity out there is like non-existent. But you get here, the humidity is so high, it makes it feel super cold.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's weird.
That is one thing I've talked to a lot of people from like different places that like they come and like I've talked to quite a few helicopter pilots that travel around and do a bunch of stuff. They said like Ohio's beautiful, like with its trees, it's so green. Yeah. So, but if you come at the wrong time in the summer, 80 degrees feels like 120 because it's just so humid. And it's like, okay, I guess I get that. But other than that, Ohio's not too terrible.
I remember reading I don't know if it was a short story or something, but it was about Mark Twain and something about he was like a riverboat captain. And I don't know if you...
It's ringing a bell.
Yeah. And basically it said the same thing though, that like, when he first got there, he was like, oh wow, this is amazing. Like this river, it's so beautiful. And then over time it just kind of waned or faded. And he was like, oh, well, that means that it's shallow right there. And he started seeing things in a different light. So
yeah, I wonder if that's just like you think that's like a evolutionary trait that we've somehow that we've gotten to like be bored and to get like complacent so you can kind of keep moving.
Like, well, I don't know. I think the cold part is though, like we were talking a little bit about that with the polar plunge, is like, we take cold showers and stuff like that. Your body kind of gets used to it. And so you don't become such a wuss about it. But I think that's an evolutionary thing. And then even jumping into cold ass streams and stuff. I mean, we didn't have hot showers. Back in the day.
I mean, not that long ago.
Well, and then
when was the first hot shower? Where do you think the first hot shower was?
Dude, there was hot showers because you have the copper. So I've got an old copper bathtub at home. It's just, we use it as like a storage bin or whatever like that. But you used to put that over a fire, over coals, heat that up.
Yeah, but I wonder when like the first time like someone created like a mechanical hot, like an intentional like mechanical warm.
What do you think?
Shower.
Late 1800s maybe?
That'd probably be my guess. Like not like a warm bath where you boil the water and pour it, like a mechanical like heated shower.
I mean, they had shower hats in World War One, so it at least came before that.
Yeah,
because you'd have to warm the
1810.
water.
Oh wow!
Right,
so early.
You got like a picture. It's like
I bet it's fancy.
It's so fancy. It's a fire, and then like the water falls off to the second floor.
No, there is not a picture.
I think the fire's up here, the water's up here, and then they got the thing at the bottom that goes down.
If it's an iPhone pic, I'm gonna start questioning authenticity.
There's no photo.
It's too many megapixels.
It was invented by an anonymous entrepreneur, which offered bathers a hot shower for the first time, and it was called the English Regency shower.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Regency.
Very fancy. Regency Esquire.
It was then adapted further in 1850 after the Greek and Roman method of reliable plumbing was rediscovered.
I just thought
Yeah,
of
and-
rusty trombone. A rusty trombone.
What?
I don't know why. Whenever you said that, I'm like,
Oh, yeah. The Romans, I don't know if they did it right, though, because they used that lead for their pipes.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
they,
what are you
they
doing?
all
Hey, who
got,
cares? You're not gonna live that long
Yeah, but they
anyway.
don't know that. They didn't know that then.
yeah, well, they
You're not
got
gonna live that long.
the
Hey,
lead
you know
poisoning,
what?
plum bomb.
I'm just saying, I think there's a lot of people that end up doing things to their body that they find out later. Probably not such a good idea.
Cheers to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Salute,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is sustainable though. People have been doing this for a long time. Maybe.
I saw something it was a statistic, and I feel like it was probably BS, but it was saying how back in the 60s, the average family consumed, I feel like it was like at least a bottle, it was a bottle or 2 bottles of whiskey per week.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know if that's accurate. Cass, see if you can dig that up.
That's
It was probably, it's
hardcore.
probably used for medicinal
I was
purposes.
going to say
as
they
well.
used that. A lot of that stuff
Yeah.
for
It
medicinal.
fell
Yeah.
way out of style there for quite a while.
It did. It
Yeah.
did big time.
Yeah.
It was the clear stuff was
Mhm.
in.
Yeah, that clear stuff messes me up though. Especially that tequila. I guess tequila's not always clear. There's brown, isn't there brown and yellow tequila?
Yeah,
Some of the names,
Reposado,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm not. I try to stay away from it. I usually take naps on people's front lawns when I drink tequila, so I stay away from
From a
it.
lawn
That
ornament.
next.
Yeah,
Sweet.
whiskey just makes me a
Sweet
little
oaky.
numb, and if I go to bed too soon, you gotta watch out for that.
Could
But,
be worse.
Watch out, Cass.
yeah, but yeah, everything else I'm
So-
okay with.
So the town and country supermarket, that one tasted a little bit more sharp.
Yeah,
I like
was.
that one.
Had a little bit
was.
more kick to it.
I like
It
that
wasn't
one.
quite as sweet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's the exact same brand and just different picks, so you can taste the difference.
And what was the first one? It was that.
It was the
one right there.
OHLQ.
Number
OHLQ,
5,
okay,
right behind
okay.
The cheese.
Got it. We got to get those off. We got to get those out of here because we're not going to do it again, right?
I mean,
We're going to go down the line.
sure. I mean, yeah, you
You
don't have to
drinking
get
all
them
of
out.
them?
Yeah.
Yes.
You'll have to.
You staying here tonight?
Wheeling
Yeah,
them
well,
out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for a fun experience, I'll have to let you try I have one up there. It's almost out. It's not very good, but so
Why am I
it's
trying it?
well, it's
Don't let you try it.
Dick.
It's not very good.
well, it's,
Get rid of
it's
this
not.
for me.
No, it's no. It's not bad. I just want you to taste it.
All right.
It's not bad, but
This is
it's
a
one.
trick.
It's the woodiness. It's the underground one. The second one, Antonio.
Oh, I see it.
It has like with cherry. It's made with cherry wood.
Oh.
Like you can taste
Hmm.
like the cherry wood in it.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
So things like that. When people say like, sometimes people are like, oh, it has this and this. I'm like, tastes
Yeah.
like bourbon to me.
Yeah.
But some things are very clear, like you just said, like, oh, like this one's not as sweet.
Yeah.
But when you have like that one, like I first tried it, I was like, oh, it's not great. But like the wood flavors, if you like that,
Well, that's what I've been trying to do. Is I don't want to put a whole bunch in there because I want to try a bunch.
oh yeah, it's just a little tiny little bit.
And then I'm trying to cycle the cheese stick or the cheese and the beef, and then I'll hit the pretzels here in a little bit.
Yeah, there you go.
Get it all.
Josh,
kinda-
did you get COVID?
So not confirmed.
Okay.
But
Did you lose your?
oh yeah,
Okay.
I could drink balsamic vinegar at the height of it.
I
and
thought I
taste
remember. Yeah,
nothing.
I thought I remember you say that. Has that done anything to your ability to?
Mhm.
That sucked.
Peanut
because-
butter and coffee have been permanently affected.
Gotcha.
No kidding.
Mhm.
Like how?
Yeah, it's sad. So like I don't know how to describe
How long?
it.
Well, first, how long ago was it? Like how bad? Like
It was so right before COVID like became quote unquote COVID.
so you had it early.
Yeah, it was like the turn of what was that? Going into 2021. And I had it in December, like before the first of that year. So if it's not back at this point, I'm assuming it's not coming back. But yeah, it's really hard to describe what it does to the peanut butter scent and taste and the coffee scent and taste. It's almost like if you would imagine like the flavor spectrum, and then like you just take a hole punch, you just punch holes through it somewhere. I don't even know. It's bizarre. It's like certain flavors are just not even registering at all out of the peanut butter or the coffee.
That's
And I don't know
wild.
how to put my finger on it. I'm used to like kind of analyzing taste, so it
Yeah.
really drives
Right,
me
if
nuts.
you're yeah,
That's why I asked that because I
Yeah.
mean, in terms of like
Mhm,
descriptive ability with
Mhm.
like refined palates, like you're
mhm,
towards the top of people I know that can
Mhm.
very well describe taste, and so
yeah.
I wondered if it.
I'm sure it affects this. If it's affecting that,
Yeah.
it has to affect this somehow. So
Hmm.
I mean, everything I say at this point, I kind of have to tell people to take with a grain of salt. But yeah, but it's also I notice other things more than I used to as well. So
Hmm.
I don't know. Is what it is.
That was because like peanut butter and coffee, like you don't think they would have any type of ties together.
I don't know if it's. I don't know what it is, man. I don't. It's bizarre. Those are the two that are permanently affected.
It's like peanut butter coffee porters are just no go.
They're out.
right.
They're
Be
out.
like, okay, I don't taste this.
Yeah.
It's not that I don't.
This tastes like
taste-
strawberries.
It's weird. It's not that I don't taste it. It's like I taste. So like earthy notes come to the surface. Like I taste earthy notes way more than I used to, and I don't know if it's just masking other stuff, and I don't taste it, or if it's literally like the nerves aren't even transmitting anymore. I don't know what it
So
is.
you're only getting some of the
Right.
those receptors.
I don't know.
That's wild.
I can't complain. I mean, some people die
There's-
from it too, so who knows?
There was
Yeah.
a podcast that I was listening to. They were talking about why, or maybe it was something I was reading about why our smell goes away. And I thought they said it had something to do with the inflammation within our nasal cavities.
Yeah.
Mm.
They said they kind of linked it to that.
Mhm.
I didn't see anything about the taste part, but they said that they were pretty darn sure that the smell part was inflammation within the nasal cavities caused from the infection. You know,
That's so long. I don't know. Has there ever been anything like that before that like took away people's taste or smell like that? Because
viruses are kind of known for permanently affecting.
Because I've never heard anybody that I never knew anybody. I guess because
Mhm.
I had somebody recently sent me this. It was much akin to our Great Awakening poster. That like it was like that COVID. It's not necessarily. It's not a new virus. It's not real.
Mhm.
Like this whole thing isn't like
Mhm.
it's not real.
Mhm.
But I'm like, well, I've never known anybody that's lost their taste and smell from being sick, other than like, oh, like I'm congested. I just
Right.
can't smell today.
Yeah,
But I've known multiple people that like, yeah, I couldn't taste anything for a month.
it's bizarre. Yeah.
So it's like, all right, something's happening. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
is it the 5G towers, Tony? Is that what
Yeah.
that
Yes.
Yeah, I
There
don't
we
know.
go.
Something is obviously
we go.
happening. I haven't
I
had
don't
that.
know.
That's sad though.
I would say nanobots. probably.
Nanobots, yeah. The ticks. It's in the ticks now.
No,
That's what it is.
frogs. It's
Frogs.
the frog DNA in the nanobots. Oh, I got to try this.
I'm over the 94. Sorry.
That's why I was headed. I was like, I can't do these.
I
need
do
some
like this.
flavor.
I do like this toasted barrel though. It's definitely a flavor that you'd have to like. I wouldn't want it all the time, but it's nice. I like it.
I need Samuel
What's-
Jackson screaming down my mouth. Come on,
Yeah.
let's go.
What don't you like about the toasted
Good
barrel?
beer.
Because he mentioned that
It's
you
just
didn't-
kind of hollow in the middle for me. So like you get the sweet spike at the beginning, and then you kind of get this overwhelming like oak tannin, and that's about it. That's all I get. It's like hollow in the middle. I don't get any oily viscosity. I mean, it's 94, but I love like I'm a big mouthfeel guy and a finish guy. So
Right.
if it doesn't have like that good, like I'm looking for like a sticky mouthfeel.
I
and then, like-
kind of hang around a little
And then
bit.
like a finish that just goes on and on and on. I love to like rebreathe it.
I got you.
Love it. But you're not gonna get that on 94 regardless of what you
Right.
do,
No, I
but-
get what you're saying though. It is kind of, I guess, hollow. I guess that makes sense.
I mean,
what you're
it's
saying.
I'm not downplaying it. It's good.
No, yeah,
It's just-
I get what you're saying.
and to each their own. I mean,
Well, that it kind of helped because I've said it plenty of times. But Tony's been pouring bourbons down my throat for a couple years now, and I'm just now in the last probably 6 months to a year been able to been like, oh, I like this or I like that, like, and this is why.
You had some fantastic bourbons back in the day that
I
you
don't
like.
even
Yeah,
know what they were.
You're like, I don't even
Yeah, I
remember
didn't even know
what they were.
Like, I'm like, oh, this is good. So, but maybe if I would have had crappy bourbons in the beginning, I never would have gotten interested and found a bourbon that I like.
Ooh, maybe.
it's
a
so
good
hard to
smell.
say. I mean, when we all start out in whiskey, I mean,
Which one's that?
I had stuff back then too that I hadn't. It went
Toasted.
Yeah.
I had
Yeah,
no
the
idea.
smell's better.
Well, that's
than
what I was
taste on
telling
that
about.
one.
So
Oh,
I
okay.
found like one of my favorite brands is Woodinville, just because I found like, I don't know what it is, their style or whatever is just, I just like it
Mhm.
for the most part. But I tried one of they had a limited thing out that was finished in port casks.
Oh, wow.
And I tried it and I was like, oh, this is awesome. And it was
Pretty much
like
like that.
$40 or something like that. And I'm like,
Mhm.
Totally different.
man, like this is like the one I really enjoy all the flavor profile and the whole thing. And I went through a couple of bottles of it over
Mhm.
a year or two or so. And then I realized like the one day I was reading, I was like, it was like limited something or other. I'm like,
Uh-oh.
oh no, I never even read the whole bottle.
Yeah.
So then like I have one
Oh.
bottle in there that has like maybe like an inch in the bottom of it. I'm like, well, I guess I gotta save
Bust it
this.
out, man.
You gotta watch out for them advertising people. I'm just telling you, though, brother.
What do you,
A limited edition.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
but they haven't
Short release.
until I find more of it.
Yeah.
I will buy more when it comes out if
Yeah.
it does come out. I hope it does.
There's so many
but
buzzwords.
I was like, well, like I haven't seen it though. Like there was a time period it was in the stores, and
Gotcha.
then I haven't seen it anywhere since.
It
So
might have been, yeah.
yeah, because I was like, oh man, because I've seen them regular, and they've had other ones come out that I've picked up that are good, but
Mhm.
it was like, well, I guess I'll have to hold on to that one. Hopefully, maybe they'll make some more someday.
Not to jump in on you. Sorry about
No,
that.
yeah,
You know what's
it's
weird? I can taste nutty notes in whiskey that taste like what I remember, like a beam, anything
Yeah.
beam. I get that nuttiness, and
Yeah.
I don't get that out of a peanut. I can eat a peanut, and I won't get the nuttiness, but I can smell it in the beam.
That's super weird.
That's so
I don't
bizarre.
know what that is, dude.
It's China engineering your genes.
Is that just my
Is what
brain,
it
like,
is.
kind of remembering?
Yeah, I was gonna say now
Yeah,
it sounds like
maybe,
that.
yeah.
What's the receptors within your lungs? The ACE, is it ACE something?
The ACE receptors.
Yeah, the ACE
Yeah.
receptors is what how COVID gets in.
That's what they're saying.
Yeah.
So I remember having a conversation with the CRNA, like it was like 2 years ago, and she was like, "Hey, I think this is a very ACE heavy, just because of what we're seeing with the lungs and the inflammation and things like that." So
I was just thinking about it. Sorry to change subjects because I want to get back to this because this is amazing. This is crazy.
You like that?
Oh, dude. Well, let's talk
Which-
about that first, then because I want to jump.
Which
back
one's
to
that one?
This is the
Toasted.
toasted barrel.
Yeah.
That
Okay.
think of it like this. I tried to explain like my edibles thing, to somebody else. Like, sativa's more like crunchy, and indica's more like mellow. And they're like crunchy. I'm like, I don't fucking know, man.
I don't know what
But
I'm
like
trying to say.
this one's weird because these hit you kind of like right there, like kind of like a splash. This one more or less is kind of like thinking kind of like warm water, right? Kind of warms you up like a pocket warmer. This one kind of just goes and just warms up a little bit. That's how I explain that. Like it smells interesting. It smells like wood. Like you just
I was
got.
gonna say it might be the oak at the end that you're.
Oh yeah, dude. But
There's been a lot of cask involvement going on now.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
but you can taste the wood. You can literally taste like you're licking some freaking wood. And I'm not talking about
We'll pull.
penis.
Yeah, we'll pull that. bite
Definitely
out.
not
Yeah,
penis.
we're gonna pull-
Wood
That's
like
getting
this
snipped
table.
out.
Yeah, definitely gotta snip that
No-
one.
no
right at the end
clarification
there
needed.
too. No explanation, just right at the end.
Okay, we're back from a break.
That's gotta be how you start the show from now
what
on.
constitutes a toasted barrel? Like, what do they do? Because like, do you know how
Toasted,
they just like flame it and then
Yeah,
That
just
one's just toasted.
flamers.
That one's not charred.
yeah,
The
what's the
secondary
difference between toasted and charred?
oven, like heat.
Oh,
They'll bring
just
it to
the-
a certain heat and caramelize it. Like toasted, like, and then you can do charred. Like the 1910, they char those barrels
Yeah.
to where they almost don't even hold liquid anymore.
yeah. And is it 5 stages of char? Is that
They have, yeah, but that's not like regulated. Like
Yeah,
alligator
yeah,
number
yeah.
1, 2, 5. Like, so it's just kind of a guesstimate.
He
know, when
did
they
take a
say-
deep dive, didn't he?
Like,
well? I mean,
He
well,
might
from
do most of the
Scotch,
stuff
Scotch,
before- I get
yeah,
that's
yeah,
true
he do a
too.
ton of
right?
Scotch,
Yeah,
so-
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
I think
true.
that would be
forgot
good
about
with like
that.
some of vanilla or something almost like that.
like in a drink?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'll give you that.
It's got smells really good.
Have you tried whiskey Ritas?
I haven't tried anything.
Whiskey, so it's just make a margarita. Like we make margaritas with just like lime juice, a couple mandarin oranges, some
that's good.
honey, and then whiskey in it.
Yeah,
That was it
It's
might
like
be real good.
it's like a caramel apple, basically, kind of what it tastes like.
I would say so far that's my favorite. This was way too spicy. This one is just like good.
I figured you
It's
might like
spicy.
that one.
Yeah, that one's good.
Give
Does-
some of that Jack Daniels. If you want
Oh,
spicy.
Did I hit you? What's that?
That single
It's a
barrel, it's like
heater.
100.
It's
129.
flavorful though.
We'll do that next.
But
That's good. I like that.
Josh, does your dad do honey? Does he do his own honey?
No,
Okay.
he doesn't.
This
Yeah,
one?
No, the Wyoming.
I'm a bit. I
one.
love
yeah.
honey. Like one of my favorite.
Yeah, I remember you saying something about honey and
Yeah,
Tony, just get Tony or just get Fred to start being a beekeeper
Yeah.
once he's done with our chickens.
Yeah.
there you go.
Have
And
you,
then we can have our
have
own
you seen
honey.
the THC infused honey where they
No.
give the bees
What?
the THC
Oh,
and
what?
they do honey?
They actually.
No.
look it up.
How does
That's
it-
how they
hold
do
on,
it.
does
No
work?
way.
That's not how I saw that going.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah.
I'm just joking. I don't know if they give the bees THC.
Oh, I was gonna say, there's no way.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
How do they find their way back to the
You let that
hive?
ride. For a
Yeah,
minute.
they're looking for White Castle. They're like, wait a sec, bro.
Flying in circles.
Like, I'm so thirsty
I was gonna say,
right now.
honey's not even in the right spot.
yeah. I was gonna say, I don't think that's how they make THC honey. I know that's a thing.
Yeah, I think.
100%, bro.
Are you
They
talking
just
about
they smoke
dabs?
the bees out with marijuana.
100%.
Yeah.
Just instead of the I don't know what they usually use for the smokers to calm them down. They get in there, they
Yeah.
just smoke them out with weed.
No,
You
I
see
do know.
the
I do know they.
flies.
I do know they do have some THC honey.
They do. Yeah, I've
I
heard
thought
of
the
that.
THC. I thought that was like.
I think it's had in post production.
Wasn't that like
I would
the?
imagine.
Was that the dabs or whatever like that? The wax that you can get that you I know nothing about this.
I don't know. I've heard about
but
dabs,
apparently
I don't
it's
know
like
exactly
it
what they
looks
are.
it looks like this.
I've heard they're
right?
wild, though.
It's just wax, and you just scoop up a little bit, and it's like you got this like crack freaking lighter thing, this blowtorch. It's like blowtorch in a freaking
So you're
bowl.
smoking the wax?
No. So you make this piece of metal super ass hot,
Right.
and then you touch it with the freaking wax, and then you inhale the smoke from the
Read it.
the thing, right? I guess that's how you
So
do
that's
dabs.
it's kind of like a metallic spoon on the side of the street.
Yeah.
kinda.
Yeah.
Bro.
Like,
He-
whoa,
He was right. Bees can make THC honey if they're high.
no joke.
Really?
They don't get high though, is what
Yeah.
that's
Well,
saying.
yeah.
Wait,
yeah.
so what are they consuming though? Oh, the flower.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh.
There you
Wow.
go.
And they can
Interesting.
transfer it through the process because
That's
they don't
really-
absorb it. That's what it looked like. it
All
said.
the THC honeys I'm finding does not do it that way.
Well, it
yeah.
can be done.
But
Probably not cost effective.
Yes.
Well, no, but
God, these
think
bees are so lazy.
well, but they don't want cross pollination. So, but if you that would be a really good idea. Think about this. So, if you have like hydroponics system going on, and you put
Hydroponics and bees in your basement.
yes, that would be fucking dangerous. You just go down there and get stung and high.
No,
all
well,
the
yeah, you gotta
time.
have like a netting set up,
You'd
like
be
a
so
spaceship.
pissed. You'd be like, "This sucks, man. I'm hungry."
Mhm.
Just
Still don't
sting,
like that one
sting.
either.
Oh, you trying some?
That one was a little more spicier, not as sweet. She's coming. She's coming.
the
Oh, are you-
first one was
It was sweet. It was a little.
it
sweeter.
was sweet, but like in a generic sweet way.
Like medicinal sweet.
Like fake cherries?
Yeah,
really?
I just it
That was
tasted
the
like
OHLQ one. She
had
wasn't a
syrup
fan of.
or
Oh, really?
something in it.
That one
was
that-
not a fan.
Right, that was the one he got out in Wyoming.
This one, what is this one?
The Elijah Craig he got in Wyoming.
This one is good.
It was a little spicier. So I was like, well, if you thought the first one was too sweet.
Yeah. First one was a little spicy. That one was way spicy. This one was like, you got to try that, Cassie.
Here, I think this is what I.
Try this one, 135.2.
Okay, let's do it.
Here, this is the toasted barrel.
Which
You
one
can
is
try
that? What batch is that?
It's the first batch of 2019.
I think it's official. If I don't like that one, I'm not a Elijah Craig barrel proof guy.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever. I'm sure I have. I've never actually tasted Elijah Craig barrel proofs before.
I like them, but
Call me crazy. Like
I think you like
it is
that
what
one.
it is. And again, take it with a grain of salt with the whole palate thing potentially changed. But
Mm.
I get some dusty corn notes, like dusty bordering on musty, and some youth. And it's 12 years old. Like,
yeah.
why do I get youth and some dusty
Yeah, that
corn
is
notes?
weird. That is weird.
I don't
Dude,
know.
that one does not taste like it's 135 proof.
135. Eh?
Yeah.
No, that's.
I mean, I don't think any of them come across particularly hot to me, really.
Yeah.
But they, for whatever reason, it's that.
I'll have to try it.
People reviewing alcohol really are good with their descriptive words.
Well, you have to be.
Oh yeah.
So
I'll try that one too.
Yeah, Josh is a phenom at that.
Yeah,
Josh's descriptive quality.
how do you?
I mean, it's kind of it's part of his gig. That's kind of what he does. You know,
I love food.
presents
I'm like,
things.
I love food.
Presents
So-
things in a good in a fashion to people.
Well,
that
like
can,
when he
are
says,
appealing.
I didn't, notice any hot notes or whatever he said. Is that pretty much the same? Like, does everybody else think the same thing when you describe it that way?
to degrees.
Ethanol, hot. I mean, ethanol kick.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like, I don't mean
To
like,
degree, I
don't
think
mean hot,
everyone's
spicy. Like,
Yeah, I think everyone's a little different. Like everyone has a little different palate for the most. I mean, but when someone says, "Oh, that's this one's really hot," and you go, "Yeah, oh yeah, I got what you're saying there. It's
there's
hot."
some general stuff like
Love
again,
to,
like the
brother,
hot,
but
like
not
yeah.
eating cheese these days.
like
or
the
like
hot
the
means
smoky,
like
like-
ethanol kick. Like,
Right.
but then
Looks
you'll have
delicious.
some people that say like cherries. Realistically, in my opinion, if they're saying cherries, as long as you're picking up some kind of like ripe red fruit, you're in the same ballpark.
Yeah.
Like no, I mean somebody could say strawberries, somebody could say cherries, plums. Like you're pretty much in the same. Does that make sense?
Some marzipan with some Earl Grey.
I mean, like taste is like so personal in terms of like what you have eaten in your life and what was going on at the time. Like you can have some serious memories linked to smell and taste.
Oh yeah, I've always
Yeah.
been fascinated by that. That and and even our vision, like colors.
Yeah.
Like, how do we know we're all seeing the same thing?
We're not realistically.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so like how different can it really be?
That's
And
why
that,
there's numbers,
like,
PMS numbers and stuff.
right? Like like how different does that? How much is each person's life really different? Not in
Mhm.
what happened to them, but the way they experience the exact same reality or whatever,
Mhm.
maybe I don't know,
Mhm.
whatever it is,
Sure, yeah.
the exact same. We can experience the exact same thing,
Mm-hmm.
and have completely different, reactions and viewpoints and feelings and tastes and smells and sights to the exact same thing. It's like, I wonder how different all that is.
There's an insurmountable number of variables going on.
Yeah.
There.
So it's like, how different is your world right now than mine is? Like,
None of us live in the same reality. So
Right,
it is what it is,
yeah.
right?
That's fascinating. 'Cause
Matrix.
I
Hey, have you watched the new Matrix movie yet?
I have.
Have you?
Yeah.
How is it?
No spoilers, please.
No spoilers.
Okay,
No spoilers.
all
It was.
Does Neo die?
I will say, I was about, what was it? It was probably about 15, 20 minutes into the movie. And I looked at her and I said, if this doesn't end in this general way, I'm going to be pissed.
Mm.
And
I could tell you were really,
I was very skeptical.
yeah.
The whole
It
time.
was like, you were very quiet for a long time.
Yeah. So it was,
Nothing.
no.
Sorry, I wasn't trying to interrupt with my.
No,
head
you're
shaking.
no, you're fine. Yeah, I would say it wasn't as good as I hoped for, but it wasn't as bad as I expected it possibly could be.
That's good.
Well,
Yeah.
so the
it's
first,
worth if you're a Matrix fan, it's worth the watch.
Yeah.
But and there is some. I was kind of surprised with the actual videography of it, and maybe, but I don't know if it was just the setting we were watching it or whatever it was, but. He's like, oh, it's hot, a little hot for her there.
No, reach out
Yeah,
and grab
but
you.
it's if you're a Matrix
Girl.
fan, it's worth the watch.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Okay.
don't have your standards too
All
high.
right.
but-
Don't expect anything out of it.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it does have a nice little twist to it, mentally, to the storyline. So it made it okay, that's worth it. So
that's 136 proof.
you taste.
Mm.
Which one was that? Was this one right here, right?
Was it?
No, that's 100. Which one?
No, is this? I think it was this one.
Oh, did you take it back?
I always like
Yeah.
the noses way more on them than the palate.
They
They get all
smell-
amped up. I'm like, yes, that's what I'm talking about. And then
Yeah, and this doesn't even
on the
smell
palate,
like.
on the palate, it's like, no.
Oh, you said,
No.
you said that was 136?
Uh, 136.6.
Oh man, I didn't even
I
have
think.
that one. I was drinking the 135.
Oh.
Send that one over.
What's the one? Is this the one I poured? I don't
Yeah,
know.
you
which
poured that one.
Okay, here.
I don't know which is the one. There's so many of them I can't keep track.
You poured the 135.
Yeah.
Was it?
Josh
I
said
had
they-
135?
I had A119. That's what I had.
Red, do you want
Pretty
any
good.
snacks at all?
No, I'm good right now. Thank you though.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah.
for whatever reason, man, it's sad. I want to love them. I do. I'm an Elijah Craig fan. I love the small batch stuff. I'm like, yes, turn that on steroids for me and let's
Yeah.
go.
But it doesn't.
It doesn't do it.
Just never
Yeah,
equals out.
I don't know why.
I like it, man. It does it for me.
Yeah, you have at that one I brought back, but it's what it is.
So how did you end up? What is it? Do you think that you take such a deep dive on this stuff?
The
Why?
geeky part of it. I don't know. I just love anything that's super you can just really chop it into just micro pieces and just analyze it and then go down this it's like a combination of art and
That's everything for you, though,
Science,
isn't it? With the the music, you did the dirt bike stuff, right?
yeah.
Like-
I mean, I guess anything you can kind of just go as deep as you want with it.
Yeah,
Realistically,
but you go hard in
all
the
in
paint.
it.
with
Yeah, it's just
everything.
always- that's what it-
fishing,
I
everything
don't
you
know
do,
how-
you're just you become
I don't
an
know
expert
how.
at it.
Yeah, I don't know how to not be consumed by something. So, I'm all in on whatever I go into.
So you guys like drinking this stuff, right?
It would-
I mean, you're sipping on it. It's not like
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
you're drinking a wine.
Well,
where
how do
you're
you
gonna
drink it?
take a mouthful. You just sip on it.
Is this like what I'm doing, though, right?
I'm sorry. I haven't been watching. I haven't been. Seeing
Yeah, I
it.
haven't. I haven't been. I haven't
seen
been.
it.
I haven't
Give me-
been
give me
judging
a
your
sip.
drinking
Give me
abilities.
a
Just hold on. Just looking in my eyes when I
Can
do
we
it.
get Chad on the big screen?
Now you're making it weird.
We gotta weigh the scale first and afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where you have to.
The wink was too much.
It does,
Oh, I
yeah.
winked?
That's
Yeah.
that's what sent it over the top.
So coming from somebody that's I would place myself in between on the scale of bourbon drinking, in between you and them,
Oh, okay.
with the
I described it as licking wood, so that's not as
yeah, no. So it's one of those things where it's an acquired
You want
taste
this?
where
No. I was gonna say that one's better than the 136 in my opinion.
Oh, okay. Oh, the 135 is.
Yeah,
Okay.
so yeah, it's pretty good. It's got a good flavor.
You
It's
were
not
saying
too
that
spicy.
you are in between me and
No,
them.
yeah. So it's one of those things where you have like an acquired taste. Like the first beer you ever drank, it was like, oh, why
Killian's
do people
Irish
drink
Red.
this? You know what I mean? But like once you start, you have the ability to pick out, and your palate has the ability to kind of, hit those signals of, oh, I can taste this, I can taste that.
Oh, the
Or-
describer words.
Yeah, that and
Yeah.
it's when for me it was when I like, all right, I know what bad liquor tastes like. It's just like you don't like people don't sip on that, but then you see people like drinking it, you're like, wait a minute, what's going on here? Because the stuff I'm drinking,
Mhm.
you do
taste like
not
that.
want to do that with. Like, so, but then you have something really good and you go, oh, okay. I don't know what this is, but I can sip on this and drink this. You know, maybe it starts out with an ice cube or two,
Mm.
you know, to get that then to start getting the flavor. And then slowly, most people, you can start pulling out that flavor of what you're drinking. And then when you find something, you're like, oh, I really like this.
Mhm.
Then it's like, okay, now I can
It's
start.
almost like the journey, though. Like if you,
Mhm.
this is what we've done basically, like from the very first one until this. Every single one is at a different journey. One is like punch you in the mouth, and then it just kind of goes away after that. Other ones, it's kind of like scratching your back, and then it slaps you in the face. You know what I'm saying?
And they're all the exact same brand.
Correct so far, but that's to me, it's the journey. It's like when I was explaining edibles, like to somebody earlier, is each edible has its own journey, right? It's a sativa one hits you a little bit different than the indica one or whatever like that. Of course, I've not ever done any of that in Ohio. It's always been in California, Colorado, or Michigan. But the it's just a different journey. So this one has that. What was that oak one I had? That one was
Toasted
Toasted
barrel.
barrel.
that one was cool.
Yeah.
It was really cool. And this one was like that, but with more spiciness, right?
Yeah.
And I guess that what you guys were talking to him is he's got those describer words, the oaky flavors, the this, that, the other. It's like you kind of pick up on that once you hang around with these guys enough, and then you know how to describe what you're, instead of saying, "Oh, I just look
Right,
at the
because
wood."
because
It's
you
like,
don't know what it tastes
oh,
like.
it's an oaky,
Yeah.
it's an oaky finish, and versus like somebody saying, "Yeah, I just feel like I stuck my head in a fucking wood chipper." You
Yeah.
know?
Well, I mean, it starts with what you're talking about, though. It's, to be honest with you, if for not ever, really diving into bourbon, the fact that you can pick out that there's differences in each
Oh,
of
yeah.
these so far, that's impressive. I mean, realistically, like,
Yeah.
we didn't just
We
we become just
Best friends.
Yes.
I'm gonna
Well, that's
switch
the point.
closer.
What- yeah, once you can
you want some cheese?
understand what you're tasting,
Yeah, that's what it is.
and then
for-
you're like, oh, okay. And once you can,
Mhm.
and describing it's that next step of being able to describe it to somebody else who goes, yes, I get what you're getting there.
Cheese?
I just love that the
Cheese.
distilleries. I mean, these guys are like painters to me. I mean, as you think about what they're doing, I mean, they're taking just some raw grain, from
Yeah.
the earth,
And they're not even seeing it happen. It's
You know,
like,
yeah,
well, here
they're
we're doing it.
projecting.
And see what happens.
It's kind
with
of half intention, like half just happy universe luck too.
It's interesting for sure because anything like that kind of can change. Like eating a hamburger or something like that. Most hamburgers are pretty well the same, right? But this is like, well, I'm
It's
talking
like,
about
yeah,
no.
it's
I'm
fighting
talking,
words.
Nah, you're drinking bottom.
No,
You're eating
no.
bottom shelf hamburgers,
I'm
bro.
I'm talking oh my gosh, I'm talking like first bite, like a Big Mac. You can taste it's
Yeah,
definitely
bottom shelf hamburgers.
Not. But then you do like a regular
You
good
get your vodka from the gas station too.
Wagyu.
right Wagyu or bison or whatever like that. But I'm just saying like this is like the differences on those are like this, like the scale of like excellent to horrible is right here.
Mhm.
These Jack Daniels or whatever, even worse down here, and then you've got all this other stuff. It's like that journey, the flavor profile it takes you through is so much more.
Right.
It's not just that was pretty good.
Yeah, but
It's
if you tried-
what?
But if you tried 20 different hamburgers from 20 different kinds of places that really tried to make a hamburger taste a certain way,
Yeah.
you're gonna be able to taste the differences. And that's what
Mm,
these.
you can taste different. I'm saying though.
That's what I'm saying. Like if you like go to like a place that like makes that really is proud of their hamburgers, and they have like a black and blue hamburger, and they have your Texas bacon barbecue hamburger, and they have this type, and they really try. They're going to taste a lot different because the flavor profile is going to be different because they tried to make it different. Whereas that's what like some of the like bourbon makers are
Mhm.
doing. They're
Mhm.
trying to like some bourbon just meant to
Mhm.
be 80 proof and
Mhm.
get you screwed up if you drink half the bottle.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm just saying.
Like a
I-
McDonald's hamburger.
Yeah.
It's meant to make
That'll
you
get
feel
you screwed
terrible
up.
That'll
once
get
you eat a
screwed up.
couple
Yeah,
of them.
that'll get you screwed
I'm
up.
just saying. I'm just saying. Like the difference on these, like it's a lot great. Like you can definitely tell.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not like a. I had 3 different hamburgers in Colorado. 2 were really good, and 1 was just all right.
Yeah, but how many of those places that's what their sole focus was to make a hamburger taste a certain
2 of
way.
them, I don't know. Well,
You-
one of them was a triple bypass burger that was 2 grilled pieces of grilled cheese with.
Triple.
Other
So that
shit
that
in
was their
between.
point was just trying to feed you full of
Yeah.
just
Just right to the point.
yeah, calories. That's
So, but
different.
it was pretty good. But I'm just saying, like the meat itself, like you can like or a steak. I guess that's the better way to think about it, is a steak. Like a really good steak,
Mhm.
it's pretty damn good. But like you've got a lot of mediocre in between it. Like it's not like
Oh,
that
yeah.
really good steak is just the really good steak to me is just okay, it's really good. It's not like that's a different experience. It's a
Yeah.
I don't know. This is a totally different experience than that other stuff.
Yeah, it's different. What's neat too, because everyone's
the
like you
same
said,
damn
like,
company.
everyone's palate's different. Whereas some
Mhm.
people like their steak raw, no seasoning, period. Like that's how like.
S&P for me, good buddy.
Yeah, some people like, you want it medium, but a little bit of seasoning or no like whatever it is. And if you want it well done, then I don't know what to tell
We're
you.
not friends.
Yeah, that's beef jerky. I can get on board with beef jerky, but a steak is not,
See that one like numbs your tongue almost even.
That's because of the alcohol. It literally is numbing
Grab that just so you can taste it.
I gotta
Because
get
you'll really be able to
recentered.
taste that. You'll really feel like you're licking wood with that one.
Good,
Just
I'll lick some more
Yeah,
wood.
you don't have to have much of it, but I think you'll really notice. Yeah, just get just a tiny little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta find home again.
It literally looks like you're chewing on a
I
piece
was
of
waiting
wood.
for you to go there. Let me know what you think of that one. So, that thing's
See,
so flavorful.
So to me, like sticking your nose in a glass of Willet is like it's something special to me. I don't know.
You don't need to do much.
It just stands out immediately.
I feel like I have a good basis on Elijah Craig
So
now.
rich.
Now that I've
that particular batch was like super flavorful.
So rich. There's about 1 million things going on.
I mean, there is a ton going on there.
So how long can you keep open bottles of whiskey and bourbon?
That's going to vary by person to person too.
Oh, really?
It depends on how fast they drink it.
No, I mean just by like
Well, the
palate.
oxygen. It doesn't like
There's
it's oxygenated.
There's people
and-
that swear nothing changes the whole bottle, and then there's other people that
I don't know how it couldn't.
it does.
Like if a bottle sits, you know what I mean? There's
are
no
you
way.
are you gassing yours?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I
Once
thought.
they get below half, I
Yeah.
start guessing. Yeah.
So what do you mean by
Like
that?
fart in it or something?
No. I'll let Josh explain that.
Just an inert, any type of inert gas, just like argon or something like that. It basically makes a gas barrier. It's heavier than oxygen, so it makes a barrier between oxygen and
Oh.
the spirit.
Okay.
That-
So
So
you-
you get a
it's-
little.
Oxygen doesn't actually touch the spirit ever,
I gotcha.
so it doesn't get
Hmm.
oxidized. Now it's not perfect. I mean, you couldn't leave it there for years like that, but it does make a difference. Like I'm not a fan if it's something gets like a third or a quarter. I try to finish it because I'm not a fan of the oxidized notes towards the end. They really kind of
ruin it for
ruin
you.
it for me. Yeah.
So is there any kind of alcohol that you can just hold on to for a long time?
If you don't crack it, it'll be fine.
No,
Yeah.
I meant like after you crack it open.
Vodka.
Oh, really? Okay.
I
don't know,
He's like, it's not worth anything besides
Get out of here with
disinfecting
that.
my wounds.
Let's start some sites.
I feel like the novice is sitting next to the professional and they just shit on him.
Oh no.
I don't know. There's people out there though that would.
It's-
I mean, I knew a guy that he said he did say it with a Russian accent, but that he would die for vodka. So
Whoa. Yeah. I mean,
So,
hey, as long
everyone
as you
has their
like
drink.
it, as long as you love it, buddy, that's what it is.
Oh, I got to try
Get,
this.
get yourself some of that Willet.
I'm still
yeah.
trying to do this. Well,
That's a riot. I
No
mean,
rush. No rush. It's different. Some people love it. Some people are like, "Whoo, they do not like it." And all those people that don't like it, just donate your bottles to
So-
Josh.
That's
You didn't
very
taste the
different
wood
than
in
the
that?
one that I have at home.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
taste
yeah.
wood,
What
but
do
it
you think
doesn't
of
taste
that?
like anything.
Right,
I
that's
mean,
what
I
I'm saying.
love Willet.
Well, you just
I-
love them across the board.
I do, but
It's
Dude,
just
that shit's so strong that tastes like water.
well, it's a lot lower proof, but just the wood. Didn't it taste like you just ate a cherry like 2x4? Maybe not quite that.
I had a
bad.
pretzel in my mouth when I took a drink. So,
they screwed
I-
up the science
I was gonna, like-
experiment, Chad.
well, it's better than the pop I had last time that I was pouring in there.
You can't do that.
Like you were gonna shit your pants when I did that.
if I was gonna like sum up Willet, to me, it's like peach cobbler with a baking spice on top with a crumble on top of
Just
it.
a little bit.
A gingerbread crust instead of like a graham cracker crust, like a gingerbread crust,
Man.
and then like dark chocolate drizzle on top of it.
Sounds like a
that's-
dessert you
Dude,
need to make.
if I'm
That
gonna
sounds like
sum
my
it up-
describers right now.
It sounds like a
I'm
dessert.
sure.
That
You
need
just
to-
had a drink that did that for you?
Yeah.
Why didn't you let me try that, babe?
Is that this
We're
one?
getting, those, yeah, that's that one.
My wife hates this stuff. If I'm
me-
even sitting on the couch with it, she's like, "You go to the other side of the couch," because she didn't like the smell of it at all.
Really?
Oh, really?
No, mm-mm.
And she drinks some whiskeys, doesn't she? Or scotches?
Like
or
whiskey Ritas.
Okay.
She'll
It
do
does-
whiskey
I-
Ritas, but not straight.
I'm not a huge fan of the smell, honestly.
of the Willet.
Yeah.
It's intense. It's like a bombard of the senses. Like
Mm.
you're getting hammered with a lot of stuff.
It smells better than that
Yeah,
that smoky scotch you gave us last time.
Yeah, that was just for fun.
That was
you know
just-
what? I almost brought a banana flavored whiskey that
Ooh,
I
that-
got
I
just for
actually-
fun.
I
but-
picked up a bottle. Have you ever had the Wild Turkey Long Branch?
Mm-mm.
I grabbed that. It's not an expensive bottle or anything, but I saw like it was finished in mesquite barrels.
Mm.
And I was like, oh, like I thought of
Mhm.
the smoky scotch that you had last time. And I was like,
Oh.
worth a shot. You want to try this?
With the rise, I would advise like if you're gonna nose it, don't nose it
Yeah.
because that's gonna kill you. So like start
Yeah, you
like
can
up
just
here.
Up here,
Just let it
work your way up.
waft. Just let it waft to you because it's a
Oh, that's a
intense.
rye. See, that's I'm
flavor.
not a huge fan of ryes. So maybe that's why.
It's different.
You're not
Smells
tasting
like,
gingerbread
it's more
crusts with.
I love that.
Smells like what you said, bud?
It's mild.
Mild.
My
yeah.
dessert is slightly different, Josh.
Did we get the same thing?
What I pictured
Yeah.
is a little abstract
Yeah.
compared to what you described so
Sold me a
beautifully.
dog. Yeah. That stuff is gorgeous to me. I don't know. Anything will it. So special.
Oh wow.
It is different.
Like around the world, buddy.
Impressions?
Oh, and there's the end. Okay.
That is different.
I don't know. I really like it.
Yeah, I wouldn't quite call it peach and raspberry cobbler with gingerbread crust or
what's
whatever
the,
it was.
And dark chocolate drizzle.
I love that
I actually,
description,
I
Did I-
get the dark
Did
chocolate
I
drizzle.
dress it up too much?
I do get that. No, at the very end, I got, as she said that, I was like, okay, no, I get that part. It does have that, it does almost have like a dark
Yeah.
chocolate like finish on it. I get that.
So what's the spice that you get? If it's not like baking spice, what's the spice that you're getting? Are you
Hmm.
not getting spice?
There's something there.
though. That is.
Tell me what-
It's straight dessert.
Oh
for sure.
yeah, it's super desserty.
I get more, do get more of a spicy, not spicy as in like, but almost like cinnamon spice type.
Well, that's baking spice. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, you're right in there.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah, it's different.
Mm-hmm.
I would not
is-
give that to somebody for their first whiskey ever.
Yeah.
To be
Oh,
honest.
no.
That's
Yeah,
just like
dude.
throwing them under the train.
Yeah, it's got a lot
Yeah,
going
it's
on.
not, it doesn't have the sweetness though, which makes it like,
Oh, I
Really?
get crazy sweet.
Seriously,
Yeah.
that's like super sweet.
Yeah, dude.
I don't get the sweetness at all.
Really?
Yeah, because that's why I like, well, like the ones that I like the port finish ones, and I
Mhm.
Yeah,
have a couple
yeah,
of the
everything
sweet
you
tea
like
and the
is-
caramel bonds. Like
Yeah.
it has those like sweet finishers, but I don't.
Really?
I mean, I get the sweet, but I thought that the OHLQ
It was sweeter.
was a lot sweeter than this.
Hmm.
What's the proof of this?
Well, this one's 109.6.
Okay, so it's obviously a little, but not that much. I mean, it's
Oh.
what 15 points higher.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's good, but that's the thing. Like that's the cool thing. Like that would never be
Right.
like
yeah.
my choice.
Yep. Yep.
Like it's good.
Yep.
Like I can appreciate it, but
Sorry, I don't want that stuff to go crazy.
That stuff's pretty
Yeah.
good.
that's all right. Yeah.
For me, it's always fun because Josh just absolutely loves it, and I'm always like, "You got to try this bottle. Let's see if it can displace it." And he's like, "Nope, doesn't do it for me. Doesn't do
You
it
know
for
what?
me."
Like I've even like taken this stuff and tried to like blind it,
Yeah.
just so.
Oh,
I
dude,
can-
you can't blind
it's-
will.
I was gonna say it's
Yeah.
really hard. Touche. You
No.
can't blind will it, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting. Well, that's part of the whole thing. Like it's really neat doing this with all of this
Mhm.
with different people. It's because we talk about the
All right,
differences
sign me
between
up, sign
people
me up.
and like it's just really neat because you know the like the Woodinville stuff. Like I've never like I'm not huge into the community, but like I've never had like people like Tony likes it. He's like, oh, it's good, but it's not his cup of tea. But like mine, it's like, oh, like this
Well,
is.
dude, I like just as the standard Woodinville as like a drinker.
And see, I don't like
I
the
haven't
standard
had it ever.
Woodinville.
I don't know.
yeah. It is like
Not that I don't
oak
like
heavy.
it. It's good, but it's not
Yeah.
like the Woodinvilles that I've had.
Yeah,
So
so
some of their special stuff.
I like those ones. Those are just most of them are. I would drink it for like specific purposes in terms of like
Holy shit.
it's sweet. Like a lot of those ones that you like are very very sweet, which that's your flavor profile. I understand.
Yeah,
you like
some
that.
of them are a little too sweet.
Yeah, like
Maybe
I've-
that's why, like, because I just have like one glass here and there. Like,
Yep, it's almost dessert for me. So I've
Yeah.
got like a creme brulee one that's 122 proof, and it drinks like it's 100.
yeah,
And
Over
it's,
Woodinville?
Yeah,
Really?
it's super sweet.
have-
yeah. I wouldn't
Everything
drink
was
that
so good.
constantly, but it's just that nice, like, have a good medium sized glass of it. But then, like, if I'm drinking a bunch of bourbon, I wouldn't drink it all the time either. So I get that.
I've just never jumped on a bottle yet. I've seen it. I just haven't tried one yet.
Oh,
Wouldn't know.
well, you're like, gonna have to try at least one of them.
I think you'd like the standard one better than
Maybe it's
some of the
they're
Is that,
a
a,
little
variations.
sweet.
is that a finished one or something?
Yeah,
Or what is
yeah,
it?
yeah.
Yeah, I have
there's a
an
caramel one.
OHLQ
There's a
that's a sweet tea and there's
sweet
a
tea
caramel
one.
one. Yeah.
Dude, the second drink of this, the first drink at the end, it burned on the tongue. Second drink, it was just not even there. That's
It's
weird.
I love it.
I mean, for what it is, it's
And I
it
could
is-
taste cherry.
Yeah, it's art. There's so much stuff going on in it.
So this one, I think this one gets better after it's open for a couple weeks.
The Willet.
Yeah, I
As soon
got
as if it gets past the shoulders, all good to me. but
yeah, I don't know about that neck pour for you, so
yeah,
we'll see what you say.
I'm getting just ethanol, straight
Yeah,
ethanol.
yeah.
You gotta shake it
I'm
up
waiting for
before
it
you
to
do
go
it.
Yeah, we cracked a bottle of that on New Year's, and it was pretty good. But after probably like 2 weeks, it was way better. So
To me, if you really want to get what the essence of a whiskey is, like if you drink a glass of it, Just set it on the counter overnight.
Mm.
Come back to it in the morning after everything has evaporated and stick your nose in it, and you'll get the absolute boiled down concentrated essence of whatever that is.
Right. Makes sense because the alcohol is just kind of starting to leave it.
Definitely, I've never done that before.
Yeah, you'll be surprised what you pick out. A lot of stuff.
So you drink it?
No, it's gone. Like you feel like drink the glass and then finish it, and then just like just set it on the counter.
Oh, you mean I got what you're saying?
Evaporate completely.
Just leave the
And
residue.
Just stick your nose in a glass. You'll get.
I got what you're saying. Yeah.
That
happens down here quite a bit sometimes. I'll come down the next morning after a podcast. I'm like, there's these whiskey glass. Yeah.
Stick your noses in the
There's
glass.
a little bit. Yeah. Like,
experiment.
You have to let that water sit in there a little bit there.
She walked around the corner. Are you sniffing glasses?
Yeah. I wanted to taste the flavor
Yeah,
profiles.
there you
too.
Yeah.
She told
It's all
me.
about the flavor profiles. Yeah. And you think Josh is a good guy. And he told me to do it. So,
This is
So
the last
you
time
should-
I'm invited here. but-
You should drink multiple drinks.
and then just set them out.
And then write down what you think you're drinking. All these description words. And then in the morning when you're sober, see how close you are.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's not a bad idea. It's not a
I
bad
don't know,
idea. at all.
Tony. I can't get over the nose yet. We'll see.
You need another one? I can get you something else while it
I
sits
haven't
there.
tried it yet. That nose
Let it
is
sit there
killing
for a
me.
little bit.
It's
Do
no
you
joke.
want to try? You can try the sweet tea if you want while you're waiting.
Sure, I'm gonna let him chill out because he's not opening up at all.
It's definitely a little different, but here.
It's definitely Willet.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, that for
Thank you.
sure. You'll know that when you taste it.
All right.
The mouthfeel is good.
Okay.
The back end is slightly insipid.
Insipid. That doesn't sound like a good word.
No, it's not. It's not. Well, that was
Doesn't sound
the
like a
first
good
taste, so it'll be interesting to see.
I'm
what
not
you say.
entirely sure what
It's
that
a-
word means, but I
it's
don't
just
think it's
bitter.
good.
If this ruins Willet for me, I don't know. I might be able to get over that, Tony.
No, we'll come back to it after it stays open for a while.
You
So,
want to try this one, Chad?
but I don't think
That's
it's
sweet
gonna. I don't think it'll disappoint you as
It's-
much as maybe
it's-
you're thinking it could.
The fact that you said Willet and insipid that close
Oh,
together really
he's
I'm
offended.
a little bit triggered.
That was the my first sip. So
You find
it wasn't. It wasn't the second sip. It wasn't there.
Okay.
I like it. It's solid.
Old Kirk. So what's the story behind Old Kirk? Because you said something that's like it's basically Willet juice.
Yeah. So I think it was a company out
Oh,
of.
it kind of tastes similar.
It was like it's like I said. I think it's a Willet in disguise. The purple top. So the bourbon, not the rye. And
What's
it's
your
not the
name
rye. So
difference?
you gotta consider that. Yeah, I think it was a company out of California sourced this stuff or got this stuff, and something to do with the contract didn't happen. And so I think someone back in Tennessee ended up buying it, and they released it as Old Kirk.
Oh,
So-
How
that's
did they get the juice and then it not happen? Wouldn't you think that would like happen the other way around?
I have no idea, man. I have no idea. I was just glad to get that, especially for the price I paid for it.
bottle 26 of 176. I wonder what's the All right, so obviously I know that as they age them, in the years and whatnot. But is there any like kind of like allure around certain ages and like certain like
Is that one age
time
stated?
frames? 6 years and 9
Six.
months.
Yeah,
So,
so we're almost 7 years old. I mean, for the bourbons, I think like I don't know. I know it differs for everyone because what do you think? Like 12 plus, you start taking on more oak.
just
Mhm.
because it
It's
sits in that barrel for
noticeable, yeah. If you like an oaky profile, then yeah, anything north of 12, you're like.
What do you
definitely-
think the sweet spot is? Like that 7 to 10 year mark?
Yeah, for me, I mean, to be honest, 7
Uh,
to 10, 8 to 12,
yeah,
somewhere in there.
yeah.
I mean, you start going past that, it just gets too heavy one direction or the other. You get in that 2-year range with some craft distillery
you-
stuff, and
You can tell when it's young usually.
dude, I don't like those youthful notes, and don't like it.
how would you describe that?
Like super grassy, or like so. If you can like imagine, like, I don't know. Growing up, we always used to have a pond right next to a cornfield, so we'd like swim, and then we'd run over to the cornfield and we'd like pull stalks off and eat the baby corn, right?
Okay.
And that smelling of like opening up a fresh corn husk and like sniffing it, that really, really grassy,
Green.
earthy, green notes. I don't like that in a bourbon. It's not.
Where's that
appealing
come
to
from?
me.
Does that just come from
It's
the
young.
Youth, yeah.
It hasn't been exposed to the cask, like the oxygen and it's constantly while that whiskey is in that cask going in and out of the wood,
right?
and it just
Was that
changes.
is that how? Because was it the the barley or whatever, the
Corn.
corn just from
Corn.
the young corn
Mhm.
taste. And
I mean, there's more than just corn in a bourbon anyway.
Right.
But it's predominantly corn. It's a little just kind of.
Yeah, it's got to be at least 51%. So
That'll just stand out.
that's super interesting.
depending on the mash bill.
Yeah, it's just like there's a couple of notes I'm really sensitive to, like youth or like licorice. If I even get a hint of
You said you're
licorice,
done with licorice.
I'm out. I'm
Yeah.
out. I
That
can't
licorice
stand it.
So you're not a
anise, like-
Jägermeister guy? Is that what you're telling me?
I get it on that Jack Daniel's
Really?
single barrel. That's why I can't do it.
Really? I've never. I'll
On
have
that
to.
one.
I'll have to consider that next time I try because I've never came to that conclusion myself.
Well, every
I
barrel is
guess.
different. I mean, yours could be
That's-
completely
I like
different
this
than mine,
one.
but this one,
Do you? The
Yeah.
Kirk one?
Yeah,
That's true.
I feel like it's a little more spicy version of this.
What
it
did you-
is. It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're higher proof. So.
What did you think about the OHLQ sweet tea that Woodinville? Did you try that?
I gotta try it.
yeah, I did. It's
You
not
got
up my
that
alley.
already?
Yeah, it's not up my alley, but it's,
Why? Just curious.
this is just my opinion again. Too.
No, I'm just curious, just
There's a lot
because,
of rough edges.
like, what
I
do
feel
you?
like a lot of rough edges to things? So I love like a really complete whole picture. It'll like go from the arrival to the development to the finish, like smooth,
Right.
just like nice smooth ride transitions. And I'm just getting like, here's the arrival, here's the finish,
Ooh.
and this for me again.
Yeah. No, I'm just asking
Yeah.
just because I'm curious. So like,
Yeah.
because it's interesting to hear
Rough
somebody describe
transitions,
something.
rough
Like you say,
transitions.
the the licorice and the single barrel
Mhm.
Jack. Like I never thought about that. So like,
Try
it's-
that one specifically.
because
and
sometimes,
see. I don't
yeah,
know,
because sometimes it's interesting to hear people. Oh, I taste this. Oh,
Like,
do
that's
you?
next.
And then you
I
taste it.
think
And
we're
go,
gonna do that one next.
oh, like okay,
Yeah.
like now I get what you're saying. Like that's just
the finish shuts off for me
Wow.
too. Like everything is on the arrival for that.
You
and
like
I
that?
just don't care.
Yeah.
Like I want the finish.
Yeah.
I've
And
got
see,
com-
I
I've got
really
some- I'll
maybe
get the
that's why
comments.
I like that because I like the it was that what was that really fucked up one we had? There was the Japanese bourbon or whatever. Guys,
Yeah,
it can't
it
probably
was-
be bourbon, but
It was Nika and it was malted.
I've seen that. Okay.
and it was we had it. It was in some whiskey bar. I feel like we just tried it. Was it?
Yeah.
And it was just like
It was the place that I wanted
was it
to
the
put
same
the
place?
501c7 in. It was.
No, it was what? It was before that.
No, it wasn't. So, dude, it was the same place. It was the same place, and then it went under.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was when that place was still open.
Oh, that was but it was before. Yeah, but anyways.
Yeah, it was the same. It was the same building, is what I was getting
Any
at.
building, yeah, same building. Anyways, we tried it, and it was it wasn't good. Like the flavors weren't good, but it was really interesting because it was like probably I would say at least like 6 different stages
Yeah,
of like here's a flavor, here's a flavor,
Yeah.
here's a flavor,
I'd like
here's a
to-
flavor.
I'd
It was
like
like
to-
what is going on?
I'd like to see how Josh described that one, just because it
Good
was
luck.
way, it was
I'm lost.
it was way closer to Scotch
Okay.
than it was.
Yeah.
But that was interesting. Like I
The barley
enjoyed.
notes.
Like
I don't even know. Like,
Yeah, it
I'll,
was-
I'll crack it back out.
it
There-
was wild.
There was a good one though. That Nika, the
Yeah.
Nika coffee. So there
Yeah,
was
that
a
was
coffee one, but the malted one was
Yeah,
funky.
but I enjoyed the ride it took me on because
Yeah.
it was like, oh, like this is cool. Like it doesn't
Yeah.
taste good. Like I wouldn't drink this all the
Yeah.
time, but like that was a
Right.
neat experiment. Like
Yeah.
that was an experience.
It's
like
crazy that they can all taste so different, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
like fundamentally, you think about this, like, how can they even all taste so different? It's crazy.
Dude, this one smells like perfume, or not perfume. It smells like cologne almost.
Which one do you have?
This.
The wooden
Yeah.
mill.
I guess I'll have to try that now because it's been open for
Yeah, it's
a
it's.
week and a half now. Or
That's
so.
what I was
haven't
gonna
tried
say.
it
It's
since
it's
been open.
wildly different than the other
I'm
stuff.
scared
yeah.
to try the Old Kirk. I'm scared.
Bro, I like it. I think it's good, man. You just got to think it's not a rye. I mean, it's very Willet to me.
Really?
Yeah,
God, it's not Willet on the nose.
it's very Willet.
Making him nervous.
Yeah, I'm terrified it's going to ruin Willet for me.
I don't think it's gonna ruin it for you.
There's definitely an initial taste that's a lot
I
stronger.
feel like
Yeah,
than the other.
like I said, the first one, but everything after that first one, it's good. It's not quite dessert.
That's not
for
terrible
me, but
though. I don't think it'd ruin a brand for me.
Hmm.
He's not. I don't think he's happy.
Mm-mm. It smells better than it tastes.
What's that?
He's-
Oh, okay.
Think so? I'll have to try it again because
What's your review, Josh? How many stars do you give it?
he's
Don't give it until you have it tried 3 times. 3 times is
he's like, all right, he's like
we got a ways to go. Okay.
so. In the meantime, while you're trying your 3 tries of the one you're concerned about, what have you been up to, man?
Oh, not to be boring, but just same old stuff. Buddy, just chugging along. Same
Any-
routine.
I know you can't really talk about a lot of some of the stuff you do, but any cool projects or companies that you've been working with that you can mention?
Let's see. Any newer like that we can say? I mean, it's always cool just going into a bunch of different places. You know, like whether it's design or videography or whatever, like going into kind of crazy places that I don't get to do because I have a desk job ultimately.
Yeah.
Right? But at the same time, I kind of don't too because I go into a lot of places that I have to film in that are not. So like I've recently been working with an iron foundry that we work with a lot of them, but these ones, they make a lot of different stuff that is used for infrastructure and things like that. I'm trying not to highlight who they are, but it's just kind of cool going into an entirely different world. Like I can't imagine. It's just a different walk of life in terms of what you do every single day. You know what I mean?
What do you do?
So I'm in advertising. I kind of make like anything from like logo designs and branding to videos to websites.
Yeah, real
Stuff
quick.
like that.
After the first time he was on, he created our logo we've been using for us. So thanks. I haven't got in person. I haven't got a chance to thank you. I appreciate it. I love it.
My pleasure.
So, yeah, he was.
Glad
cool.
you like it.
Yeah, he does. I don't know if you ever watched any of Corey, my brother-in-law, the Rogue Tree Solutions videos, all their advertisement stuff.
I don't frequent that advertisement.
You should see them. It's basically a movie.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's he does.
It makes you want to go cut down a tree or hire
Nice.
someone to cut down your
It does.
trees.
I can feel my
Like summed up,
testosterone
yeah.
rising
At least 100 points higher.
just watching the video.
Are their
Like,
shirts on or off? That's all I want to know.
Oh,
well,
depends on,
safety
depends on
first.
which cut we're sending you.
Okay.
Yeah,
The,
safety.
the calendar's
first.
coming out here. We've been teasing about it for years.
You
Just do
you
it.
should. You would probably actually make quite a bit of money.
Just doing
Well, actually, Corey and I talked the other day about becoming influencers.
Oh,
We're
It's
gonna
not
get
a
Josh
bad
to
idea.
do all our media content and everything.
here we go.
Oh,
He's like, I
OnlyFans.
may have bitten
we
off
go.
too more than I could chew.
Start out in the smoking jackets for the first post.
Yeah.
If you guys open an OnlyFans, you make a shitload of money. I'm just saying. Just not. I'm not even saying like.
I'm
He's
Don't
like,
get,
I'm not doing that.
don't
man.
get
I'm not
naked.
doing
Just I'm
that.
talking like waist up. Don't even get naked.
All right.
Yeah,
And
just
then sell like hairy bathwater. Like you know what I'm saying? Like just take a bath and then all the hairy
I
bathwater
can
you
drink
can sell.
after that.
Yeah.
Gotta
Put it down.
wait. I gotta wait.
Oh my gosh.
Get those
Ruin
nutty taste in that thing.
Did you pull up one of their videos? They're impressive.
Yeah, there was that
Impressive
recent one
cheese
you did was
roll.
awesome, man.
Oh, thanks. That one.
Yeah.
That
Yep.
that machine is insane.
Yeah, that thing's
dude.
cool.
Man.
That thing's super cool.
I would say even professionally, through people that I've talked to and whatnot, when because they know like who my brother-in-law is. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, like man, I saw one of those
Sure,
road
bro.
commercials. So like, that's legit. I was like, yeah. I was like, it's he does something new. Oh, is this? I haven't seen this one.
Oh,
Yeah, this one's
faded
cool.
Here, give
time
us is there
class.
volume
Yeah,
on
there's
those?
there's music.
Down the right hand. You know.
You gotta get the music in here, Josh.
It's just a
always-
short teaser.
Get that thing. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's like I don't know. Do I want to work for them? Do I want to hire them? Do I want to cut some trees down? I don't know. What really? Yeah, so
Chevy like
it was
a
this video.
rock.
They got that.
It gets the crowd going.
Yeah, I don't know if we talked. I don't know if we talked about it with Corey on here, but I know like that machine that you guys got that Manitou it's a beast.
Yeah, we haven't had them on since. Yeah, it is a beast. It is a
Because
beast.
what's the? Do you know the?
He talked about it when
I
he
think he
ordered
talked
it because I remember trying to find it
Yeah.
for 40 minutes on the
that is
show.
true.
It took a while. I think,
Yeah, it took a long
I
time.
think there were 2 that came stateside that year, and that was it.
Well, it was during 2020 too,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
and we got the one, and so I believe at 98 feet, it still has a pick capacity of 4,000 pounds.
That's
I think you have to
crazy.
subtract the head weight, but I mean,
I
still,
gotcha.
you're
So as a crane, it would pick 4,000 at that.
Yeah.
That's and for that machine, like
It's like
Oh.
what, 55,000 pounds or something like that?
50,000, I think. Yeah, I
and
mean,
it's not like a
a
normal
beast.
crane. Like so,
No,
it's not as
it's
big
a-
and as bulky. It's
Yeah,
like,
it's
more agile.
It's a telehandler for all intents and purposes with a crane on it, so you can put the slow moving plate on it. You can drive down the road. I don't know how fast it goes, 25, 35 miles an hour, something like that. Not fast,
not fast.
but it's It's an interesting machine for sure.
How much do you have to worry about it, like cracking concrete? Like if you were just to drive it down like a city street, like is that a concern? Like it's going to crack the asphalt?
No. I mean, I think when they pull on the driveways, they consider that for sure.
Okay.
I say driveways are usually the concern. For
Yeah,
something like
if
that.
it's
Concrete be more
4 inches.
Sidewalk
Yeah,
or-
4 inches thick is what standard pour. Is that what it is?
yeah,
And
which
so-
for
yeah.
a road's a lot thicker.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But I do know that they'll throw the Alternamats out to kind of displace some of that stress on the driveways
Yeah,
and stuff.
any type of big truck like that, because especially for residential work, like
Oh yeah.
it's one thing to drive it on the road, but
Mhm.
as soon as you get off road, you can
Yeah.
people
Oh, yeah.
you don't realize.
I've
that-
seen that with the some of the cranes we used to, like the 80-ton cranes when they
Oh,
bring
yeah.
them in. It just smashes.
It's like most driveways aren't built to hold
No.
a semi,
Yeah.
and it's cargo.
Yeah, but it is sweet, man. Just seeing like all of a sudden you're just booming over a house, and you're
Yeah.
like all the way
this
over.
giant tree top.
Yeah.
The time savings. I think you just reach out there and
Yeah, and that's the thing.
Like
Like people see that
back.
people see a video like that, and it looks really slow. Like this thing reaches out and it grabs this, but then when you
Imagine
realize
a
like all the
crew.
time, the setup, the guy
Yeah.
climbing the tree
Oh,
or the
yeah.
crane
Yeah.
to like all
Right.
the
No,
things.
I mean, basically, you could take a tree that was probably 3 to 4 hours and do it in 20 minutes once you're set up.
as far as setup and
Yeah,
you know,
once you're
everything,
set up.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
it's when he told me that the picking power though, I'm like
It's ridiculous.
insane. You figure at 90 feet, like people don't realize how
That's far.
it's far.
Yeah,
It's a real
that's
far
a
for
long-
4,000 pounds. Like it could pick up your car and move it 90 feet over your house.
Yeah.
without even breaking a sweat.
nuts.
So going back to you being out west, I don't think we quite got to finish that.
Where you want to go?
Well, so you were talking about Leadville is where we stopped at.
Leadville's good.
I guess what's your plan? Are you thinking possibly moving out there, getting a house? What's
Yeah. So
and I don't want you to, if you don't want to reveal some things, I understand that.
I would say officially, no. We're staying in Ohio for a long time.
Yeah.
Unofficially, yeah, dude, we're gonna do something because it's. I don't know if it's gonna be Colorado. Colorado is. I don't know if they would like my shirt. There are some
I'm
areas.
sure there's plenty of people out there that would like.
there's
your
some
shirt.
areas that would
I'm
like
sure
my
there's
shirt.
plenty of people out there that would also. dislike
Yeah,
your shirt.
but driving around the state, you kind of I call it like there's different levels of masks, right? You've got the no mask, you got the some people wear masks, you got the mask under the nose, and then you've got what are you looking for?
cheese. Bro, sorry.
Oh
yeah.
yeah. Yes, ma'am.
First world
We got the.
problems.
I was gonna say
First
we got
world.
the, we got,
Yeah, exactly.
we got the pretzels too.
Yeah.
So I call it different levels, and then you got people that are full hazmat suit, right? So I guess the closer you get to the bigger cities, the full hazmat suit.
Sure.
Grand Junction was like nobody gave a shit at all. But Grand Junction's all the way west.
That's what I was close to.
So
Utah.
yeah. So I mean, to me, man, it's just like there's so many different people out there. Not everybody classifies or aligns with that where they're at, right? So I was talking to one guy in Manitou Springs, and it's super freaking liberal there.
Do you hike the incline?
The incline didn't do it. It was a little cold, but we saw it.
Is that those steps you were talking about
Yeah.
before?
Pull it up,
Yeah,
guys.
that was like one of your first podcasts, wasn't it? You guys were talking
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah, I did the incline. It was
in the
fun,
first couple
man.
months,
It took me. So I think it's almost a mile.
Yeah.
And I want to say at some point it's like 67-degree incline. Like it was
It's pretty
steep.
gnarly.
It's pretty up there.
Yeah.
It seems like through the years they close it down, then open it back up to the public. But I didn't. I think it took me around like 50 minutes. And I felt like it was pretty good. But I remember I was like halfway up there.
You see some old dude was
Bro,
like,
this
"How you
dude
doing,
had to
young
be like
man?"
mid-60s, and he's like, "Good to see you there, son." Dude just went right past me.
Is there like side ropes for that degree incline right there, or is it just
There's
little?
not. No, it's
stairs?
like
What is it?
railroad ties. It's like a scar on the side of the mountain.
Well, it's like
And the Manitou incline.
it's kind of like the stairs at
Manitou, I think.
at the dam at
Mohican.
Mohican.
Yeah.
The railroad ties going
Mhm.
up that.
Yeah. And I wasn't in like peak cardio shape at that point, but still.
Still.
I mean, seeing a 60-year-old dude just. So I didn't
hurts.
have any altitude
So-
sickness though. I was going to ask you about that.
No.
Nothing. Okay.
I was a little concerned about it, especially sleeping at 10,000 feet. I noticed I felt really, really good. And then we got out there. My wife's been having like some blood clot things going on. She's gone to see an oncologist because she was concerned about. Yeah, there it is. But
Wow.
she didn't have any issues.
Okay.
I didn't have any issues. Kiddos were fine. I was carrying around a kid on my shoulders and walking up steps.
Yeah.
That was a little. I felt winded, but other than that, I felt good.
Okay.
A lot better. But yeah, what I was trying to get at is just for me, I'm not really concerned about the people. I can go along with anybody. It's more or less the governmental decisions and things like that with schooling and healthcare and all those things I'm concerned about. And I don't want to be even getting into that mix, honestly. It's just, I guess one example is when you're denying somebody healthcare, life-saving service because of their vaccination status. I just was like, really? And it's a real thing. And I'm just like, if you're going to do that, man, I don't want to be a part of your state, you know?
Not to go down any rabbit holes, but explain that a little bit.
Well, yeah. So, I mean, there was a healthcare system. Do you know about this?
Oh, I don't, man.
Yeah. So out in Colorado, there was a healthcare system. There's a hospital somewhere, and a guy was waiting to get a kidney transplant or something like that as an organ transplant.
Okay.
On the list, finally his name came up. Went to go get it. They're like, "Cool. All right, let's get you prepped. I just need you to fill this out. So, what's your ethnicity? Or what's your vaccination status?" He's like, "Vaccination status." He's like, "Well, I'm not vaccinated. It's COVID."
So they denied him a kidney transplant because he
well,
didn't have a vaccine.
Yeah, sorry, you don't have it. Are you willing to get it? No. They're like, well, we're gonna deny that.
Oh wow, dude, I did not know about that.
Yeah. So they denied his life-saving medical procedure because he was not vaccinated.
Where was this hospital system?
Was
it in Denver?
I think it was in Denver.
Okay.
I think it was like a major one.
Okay.
Yeah, and like a major one.
Dude, how is that not some sort of a lawsuit?
I know,
Like,
I guess it is, but if you die,
I understand what you're saying. At that point, you need the kidneys.
Yeah.
He starts to sound like Bill
So,
Gates now.
obviously
Well, he's
there's-
dead. So
obviously,
No,
you can do the what is it? The
Dialysis?
Yeah, dialysis.
Yeah.
But you know,
For how long?
yeah, but again, it's like you're up on the list. I mean, the list is long, man.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like that bullshittery, man. Fuck that. I'll go to Wyoming. I'll go to Utah.
Yeah.
I'll go to Idaho. I'm not going to deal with that.
Montana.
Whatever. I'm not going to deal with that
Montana's
because I
next
think
this
it's
time of
like
year.
it takes so long for that kind of crap to get filtered through the politics, and then you already have people like that mindset that flocked there. It's like, dude, no, I'm not going to give you guys another dime. I'm not going to give you a dime on my money.
Yeah.
Because that's stupid. You fix that. You come out, say that was fucked up. Maybe I'll think about it, but. Yeah, other than that, it's beautiful. I told my wife that. I said, "Hey, I don't want to move there because of that.
Yeah.
It's not something that I'm not going to put my kids in the school system. I'm not going to sit there and have health care that's going to deny me based on whatever. I mean, deny me based on my, obesity. If you want to do that, I'll exercise, but I'm not going to put something in my body just to be like, well, okay, now can I do this? Do you want to take antiviral medication from Pfizer? Cool. Throw those over here. Hump. No. So to me, I guess that's the cut right there.
True.
Didn't see any wildfires. I guess that was a big thing.
Around Boulder.
Yeah, we actually went through Boulder. Oh my gosh, the best way to get to Boulder. Go from Idaho Springs through Center City all the way, because Center City is like a whole bunch of casinos in this small little tiny town that looks like Smithville, basically. You just go through it and you whoop, and then you take these freaking curvy things all the way down to get to
roads.
Yeah, roads,
Oh,
but
okay.
mountain roads to get to Boulder, and then you pop out, boom, and you're in Boulder. Because I was looking at the map, I'm like 2 minutes away, and I'm still in canyons. Holy shit! Finally, you pop out, and you're right at Boulder.
Well, that's cool.
It was cool.
I've been to Boulder once. I
Yeah.
stayed there. It was interesting, man. They had like a street carnival and stuff. I think in the summer, and it was it was a lot of artists there, a lot of kind of bohemian feel. It reminded me of Asheville. But just out west.
Dude, I went to Aspen. Aspen sucked.
Yeah.
It just
What's Aspen?
Bro.
It sucked.
Went to Aspen. Aspen sucked.
Yeah, well, dude, you get there and it's a windy road, kinda. You get to Aspen and you get this, you thinking about Dumb and Dumber, right? You're looking for mopeds.
That's what I was thinking about the entire time you said
I
that.
know.
Rockier. A bit a little
I was like,
rockier
you
than
about
this.
to pull an extra set of gloves out there?
Yeah. So, I mean, you're thinking about all that and you're like, okay, this is going to be crazy. And you get there and it looks like Mad River Mountain. It's like, oh, okay. I mean, it's kind of big. But then I saw there's 6 women coming out of this multi-million-dollar condo wearing these floppy hats with spandex on and puffy parkas or something. And I'm like, and they're just dressed that nice. I think they have designer Coach boots on and shit, walking down trying not to slip. And I'm like, oh, okay. It's the upper echelon kind of people that are going to Aspen. And it's not to say to get the views or anything. It's I've been to Aspen, or I flew a helicopter into Aspen, or I ate dinner at this bar or restaurant in Aspen. So
Catalina wine mixer, bro.
yes, the Catalina wine mixer. But dude, I will tell you what, we went to Aspen, Boulder. We went to Durango, and Wolf Creek has a ski place. The best place to ski or like see mountains is Telluride, hands down, hands freaking down.
Cass, can you pull up a Colorado map so we can look at a little?
So
bit?
Oh, yeah.
Heavy
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to bring it so serious, but did you fish while you were out there?
Fish?
So he, if I'm not mistaken, right, you do your own lures? You
Flies,
you're
flies,
doing
yeah,
flies. Sorry,
flies.
not lures.
That's all good.
Sorry.
Sorry, yeah,
No,
you're
is
right.
that,
Sorry,
is that a
flies.
thing out there?
Fly fishing in
Yeah.
Colorado?
Yeah, I mean the
Oh, you just
Salmon,
angered. There's
you
so
know?
many people screaming right now.
yeah.
What's a lure?
No, it's a fly. It's not a lure.
There's so many people screaming because that's not even the right.
Yeah, a fly.
Yeah.
He's an angler.
Yeah,
Angry man?
no, not angler.
I
Pretty
know
much.
I know nothing about
Yeah,
it.
fly fishing.
I know what
Uh,
fly fishing is,
Yeah,
yeah.
Alright,
that's
wow.
No, we didn't
that's-
fish.
Master
Um,
angler.
masturbator.
There you go.
Got it. Wood
We
liquor,
switched sides.
whatever.
Yeah. I will. So
yeah, it's like a mecca.
so another. So
Oh, it is? Like the shit out there?
Yeah.
Oh, I better
well,
learn how to
isn't
do
that
it.
because is it the
I didn't
salmon
see
out
anybody
there?
fly
The-
fishing.
Just
it
trout.
The
That's
trout,
all.
not salmon. Yeah, trout. Yeah,
Did
the
you say
trout,
semen?
The trout, salmon.
Oh,
Because they swim upstream. All the
semen? Yeah.
no.
Go ahead.
And so I will actually drop a heavy question on you. So you mentioned obviously talking about different
Yeah.
states and how they're running their things, and I've been thinking about this recently, and this kind of brings me back, Tony, to our couple of our Jason Sheftel conversations.
The expert on China.
Yeah, he's like a China guy, and he told us this probably over a year ago now.
Oh, I feel like
that
I know where you're going. with
He
this.
sees that one of the biggest things that's happening is deglobalization, because obviously the last 30 since World War II, essentially the world has kind of become this globalized economy and market, where he sees now that we're gonna. His prediction is that China's just trying to take care of itself. He's real fascinated on that. He thinks that the world's going to start fragmenting back. He's to deglobalization, and I see that same thing happening
by states.
in the States in this last year.
Touche, yeah. Right,
You know what I
right,
mean?
right,
So
right.
like, what does that look like if we continue to go down the road we're going, and if the states continue to get more power? Because I've even heard people calling for not necessarily a civil war, but a split.
Mhm.
Like, hey, like
Oh, yeah.
let's the
Two
United
separate
States is
societies.
just too big.
You mean someone else
There's
other
too
than
many
Texas?
states. There's too yeah. Like we're like
Time to
have you ever like
secede.
considered that like
Yeah.
some of the you hear a lot of people, I'm going to move this. This happens, I'm going to move to Canada or move it. Like there's a lot of people now talking, and it's happened about moving states.
Mhm.
So like
Well, yeah, you sent me that graph, and I mean, it was like a mass exodus from
yeah, it
almost all
wasn't
states.
it wasn't as
Really?
many people
California
as I
for sure.
yeah, it wasn't as many people as I expected, but it was probably I think it was close to 2. It's documented that over 2 million people have generally when you balance out all the plus and minuses, 2 million people have moved from essentially the north and the west into the southeast
Out of the whole country?
of the whole country.
Only 2 million?
I think that's
That's
like
a
the
shitload.
balance.
I think it'd be interesting to see though, like the move from urban to rural.
Yeah,
I think that's
I
I think that's probably what it was like one of those things we were saying like the overall the numbers worked out. Maybe it was like 3 million.
Because I mean, like,
But it was like it might have been like almost like 750,000 from like the California area, like down towards Texas, and it was like another like half to a 750,000 like from like the New England area, like down into like the Florida area, and then a little bit from Midwest South, but not as much. But you could see like these numbers. It was like, what is this like? How is this all going to, work out in the end?
I feel
if
like percentage wise, that's not. I actually would have guessed more because like we're north of 300 million in the United States, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like 2 million for me feels like not that much. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but the amount of people that I run into pretty much on a daily basis that are like, we're done, bro.
Yeah. So the graph that
You
I
know?
saw, it was from July 2020 to July 2021. So it was only a year
Oh,
from
okay.
July 2020.
Gotcha.
But it was almost 1 million people have moved
Mm-hmm.
from essentially Texas to like North Carolina, that whole swath.
Huh.
So that was just within a year. And that was the balance. 'Cause there's
From
people moving
Texas?
out. No, into Texas.
Oh,
From
okay.
like
Gotcha.
into from Texas to that whole
Okay.
southeast portion.
Okay.
But like
Mhm.
Gotcha.
what is that? Like
Well, people are
like-
done. I mean, that's
Yeah, like, and I wonder, like, what does that end up looking like?
People want to be left alone. I mean, at the end of the day,
Yeah.
right? That's what we all want, right?
I mean, some people want to bug people. Were you?
Maybe
Chad,
there's
I also wanted to let you know that in Ohio there was a lady who was denied a liver transplant
let's get out of Ohio.
at the Cleveland Clinic.
Ooh,
Oh, that's
because
what
of vaccination status.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I just don't
How is that
understand.
legal?
That's what I'm saying.
Her
I don't think it
daughter
is.
was donating the liver.
How is
Oh,
that legal?
wow.
So they
that's
just didn't
even-
want to do the surgery.
Yeah.
I
That's
just, fundamentally, does anybody get past the whole paperwork part of this and just go, God, we were being shitty human beings right now? Like, does anybody think of that?
No, man, they got head down.
we
It just
Head
never
down.
crosses their brain. Like,
that's the biggest thing that we've talked about so many times. It's like,
how?
just being how have we gotten ourselves to this point where the people that it's the shift, it's the rubber band effect that I've talked about. I don't know how many times, Tony. Like, where we as humans, it feels like a lot of people, like, they go so far one way until that rubber band just can't take it anymore, and it's like, nope. Now as a
Sure.
society, we're getting
Opposite.
shot back the other way,
Yeah, I
and
hear
it's
ya.
like, but all the time, it's like
Yeah.
you have people on both sides just screaming and yelling, like, why are we doing this?
Pendulum
just-
swing.
I just don't get it.
Hmm.
I don't understand. Well, it's like, we had the episode with Mary Barrick. She's a social worker at Mansfield Hospital. So she
In it.
sees a lot of stuff.
In it, yeah.
And it was just like, I think 3/4 of the way conversation, I was like, so what you're telling me is we just need to be fucking nicer people.
Yeah.
Like, we just need to be nicer. Like, is that
Got it.
She's like, yeah, kind of. Like, if people were just nicer to each other. Like, oh, you disagree with me? Okay, that's fine. But you're leaving me alone? You're not, like, bothering me?
We don't grow up past kindergarten. We like to hide that we do, but apparently we don't. I don't know.
Some people, I think a lot of people don't.
People
for
get
sure.
frothing at the mouth, angry just because they don't agree with one topic or something.
Yeah,
Just
and why? Like,
can't even have a discussion about
I think
it.
if it affects me, I'm pissed. But if it's not going to affect me ever,
Yeah,
I don't really care
Yeah,
too
but
much.
fundamentally, can you have a discussion with somebody that you don't agree with? You know what I mean? Like, that's a skill that I feel like is in short supply right now. You know?
it is, but I think
sure.
I think a lot of it too is maybe practice, because we don't like, because it's it can be very uncomfortable.
It's what it is uncomfortable. Yeah.
But I think maybe that's the problem.
So,
We're
dude,
soft,
social
yeah.
media, the whole thing about social media is it's we call it an echo chamber. You know, we talked about it on one of the podcasts,
Yeah.
and it's that's that comfort zone, man. That's the Goldilocks. That's
you can find people that agree with you.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
so then you never have to have a disagreement. So then the second you face disagreement, like, I don't like blue shirts,
Right.
you go,
You're the monster.
hey, dude, that's all right. I don't like black shirts.
Right.
But if he's never experienced it, he goes, wrong?
Why are you so
you
so
mad?
mean to me?
well, they don't know how to react. And then, like,
Right.
think about this: driving on the highway, old school road rage. Dude, somebody, you cut somebody off, or you think somebody got cut off, or whatever like that. They freak out on you, whatever.
Mhm.
New school road rage. I've had this happen 3 times. Driving down the road, somebody in the left lane going way too slow on a 4-lane highway. Right. All right. Get over, get in the right lane, maintain the same speed I'm going. Not trying to get on their butt and then get over. Just I see them, I'm like, I'm going to deal with this today. Just get over. You start going, they speed up. Now they're going the same speed as you. Oh, okay. Well, I'll speed up a little bit more because I really don't want to be behind somebody that doesn't understand what speed they want to go. They keep speeding up. I went from 65 to 95 miles per hour at one point. And the person sitting there is like,
Yeah,
don't
you're
let
not
them get over.
passing me.
And it's always these younger people. And I equate it to they're not used to dealing with anybody that is not okay with their choice. They've always been patted on the back, told they're okay. Oh, that's all right. Or, oh, that's creative, or not. What the fuck is that? You know, they've always been, coddled. And so when somebody says, well, I don't like the speed you're driving, tries to pass them, it embarrasses them. They don't know how to deal with their feelings, and they speed up.
I think you can have a balance between the two, though, because you can be like, hey, that's not, I think you can do better.
I know what we should do. I'm saying, like,
but you know what I mean? I think there's a balance, maybe just separating this. I think there's a balance between, telling everybody they're a winner. And,
oh yeah,
and being nice to them at the same time, even if they're not the winner.
I know.
I think we can do both. Like, you don't have to lose the game or not do great in life and be like, well, that sucks to suck, you fucking loser.
Mhm.
Like, no, you can still be nice to that person. You know what I mean? So I think that's the balance we've lost in, whether it be societally or
being cordial.
that. And we've really lost it politically.
Oh,
If somebody disagrees with you politically, then well, you're just the worst. Like no, like I just have different feelings and thoughts about different things than you, and maybe some of those people just haven't, or you haven't fully thought out a certain A, B, or C.
Yep.
So like, why can't we talk about that? Because that fascinates me. I'd really want to talk about it. Like, but if I say something that you don't like agree with, like you don't have to get mad. Same with me. Like I'll try not to get mad when I disagree with you. I'm going to ask you about it.
Yep.
And then later I might think about it a little more and go, yeah. There's even times on the podcast where I'm like, I disagree with that. Like I wish I would have said something but I just hadn't processed it.
Yeah.
But like I can disagree with it and still be okay. Well, that's how you feel.
It's like I was thinking about. I said something about the masks thing. Whatever. If you want to wear a mask, it's fine. But I saw somebody at the grocery store today. It was 2 overweight old people walking around. One had a mask on, one didn't. I looked up, formed a quick judgment. I was like, oh, great. Freaking mask, whatever. And then I was like, oh, he's not wearing a mask. Why is he not wearing a mask? She is. And then I noticed her hair was really short. And I was like, and old, overweight people, I was like, oh, I bet she's just went through chemo or had cancer or whatever. Her immune system's compromised. I was like, stop being a fucking dick, dude. Stop thinking like that every single time. Like, oh, we're in a mask, So if you're not able to change that about yourself, and if it was always like, oh, you're going to wear a mask. Oh, you have cancer. Well, what an excuse. Like you keep doubling down, each time. You're just a dick. We need to have that balance, You need to be able to sit there and go, oh, I was a fucking asshole. Like if you don't, you're not humbling yourself. You're just a dick.
If you're not learning anything.
Yeah. Sorry, I thought about that when I was buying beef sticks.
I was buying beef sticks.
I was walking.
The world's a crazy place.
Yeah, the world's a crazy place. Let me buy my beef sticks.
Yeah, dude. But I was mentally giving the person shit for wearing a mask. I do it frequently, and I'm just like, oh man, it kind of hit me. I was like, well, that's probably a really good reason if that's the case why they're wearing one.
Yeah, but how about this? Even if they just want to. Even if it makes them feel like I've been in the same boat you are. We're looking at just maybe not masks, but just in general. You look at
wearing masks for me,
or just you look at somebody and you're like, look at this guy.
You're driving with a mask on,
like whatever.
Wow.
Yeah, but whatever the scenario is.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, does that affect me?
I know.
No,
it doesn't.
It doesn't. So, like, you know what? You want to drive in your car with an N95 or KN95 and a cloth mask and an astronaut helmet. By all means, my friend.
Yep. There was a guy
it doesn't bother me. You do it.
There is a Korean guy. There's a Korean guy that I went to school with his son and daughter. His wife worked at where I work, and I saw him one time driving down the road from Dublin to where I live, and he, no kidding, had a motorcycle helmet on in his car. And I looked over and I was like, oh my gosh. I was
Maybe he's going to do some rally racing.
Well, I actually first thought, I was like, oh, he probably has brain damage or something like that. And if he did get in an accident, it would be a big, huge risk to his life because his skull maybe isn't completely formed or something like that. As an adult, I was like, oh, okay, well, that's kind of weird. And then I saw him again, and then I realized who it was. And I was like, oh, he's just being weird. He has a freaking full-blown motorcycle helmet on, driving his car down the road.
Yeah, but who's it?
I'm just saying, people are weird though.
Yeah, but some people just are weird just for fun. I like that. Like, I'm trying to remember who
LARPing?
that. No, yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
We got a buddy that does a little bit of LARPing.
Live action.
I've seen some, maybe not LARPing, but he.
You can say his name, or
no.
Give me an
Dox
example.
his ass, dude. Who is he?
Have you seen Mancheck when he goes to those events?
Oh.
It's not LARPing.
Oh, it's
but it's. He does
The
like
cosplay events.
Yeah, he just kind of.
I think
he
I think
dresses
it's hilarious.
He
I'd
dresses
get
up
on
like
board.
Sailor Moon or something, right?
Yeah, but there's a comedian who's I know his name. It's right on top of my head. He's a comedian, but he does like beatboxing and like music like in his act. Like that's kind of like what his act is. Reggie Watts. Does that sound?
I think it's a football player, but
Reggie Watts is a football player, isn't it? What is his name? Oh, that's right. The guy's hilarious, but he doesn't do He doesn't like do the comedy much anymore, like he used to. But he has like a full like this whole helmet, like, and attaches like to his like around his shoulders and stuff where it's like filtered. Like he wears it like when he flies and stuff just to like fuck with people. It's like what is his name? Dang it. That's right there. I know it. I'm gonna have to look it up. It's Reggie something. He does, if you type in like comedian, beatboxing, music, comedian or something like that, it'll pop up. He's a really cool dude. He's super eccentric. I remember watching him on as much as I dislike NPR these days, but NPR Tiny Desk, have you ever seen any of their stuff?
Mm-mm.
Super neat. So NPR does a thing, it's called NPR Tiny Desk, where they have musicians come into their offices.
Those are awesome, by the way.
Super awesome. And they set everything up and they play like a little concert, like 3 or 4 songs. Like Sturgill Simpson on NPR Tiny Desk is the best thing I've ever heard. Like, I don't know if you like Sturgill Simpson at all.
Shaky was pretty sweet, too.
I'm not gonna lie, that's not ringing a bell. I don't know. Can't picture who
Okay,
that
he's
is.
a country. I don't know. He's a country guy, but Sturgill Simpson, like he's like a not mainstream country, but like
Some days you blast off, some days you just smoke.
Is
It is Reggie
this guy?
Watts.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Told you.
All right.
Yeah.
He's been on Rogan, I think.
This guy is one of the most eccentric people. I knew him about a years ago.
Whew.
But he comes out and his
Can we see
gig.
Can we see the spacesuit he wears?
Yeah, look at like for the helmet that he wears. I don't know if there's a picture of him on there at all. But he comes out like his whole gig is he comes out and he pretends to be a beatboxer like mixer. And he'll start like doing the songs and like he lays some sick beats, bro. But like he'll start throwing stuff down like
That just happened.
Yeah. But he'll start like singing, but then you realize like halfway through like he's not singing anything at all. He's making stuff up. And like he'll start like making like jokes like throughout the song. Like it's the most it's a really interesting experience to like
We'll incorporate that when we're influencers.
yeah,
We'll
for
do
sure.
that shirtless for the calendar.
For sure. But like
Top up, though.
yeah, if you ever were like dig into something really kind of like musically fun and comedic, as long as you can like take enough time to like understand what he's doing, you look up some old Reggie Watts like stand up.
Dude, he looks like Bugs Bunny with a fro and a different
He's
complexion.
hilarious. It's so cool. I've watched some of his stuff, but he was on if you look at NPR Tiny Desk Reggie Watts, it's a pretty cool thing. But yeah, he wears this like apparently he has this like HEPA filtered like astronaut helmet that he wears like when he flies and stuff just to like be eccentric, like just to be a goofball. But it's like, well, okay, you want to
Hey, everybody's level. One of my neighbors, he's into whiskey. We were talking at the beginning of the pandemic. He's like, "What's your level?" This is like a month or 2 in. I'm like, "My level." He's like, like your comfort level with pandemic. I said, "Oh, it sucks." He's like, No. He's like, "Do you like fist bump, shake hands, give hugs?" He's like, "Wear a mask around people." He's like, "What's your level?"
Bro, based on what I've seen today, full intercourse.
Yeah. Oh, for me? All right.
Josh is like, I'm out. Nice knowing you
It's
guys.
like yes, which I
Well,
want
I'll tell you. Oh, sorry.
real quick.
That's not your knee.
Real quick, I got
That's
a
your
bone to
weenie.
pick with the people.
Ooh.
Interesting use of buds.
Perfect choice.
Lick some wood, pick some bones.
Yeah.
All right.
No, once we figured out that this was an air circulated thing,
Yeah.
the people that bumped elbows and that still do it, how does that make more sense than shaking hands?
I mean, realistically, you're contacting hands with. I would say,
Yeah, but
statistically, it'd be hard to agree that you're not lowering the percentage a bit, even if it's.
if it's
negligent,
circulated through respiratory system
If
in our
what is?
airways, how is it?
would you walk
more-
over to a slide of it, stick your finger on it, and lick your finger?
No,
Well,
but I
that's
also won't
probably
shake
why.
somebody's hand and stick my fingers in my mouth.
Well, accidentally though, you might. How often do you rub your eye? And
Okay,
like,
but how much closer are you getting to another how much closer are you putting your respiratory system
With
to
an
another
elbow and a
person's
handshake? Is that what you're
respiratory
getting at?
system with an elbow compared to a hand?
I think from a pure respiratory factor, sure, I agree. I see that. But like if you're touching somebody's hand, think it'd be hard to argue that you're not at more of a risk by touching somebody's hand than if by not.
But not
right?
only
I just play devil's
I know,
advocate,
but only if I take my hand and bring it to my face then
But
afterwards.
how often, dude? I do it all the time. Where I'm like, okay, I just shook somebody's hand. I need to be conscious and not touch my face. I need to not do something. And all of a sudden, I'm like, I got an itch. And I'm like,
Yeah, no, I get it. But
I'm
like,
dead.
We've
but
all
if I'm
touched these
thinking
bottles, too.
there's this deadly respiratory thing
I
around,
don't know.
let me get
Yeah.
an entire arm's width closer to somebody.
Yeah.
And
Well, so
It's
for
just-
me,
I
it's
find
like
it
you go
funny.
to the grocery store. Do you ever take the wipes that they have there and wipe down the cart?
No.
No.
I
Yes?
do.
I do.
I do.
Okay.
yeah.
I do.
Well,
Okay.
Dude, people.
So all right.
sometimes,
All right,
Bro.
so
I actually only do that when I'm at Walmart, not Bueller's. So.
okay.
I'm just joking.
Now, let's see here. I'm like ultimately, I'm not for masks, but like with Walmart,
What are you,
all I'm
what are you
saying.
gonna catch,
Like,
redneck?
that's all I'm saying.
Bro,
That's
just don't
skank.
go.
Bro, that's if a flea market and a county fair had a baby. That's Walmart.
I understand.
almost-
it's gotten bad.
so-
Oh, that's perfect. Yeah.
Funny. Speaking of Walmart, so I won't
was
say
going
it-
The,
somewhere
the
with that.
Walmart.
I won't say the
We're all
Walmarts.
getting sued on Monday.
Yeah, I won't say the person's name or any of this because, and I'd tell this to their face, but I didn't. But it was a thought that I had that was funny. So like we were at one point we were looking at people's it was like just like face shots of people, and it was like, oh, this person looks like this. Like he was making jokes. Like we're just having fun. That's all it was. And I like the first thing that came to my mind, I couldn't bring myself to tell him, not the time. Maybe in person I tell him, but I wanted to be like, because he had one too. I wanted to be like, you look like the guy that wear gray sweatpants with no underwear to Walmart, dirty gray sweatpants with no Walmart underwear. But I just couldn't bring myself to do it because I'm like, that's a very like clear.
Are we that close or not?
Dude,
I tell
so
him in person.
you go to the grocery store, you still wipe the handle, right?
Sure. Yeah.
I mean,
Sorry,
I
we got.
wipe everything.
Okay, cool. Same here. Did you do it before the pandemic?
Yes.
Yeah, I did.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
did.
okay.
I mean, but you got to think I'm in healthcare, so I understand that like aseptic techniques.
I did do that at
Gas
Walmart.
pumps.
I did do that at
Yeah.
Walmart before the pandemic.
and I I just try and stay clean, just because I mean a lot of stuff is just passed.
But at the
Same
same
here.
time, though,
So-
you got to eat some dirt every once in a while.
Yeah.
You know, yeah,
but
I
not
agree. But like there's some stuff like I don't know about you guys, but like I check the gas before I even like grab the handle on a gas pump. I grab below on the hose and pull it up, and like I look at because there's people out there right now popping needles and things. Like
Yeah.
you could grab a gas
There's some
pump.
dirty
and-
people out there.
I'm just saying, like
I don't think I've ever heard of that.
you haven't
I have heard of
HIV
that.
needles inside of a gas pump.
No.
Oh, that's a thing, buddy. Yeah, they'll put a used like
New-
a HIV
new
needle
conspircy
inside,
theories
inside
every
of a
day
gas
here.
pump.
Why would
Yeah,
they-
Chad doesn't need these.
Some people
Yeah,
just
Chad does not need
Is
to go
that on
down
the-
that
is
rabbit
that
hole.
on the
Josh,
map?
please don't introduce him to more.
Yeah, so
Some
he's the
people
one that
just,
that
like-
got the Great Awakening.
This is
for
like the
us.
best quote in the world. Some people just like to see the world burn.
That's true, but we
Oh.
don't need to give Chad any more rabbit holes
Hold
to
on.
go down.
Was that from Batman?
No, that was from what is it? The
That
Illusionist.
does sound like Batman.
Yeah. That's so
Okay.
perfect.
It is. Some people do just want to see it.
All right,
Yeah.
people scratch their butts after they're done pooping, and they don't
Yeah.
wipe very well.
Yeah.
They still go to Walmart, they still go to Kroger, and
Touch your
Buick,
cart.
and
Sorry,
they
we're
touch the
getting back
cart,
to that.
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
That poop is not a freaking viral disease. It is a poop disease. It's poop. It's
I mean,
it's on the it's on
not
the
sure where you're going with this.
it's
but-
on the handle. So you're
Anyway.
grabbing that.
Hmm.
What blows me away is that poop is gross, and we're touching it, and some people don't care too much about it.
Right.
They don't care about wiping that thing off. That's just mind-boggling. But
I mean, there are a lot of oral fecal diseases, and not just
Yeah.
through that, but I mean
Hepatitis?
through
C.
yeah.
diff, bro.
Yes, you did.
Yeah,
but I'm
Hepatitis?
just thinking.
Hand, foot, and mouth.
I'm just
all
thinking about the what was it the
bet, yeah.
masks and stuff like that. It's like somebody to freak out about the masks and all that, or about COVID, but then not wipe the handle off is just. Blows
Oh
me
yeah,
away.
but some of those people they're going for. See, that's why like some they're going gloves and triple mask and wiping
Yeah.
everything down and wiping their vegetables.
dude
down
at the
with
beginning, I was
bleach.
freaked out.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, well,
Yeah.
yeah, and it's. I mean, to be honest with you, like rightfully so. Like nobody knows what
Yeah.
this is yet. It's like just.
Well, we were seeing
coming
people
out,
in
like-
China drop down dead.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
that makes
Like
sense.
when that
Yeah.
when it first came, and I think it was something else. But you would see somebody walking down the street and just
Yeah.
conk down. They had security cameras of it, of the COVIDs and everything like that.
It's
Yeah.
at this point, it's such a interweaved mess of what people believe because they've seen from somewhere or what like it's such an entangled like politics have been introduced to it. It's such a mess.
Oh yeah.
Like you can't untangle it at this point, you
Yeah.
know.
And see, that's what I would challenge. That's I realized that it was everything is just so convoluted. That
Yeah.
you haven't,
Yeah.
and the more you learn that there's things that the more you don't know,
Yeah.
and there's so many
Mhm.
ties and connections, and
Mhm.
well, we brought up Jason Sheftel. I asked him about China, like, is this really bad, or is this? He's like, I don't think. I think for the vast majority of our government and all these things that we think are so bad and
Mhm.
that we look at, it's just a bunch of people just trying to do whatever they're doing. Like there's no like, for the most part, there's no like upper echelon conspiracy theory where all these people are controlling every single move and it's just a bunch of dumb people on earth trying to figure our way out. And sometimes when dumb people are in control, dumb things happen.
And I would probably offer that there's not a reason it can't be both of that.
Oh, it's all mixed in there. Like people are trying to control things, but it's and you know
and
we never let a good crisis go to waste.
Yeah, exactly.
But to say the whole thing is
like
a conspiracy theory, like wait, there's a lot of dumb people on this planet that are controlling things, and there's a lot of dumb people that say a lot of dumb things, myself included. So like we're all just trying to. I think about it a lot of times when I'm driving on the highway, or even more so when I'm flying in the helicopter, and I'm seeing people on the highway, and like I see all these cars, all these people. I'm like. Every single one of these people is having experience just like I am right now. I am here at this moment in time,
That's deep.
living my life. And look at all these people in our small little area, like because we don't live in New York City or LA or LA.
She nailed that.
She did.
Yeah.
It was right on. But like like when you consider that, like every single one of these people is going through the. Back to our, what do we see, the colors, their smells and tastes.
The Matrix.
Essentially the exact same experience that I am right now.
Yeah.
My life, their life. Like
Tasty wheat.
it's so weird. Like when you're on the highway, like you're looking at all these cars, like every single person is doing the same thing I am right now. They're just living their lives. Like I can't.
It's just the biggest thing that gets me is like the fear thing. Cause it's like the most powerful thing on the planet that you can harness is fear.
Yeah.
Like if you can ride that pony, you just control everything, and that's what really gets to me. If I see people being
Wasn't there? It was the Nazis
abused by that,
It was the I think it was. Was it Hitler or one of his generals or something, or maybe it was a story.
Goebbels?
Had a chicken.
Yeah, Joseph Goebbels.
Yeah, he's
Picked the feathers out, right, of the chicken, and the chicken would sit there, and it was excruciating pain, everything like that. The chicken was freaking out. But then you put food out, and the chicken would walk right over and eat the food out of your hand after you just picked all their feathers out, hand by hand. Or feather by feather, and it's the chicken is like, oh, that's my food.
But don't they say the chicken's the only dinosaur that's left?
Okay,
is that true?
I don't know.
They obviously didn't survive very well.
They did.
That's the only one.
Yeah, I get the perspective thing though, where you're talking about like from a helicopter, like looking at that, because anytime you like zoom out, right, you get that big instant perspective on like whoa moment. You get the same thing like. Honestly, even just looking at the stars, realistically, if you really take a second to just like digest what that means,
what you're
you
seeing.
know what I mean? Like it's just, man, do you feel insignificant? Like immediately. I've always toiled with the fact, like, do you think this is the first time society has been to this point? I don't mean to open up a can of worms.
We've had that discussion with Chad last time he was out here. Actually,
hell no, bro. This shit's happened before. There's been iPhones.
Or at least
this is not the first Apple Watch.
I don't know about that. I don't know about the
and I don't even mean specifics.
I think we may have had different brands.
Yeah,
and not brands, but
like
different,
Nike and Reebok.
No, sorry, different like
there's milestones,
avenues of technology.
Yeah.
Like. Oh, because how many times we talk about like the pyramids and like these megalithic structures that we would like, it would cost us so much money to build now. But why did they do it? Obviously there's a reason. And it wasn't just because I'm the king and I want these big like there was a reason behind these things that were built. So it's like, where have we been before?
Well, even like
so
free energy,
like seafaring, like even just milestones in technology. Like I know you're joking about the iPhone and stuff, but like actual milestones like seafaring, like, okay, all of a sudden we became seafaring. Like they've found maps before that don't match on carbon dating for when we should have been drawing maps of this accuracy. You know what I mean? They don't match.
Have you
islands
seen
and stuff out there
before that?
Yeah. Well, one of my favorite things that's recently came out. I don't know if you saw it. It was in Arizona, I think it was. Long story short, they said that we believe that humans came across the Icelandic bridge and migrated down to North America. Blah blah blah. What 6,000 years ago, whatever it was. Yeah. And we don't think humans were here. Like. Whatever. But then they just found, it was over the summer, they found fossilized human-ish footprints in Arizona that they dated back to 23,000 years.
That's crazy. Yeah, it's just like breaks
and then you have people like Graham Hancock and Randall Carlson that deal with these mass catastrophe events, and they say like, hey, like I think people were here before and something happened and all of their evidence was erased.
I mean, that's the argument too. Is like people say, well, if it happened, then where's the evidence? Do you realize how quick our infrastructure breaks down if we don't maintain it?
yeah, and
Let
also
alone
under a mile of ice.
I was saying, not even considering a natural disaster.
Yeah.
Like we're just saying, like just dilapidation, like just
Yeah.
leaving it there.
Yeah, just leave a house for what 10 years.
Yeah, look in
It
Detroit.
disintegrates. It disintegrates, right? But
Said
if
look
you
at
factor
Beecher.
in like
Yeah, well, it is like these
Hey,
houses, like 15, they
yeah.
like side by side. 15, next
And-
thing you know, there's a tree growing up to
and
this house.
you factor
in
in
15 years.
you factor some like catastrophic flood event. Dude, you know, understand? Like that would just be like sandpaper across the face of the earth. Like
Yeah.
any evidence is gone, buddy.
Yeah. And even like these, we think about like these big, you know, towers we're building, all these
Mhm.
sky-rise buildings. They're steel and concrete. Well, leave a car
Mhm.
that's made from steel and
Mhm.
rubbers and
Out in the
plastics. Oh no, like they're gonna, which they're not great. I don't promote
Sure.
littering,
Sure.
but you know, leaving steel and rubbers and plastics and all these things just sitting there. In 30 years, it's almost gone.
That earth's gonna shake you off like
Yeah.
a flea, brother.
Yeah, well, give it 5,000 years. What are you going to find?
Well, we're
Some
talking,
extra iron in the soil?
I know, right?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Like,
I know.
what really is curious to me is the oil deposits from dinosaurs, or what is those oil deposits that are under there? It's organic. It's decayed organic stuff, right?
Mhm.
Oh.
maybe it was people. It's not all
Well, or it could be
dinosaurs.
huge civilizations, or it
Old
could
chickens.
be old
chickens.
old
That's probably
technology.
it.
Chickens. It's definitely chickens.
But yeah, I think there was other societies before. I mean, 23,000 years ago. I think there's millions of years ago. You don't think
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
who believes in evolution, right? Does it look like this? I mean,
Yeah.
because that's what we're saying. It was like, and
Mhm.
like I did do that because there's a little curve, but no way. We
It's
didn't.
yeah, it's hard. It's really hard to put in perspective because even you really think about it too, and it's like, well, crap. Like, just to think like back to Kitty Hawk. You know what I mean? Like, what has happened since Kitty Hawk in
90
that
years
amount of
ago.
time? And you look at
100 years ago.
Oh, you're talking about first flight.
yeah,
Yeah.
And
Oh, I
you
was
like-
just talking about that the other day.
like
It's
the
insane.
amount of time or what we have done since then. Like from the actual like time graph, it's like you can't even measure that. There wouldn't be a curve like you were talking about. It should just be like
Just straight up.
bam.
You know, it's funny. Think about that with the SR-71.
Oh, that's
SR-71
Blackbird.
Blackbird.
The Blackbird, the
So that was 1930, I think, is when
Oh,
that came
black.
out.
That thing
Oh,
came out
along
in
with-
30?
Yeah,
Okay.
dude, can you
Look
look
that
that up,
up.
Cassie?
No.
Really?
I think it was
I
50s
thought
or
it was
30s.
I thought it was like this
I was going to say like the
60s or
60s.
70s, but
Hmm.
I mean, maybe they started.
Maybe I'm just fucked up. I don't
No,
know.
I
Maybe no, because 30s is way too old.
Yeah, well, 30s is like 10 years after the
pre-
Wright brothers
that's
started
pre-World War-
flying.
first shower was 1810.
Yeah, it's because the Nazis brought it
Straight
back.
to the Black Hawk.
No, the Nazis brought it back
SR-71
from
Blackbird.
Antarctica.
Probably. We took a shower and then we built the Blackbird.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hot
We
shower.
woke up that morning.
Yeah, that graph just looked like this.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying. Think of it
Well,
this
that's
way.
the whole simulation theory
Like dinosaurs
you know,
and like we have
proposal
apes.
too.
Dude, tell me, okay, if you're what SR-71 Blackbird?
December 22nd, 1964.
Okay,
64. Okay, that makes more
Still.
sense. That makes more sense.
Still
Yeah.
though, 64. You're telling me the fastest plane that's ever been on this earth?
No, they have
Allegedly.
No.
64?
No, well, they've came out and said that just recently this fall, Russia, China, and the U.S. have all said that they've tested interspatial. I can't remember the exact words they use for it, but it's not, instead of just an intercontinental ballistic missile, they have basically drones
Oh, the hyper.
that hyperspace or something. I can't remember the verbiage they use.
Yeah, but that's not really a plane, though, is it?
It's a drone. But why? It's the same. It's the
Wait,
same argument.
finish what's going on.
Yeah. So what it does
is
is it's this drone that carries nuclear warheads
Holy shit.
up into space, and the flight pattern and the speed they move isn't recognizable to normal radar. And this is
Well, that's the definition. Does it do like this?
it, like the way it like rides like thermal waves at like this. I think it's like Mach 8 or something like that. Yeah.
I
Oh yeah.
remember
No, we
played
talked
that
about
video and they showed like
Yeah.
exactly like
It
you
was
said with the
during the
graph outside.
during like the end of summer
Yeah.
fall. I think China first come
First,
out and
then
said that they
Russia.
said it, and then Russia said that they tested it, and
And
then
then
like
we were
3 days later,
Oh yeah,
US
we
was
have
like,
that too.
oh yeah, we.
I didn't know that was possible. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh yeah, I can't remember what they. It was like a hyper. We
Wait,
talked about it in one show,
Hyper
one of the
missiles or
shows.
something.
There's people going it though?
No, it's
No, no,
it's a
no.
drone.
Yeah,
Yeah,
oh,
but
man.
at the same time, like
Hypersonic drones.
yeah, so
It's like
there
Black
was
Ops
one,
4, man.
yeah, there was one picture I remember I pulled up where like they explained it really well. They like China showed the science behind like like the difference between a plane, an intercontinental ballistic missile,
And a tic
and
tac.
And these hyperspace missiles. We're like, we're now at the point where multiple countries have missiles, nuclear capable missiles that we can't.
Isn't that what the technology they're working on was like a defense system for those?
Because
hypersonic?
And it's like, all right, now
like
we
a
have to work on
hypersonic
defense.
Iron Dome kind of thing.
The
Yeah.
titanium dome.
Yeah. So if you consider that, like, why would we want to man those planes if we don't have to? If we can sit in a base somewhere and man this airplane, why would it be manned? We wouldn't need to.
Huh.
So that same, if you travel all the way down that rabbit hole,
Yeah.
the same thing that people talk about, like UFOs. Maybe they're from here, maybe they're not, maybe whatever. Like, but why would we send people in these vessels?
There's
If
no
we-
way we're alone. Just
I'm not, yeah, I know,
Oh,
I know.
yeah.
But like, if
Piece of mold on the
if-
cake, brother.
yeah, if these UFOs and the different sightings are from
Mhm.
different planets or different species,
Mhm.
well, why would we expect to find actual species habit like in
Right.
that?
Yeah. It's
No, we're just gonna send a drone, just like we
Oh,
send to Mars,
Exactly.
just like we send
Yeah.
drones.
Check this out.
Yeah,
If they
why
were,
won't you?
if
no,
they were here,
check it out first. Then go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'd send drones there.
Even
and
if they are doing a drive by, I'm telling you right now, they are like lock the windows in this
yeah,
neighborhood.
yeah,
It's like East Cleveland.
yeah, you don't want to fuck with these motherfuckers. These people are
This is
crazy.
probably the zoo they take a trip to.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, there's no way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
It's similar. Yeah.
Hypersonic glider is down closer to the Earth.
Yeah. So what it does, there's something it rides like thermal waves and everything else to be able to get this extra and the gravity. So what it's just like you think about a rocket they're launching to the moon or to outer space. They launch it with such force and trajectory that by the time it flattens out, they meet up perfectly with. See if I can explain this at all because I'm gonna butcher it. They match the trajectory and the thrust of the rocket perfectly with the Earth's gravitational pull and its rotation, to where by the time it gets further out, the thrust lowers to where it's going just fast enough to stay at a gravitational Witt's pull from the Earth.
Mhm.
So it's almost like on a string now from the center of the Earth.
Mhm.
Kind of like a baseball. If you were to throw a baseball really, really hard, it falls. Doesn't matter how hard you throw it, it falls. But if you throw it hard enough, you'd be able to throw it out far enough away from the Earth that it would have enough speed to go around the world and be tied to the Earth from its gravitational pull like a string
Mhm.
around a stick
Like an orbit.
in orbit. And that's what orbit is. Well, that's what a lot of people think orbit is. They shoot it up and it just floats in space.
Mhm.
But that's not. The object is moving so fast that it just happens to balance out the Earth's gravitational pull and not go fast enough to leave it. So it's not actually just floating there. It's actually moving super fast around the Earth because
it's in the Goldilocks zone to where you literally it's not going to come down. Oh no, they are gradually coming down, aren't they? Very little bit each year.
Yeah, they do. I
But
mean, I think some of them,
No.
depending on where they're at,
Yeah.
the distance and how fast they're moving.
But basically, you hit the gas and it's like you set the cruise. There's no friction in space. So if you get it up to 140,000 miles per hour, you're set, baby. There's
Yeah.
no friction. You're gonna keep going that same speed
Mhm.
no matter what.
And you speed up, you get further away from the Earth. But if you slow down, then you'll get
Yeah.
closer to the Earth because of gravitational pull.
Try that, tell me
yeah,
about
I was gonna say, what's
it.
the
Tell me
next
about
one?
it. I think it's
Oh,
good.
Yeah.
that's the one you have.
You guys figure it out. I'm gonna take a break.
I think it's good, buddy.
What's that one called?
Lost Monarch.
Lost Monarch, yeah.
Who makes that?
Was it Redwood Empire?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's California.
Is it?
So you don't find those here locally?
No,
Yeah.
it's here.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's here.
really?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Now there was one that I think I sent you, Tony. It was one that was aged at sea or something like
Oh,
that.
Jefferson's.
Yeah. What in the heck?
Careful.
That's a little gimmicky for me. but-
Careful. Yeah.
I don't know. I just was curious about why is it aged at sea? What are they doing? They're just got a boat
That's
chilling
their,
out.
that's their shtick, I guess.
Yeah.
So
How do you
that's
accomplish
cool.
10 years at sea on the same boat aging whiskey?
I don't know. I mean, they got to be just unless people. I've heard it like everybody that's reviewing that has been giving it some bad marks. I've never seen a good review of it.
So there's some I've had that are half decent, but
Really?
for the price, like there's a Jefferson's Presidential, I think, which is like pretty high end.
Mhm.
I don't know if it's the same thing as the Aged at Sea though. I've got one that's Pritchard Hill, I think is what it's called, and it's aged in like some cask barrels or something. And it's okay, it's decent, but for the price, it's kind of hard to justify.
Yeah, I think you're paying for a lot of gimmick.
Yeah, it's the shtick. Like I said, I think it's.
I don't think
So
it's
I just wasn't sure how they actually did that. Like,
logistically. I don't know either. I'm sure they're buying some type of freight trips. You know. What I mean? But
if they're even
they just
doing
like
that,
pay to unload it and put it in the next one.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Huh, that's weird.
I just don't think it. You're gonna pay for the extra. You're paying for it somehow because they're not gonna just do that stuff for free, right?
Yeah.
So I mean,
And you were what, $75 a bottle for that stuff that you had? I think it was like $74.99 or something.
I don't know.
The Pritchard was like $80. The Presidential is crazy expensive.
I think that stuff's good.
I think I just texted
for
to you.
$40. That's a solid slammer for me. For
What do you-
$40.
What do you guys got? What are you
Again,
doing?
it's a burr rye, so maybe I'm being biased. Maybe I'm discovering something about myself. I don't know. Maybe I'm partial to the
You
rise.
love the rise.
I
Oh, here
don't
we
know.
go.
It sounds like you've been. I would say you're partial to the rise from
It
everything
was
I've heard you
70.
say.
It was $75.
I'm not a huge fan of dill notes or anything, but
dill. It's got
75.
some dill in it.
no, I'm just saying like
Rye
a lot of
is
ryes you can get
dill,
some
yeah.
dill notes, and I'm not a huge fan of that stuff.
Why? Why is that?
I like dill pickles. I don't know. I just in this like something desserty. The idea of dill, I just turns me off.
Yeah, I don't
think it's
think
good for 40. It's not gonna be like whoa.
Yeah. For me, though, I'm like, well, what if we add an extra 20 in there and we snag one of these Willets? I know.
You have to argue with
Maybe
me.
you're
That's-
turning me into a Willet fanboy, too. I don't know.
There's just like the Willet stuff. I feel like I'm constantly chasing it around. Like, oh god, that's cool. What am I chasing? Like, what's that flavor?
Yeah.
Every
yeah,
sip.
there's it's almost so much going on there that you don't know how to describe it.
Yeah, I love that feeling of like having to like if I can immediately pinpoint every single flavor, I'm bored
You're
immediately.
bored, yeah.
Yeah, see, sometimes I like that. Sometimes
Yeah.
I want a certain flavor.
You know,
He
like,
might like that Nika.
at the beginning. Well, at the beginning
I
of
just
the
like to hear
morning,
describe it. so.
at the beginning of like the evening or whatnot, like if you're pouring some Buffalo Trace or like Weller Special Reserve or something like that just to get things going. Yeah, I'm all like, you don't always need to have something that makes you think, but when you do want something that makes
Right,
you think,
you want something.
I want something that
actually-
makes me think.
Right.
Like send me on a like.
I think he needs
journey.
to try that Nika.
Yeah,
next
yeah,
time. I think you need to try that.
I'll bring
You
it
may
next
not
time for
enjoy.
sure.
You may not like it.
Sure,
but you'll enjoy
I'll
the
go on
journey.
that journey, yeah.
I just like to hear him describe it.
Yeah, because it's definitely one of those things. Because this was way before I like. Obviously, we talked about it. This was way before I knew anything about it. But then, like, I tried it. And I'm like, whoa, what is that? Like, because that's
Yeah.
not like that's out there.
Yeah,
You know,
That was
it's-
weird, dude.
which one?
I tried this one.
The
The Redwood Empire.
Yeah.
That's a burr rye, so it's like a bourbon and a rye
Ooh.
basically mixed together.
See, I've so how about this? Since you're talking about ryes, I've found, at least for me, that ryes I tend to enjoy much more without, like, because there's some that are really good with like an ice cube.
Mhm.
You get a little bit of the chill, a little bit of the dilution that really brings some of the flavors out.
Mhm.
Whereas I found a lot of ryes for me, if I put a cube in them, they almost turn not rancid, but like the profile like changes to where it's almost like bitter.
Yeah.
Do you like,
Well, so I might be kind of weird on this too, but I don't like my stuff chilled at all. If anything, I will warm it up in my hands.
so I noticed you've been doing that.
Yeah,
And I
Because
think
if-
like maybe
if I-
because you're a rye guy, because the ryes I like much better like neat and almost warm because the flavor is a lot better. But if you chill it, like I don't like the flavor of it at all.
So for me, anytime I chill something, I'm dulling down stuff, right?
Yeah.
Regardless,
Yeah, it's
there's no
losing
way.
some of that
There's
flavor.
no way to avoid that, and that could be good, or it could be bad. It's like a lottery ticket, depending on what that spirit is and that individual blend. So if I'm dulling down the stuff that I like, well, then I just shot myself in the foot, and I'm getting the spiky stuff that I don't like. There might be some that I do like with ice. I never try it, but I find that when I warm stuff up, it amplifies everything. So it's a lot like cheese. I don't know if you've had like some really, really good Swiss cheese that you like leave out on the counter
right? No,
and it gets sweaty.
I like a good like. Well, I don't know about that.
Like,
It gets
dude.
sweaty.
No, I'm not saying that's the best way to eat it. I'm saying like you taste the flavor,
Yeah.
it gets like it's like a volume dial.
Well, it's the same thing. Like I can get
You know?
get with that because like cheeses I like white and dry.
Yeah, like sharp cheese.
Yeah, sharp white and dry is
Yeah.
like okay, I get it. But
Right.
like maybe that's why I like the Woodinville you tried
I like
with
to
with-
me that runs circles around that Old Kirk. Just for me personally,
the.
the Woodinville.
Oh, okay.
I would take that Woodinville over the Old
Well,
Kirk.
I think that
personally.
like I think probably like my favorite would be this with a normal glass with like a half of a cube,
Hmm.
because the water I think
Mhm.
as you just get just a slight chill, and as you get the water, like it almost like helps meld those flavors together a little bit,
Okay.
and it changes it into almost even more desserty, I would say.
Interesting.
But like, because you mentioned how it was like boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
And now when I tried it neat
Mhm.
again, I was like, okay, I see what he's talking about.
See,
But last time we had it, I think we tried it neat and then with a little bit of ice, and it
Uh-huh.
kind of like helped like fuse
Mhm.
everything together. But like I said, but with Rise,
Mhm.
it turns like bitter and it tastes
Interesting.
gross. If I put
I
a
haven't
cube
played
to
with
it.
ice, so I don't in a long time. I mean,
I think it
can't
just
even
happened
tell
to
you.
me. We went down to Kentucky the one time, and somebody had. Oh, it was Tony. I think you brought that. It was the Wild Turkey rye,
The rare breed or
the rare breed.
101
yeah,
rye?
the rare breed.
Rare breed.
barrel proof.
That's good.
Oh,
That's good stuff, buddy. Like,
But like I noticed, I was like, oh, I tried it, and then I put an ice cube in. I was like, oh, this is gross. And then I tried it again with another rye, and I realized like ryes for whatever. For me, like
Interesting.
if I chill them or put a cube in them, it's like
I'll agree
It
with
turns
that. man.
bitter.
Yeah, we
It's
found the same
weird.
thing.
Really?
Yeah. Yep.
it was
it's
interesting.
still for me, and I know you're gonna laugh, but like if I'm gonna pick one bottle off this table, you know which
Oh,
one
it's
I'm
wood.
grabbing.
It's wood. I'm
Oh, you
surprised,
talked-
I'm surprised you didn't get the tattoo yet.
Yeah, you talked about it enough.
Ah,
Have you read the Willett story?
no, I don't know. That's
You should read it, man. I
Ooh.
think so. Like that pot still.
that's
That
Monarch.
that's
yeah.
It's
that,
different, isn't it?
that still that they did the pot still, and I think like the original one was. I feel like it was in somewhere in South America, and they tracked it down. And they bought it and brought it back so that they could
Really?
just
And see that I might have a bias there too, because like I'm biased towards a pot still. I love the mouthfeel you get from a pot still.
I figured as much.
What is
So,
that? What's
you
what's
get
the
a
pot still
creamy,
mean?
Yeah.
rich
Yeah.
mouthfeel off of a pot still. Like I love like a red breast, like a good red breast.
Yeah.
It's like uncut.
What your red breast? What's your?
12, yeah. I
Okay.
mean 12, like I just unchill filtered, uncut.
Now, would
is
you?
there-
You
Go
know?
ahead.
I would say, would you consider that you talk about that creamy? Would you consider that to be almost? Could you consider it like oily? Because
Yeah,
I've had
oh,
some
yeah.
that like.
Oh yeah.
See, I'm not a huge fan of that. I like the cleaner feel.
What's-
Fresher.
What?
Yeah,
Oily?
where it almost it sticks, and a lot of times you can see like some of them as you swirl them around. Like this one, I feel like
How are
is,
you? How are you tasting texture though?
so it stays.
Drink vegetable oil versus water. That's exaggerating, but like vegetable
Oh.
oil versus
So it
water.
kind- it
So
kind
when
of-
you
Because
think
that
about
what was the woody one that I had?
Toasted barrel?
Toasted barrel. I mean, I would call that if you're looking for like creamy. I guess smoky, creamy.
So, dude, I think you're thinking taste versus mouthfeel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So mouthfeel, like again, like imagine like olive oil in your
Mouthfeel
mouth.
now.
Like
Oh, yeah.
olive oil
Oh,
in your mouth versus water.
Yeah,
And-
but
and
how are you getting that? But how are you
proof
tasting?
point? Because the
Yep.
proof point, like the flavors, like the fats, the acids that are
Yeah.
in the actual
Yeah,
spirit.
It's a science, man.
Yeah,
if
well,
it's
like
a
the-
higher percentage of alcohol, that means they're not cutting it down. If you have a 94, they're adding water into the bottle to get that. Does that make sense?
Really?
Yeah. So like,
Huh.
this is barrel proof. That means they literally pulled it out of the barrel
Oh,
right into the bottle.
No shit.
Like 94, that means they're adding water to get it down to that.
Because
There's no way you can have 94 proof on every single offering you have unless you're adding
Oh
water.
yeah, no
I
shit.
always, I
Huh.
was always
Yeah.
maybe I was under the false assumption that it was the lower proofs were stuff that just got handled differently and the alcohol evaporated
Nope,
from
you're
it. So
adding
it
water.
lowered.
Yeah,
They literally just add water
You
to
got
it.
it. Distilled
Yeah.
water. So you're paying for
No
water.
shit.
That's why I mean barrel proof stuff is your
Diet.
best.
Well,
bang for your buck.
I enjoy like but I always thought it was like one of those things where like it just was handled not as carefully, so the alcohol would evaporate, and that's what
So the
lowered.
evaporation variance you're seeing is like, so that bottle's like 109.6 or something
Yeah.
like that, right? And like some of them will be 111 point something.
Right.
That's the evaporation
barrel.
variance.
But I didn't realize
But
they actually
94 to
add
110.
water.
Oh yeah.
Dude, what is the so I can't remember. I think it's every year the Angels take 3%.
I don't
think
know
is
what the
it is.
share is. Yeah,
I think
don't-
it's 3% is what evaporates every year. So like your overall yield, like it's decreasing like crazy.
That's why, like, if you see like a 25-year-old whiskey, it's
Oh,
like
yeah.
120 proof. I'm like, what was your barrel entry proof on that
Yeah.
thing? Like, there's no way.
Yeah, and on something like that, man, think about it. The guy who put that in the barrel, he'd never get to taste his third batch of that.
That's true. That's true.
What do you mean?
So
Because
if
the way it
it took
evaporated.
that many years to age,
Mm.
dude, he'd never get to try it.
Oh,
Like he might if he's lucky he gets 2
That's what
because you're probably not distilling until you're at least 20 or
that's the beauty. That's the beauty of that art
Oh, okay.
form to
Got
me.
it.
Like, what else do you like make art and you sit it in that barrel and you go, let's see,
Mhm.
Yeah, and
Well,
just like,
but I
20
think
years, like
they're making it like it's not like they're doing like, okay, this year we're doing this many, and then all right, you're laid off for 10 years.
no.
They're doing
No,
it
but-
every single
no,
day.
but- yeah, but
Different
what he's
offerings.
saying is by the time if you made it that if you were to make a 30-year bourbon.
Oh,
You get, like, how
well,
many
but
shots of that in
no,
your
but hold
life?
on, time
Yeah.
out though.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you just do next week's 30-year? It'd be a 30-year in 1 week.
Because they don't
You-
all get allocated to 30-year bourbon.
Yeah, because you have to sell some of it. You
You have
can't just start one year and make
And you're-
bourbon
you're
for 30
you're
years until you
usually
start
selling-
selling.
You're usually selling it once it's like that 4-year mark is when they otherwise you're sourcing it. So
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because who has the money to make a bunch of bourbon and then
And just
sit
sit
on
on
it for
it
30
forever.
30
years?
Yeah.
years.
Well, no,
Yeah.
you just make it every week. You do
Yeah.
you do this
No,
batch and then
yeah,
next
but,
week's batch.
but how do you get a 30-year bourbon?
yeah,
You don't touch it for 30
and in-
years.
In order
right.
to sell it, it takes a certain amount of time to at least get that 4 years. So that's
No, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
even,
then
even 4 years. Think about making something right now and say, well, in 4 years we get to see what it was like.
Yeah. So,
Even
so
4
yeah,
years.
so we just dumped $5 million into
Yeah.
something that isn't going to mature for 4
Yeah.
years.
So what Tony was
Wow.
saying is if a guy, like, obviously they're making a bunch of other stuff, but if someone's making an extended year bourbon,
15, 20 year.
then they can't have it until it's 20 years later. So if you're 20, the first time you
I
get to
know.
try your own
Yeah,
for
yeah.
20-year bourbons when you're 40.
Okay.
So
we're-
then if
yeah.
you
All
want
right,
to make
next.
another 20-year bourbon,
I know.
you're
All right.
60.
60.
So do you
then
get to
maybe
try
we'll
your
be
third
80,
barrel?
yeah.
Probably not. Like, so
Yeah,
that's
but
kinda
it's like
cool.
he didn't make a 10-year barrel and then say, "All right, I'm not going to make anything else for 10 more years."
No, but that's not what he's saying. He's
I
saying,
know.
But
The
you got to
art piece.
consider going back to what we were saying. The
art
sweet
piece.
spot.
yeah, if you're
Like,
making
you're-
a, if you're making a
Everybody has their
masterpiece.
sweetheart. You're like, this is
Got
my
it.
slam
Yeah, of course.
dunk.
Got
You're making a barrel. You're making them all the time.
I get it, but you're wanting to taste 3 different 10-year total aged barrels. You want to taste the difference between 10, 20, and 30 years.
Yeah, like, all right, I want to make a 20-year bourbon. So you made it, then you go, but I need to adjust because I'm letting it sit that long. I need to adjust this. You only get to make 2 barrels,
Dude,
maybe 3,
You get a couple
or
swings
2
here.
or 3 times.
Oh.
That's it.
in your life.
Yeah,
Why
so,
wouldn't you
Couple
just-
swings?
So it goes back to
Holy cow.
the mystique and the art of it, like Josh was saying.
Yeah,
That's scary. As an artist, that's terrifying
Yeah.
to me. Like,
I guess
you
what-
don't know the result.
what I would
That's what I'm saying,
do-
you don't get to see it, like because
Yeah.
a painter or somebody like they're creating it as
Yeah.
it.
Somebody's
But this is like you're putting it in a thing. You're like, well, we'll see what happens.
I guess the
constantly
thing-
people like they'll send me an email back like, what if we tweak this? I'm like, yeah, cool, and I could do that. But all I'm thinking of is like, what if I had to wait 20 years to
to
make
see the
another
results.
brush stroke?
Yeah,
That's crazy.
that's what he was talking about.
like Haley's comment.
You don't realize how much you don't realize what
Don't
you
get
did
me
good or
started on
bad.
that. I was looking up Hail Bop the other day
Oh yeah.
and when it's going to come around next because I think I saw it when I was a kid and I was like, that's actually slightly depressing to think that we'll never see it again. And Haley's Comet, maybe is that every 72
I have
years,
no idea.
74 years? Cass, look that up if you don't mind.
How Haley's comet frequency?
Yeah, I think it's like 72 or 74 or something like that. But
I'm
yeah,
more
Hail
cur-
Bop is like way longer than that. And I was
Oh,
like,
really?
man,
We dead.
yeah.
I'm more
easily
curious about when we go through the Kuiper Belt.
dead. Yeah.
Oh.
Is that like?
Wait, say it again.
I thought we were approaching that.
I thought we were too.
What the fuck are you talking about?
It's isn't it? Isn't
Better
it?
saddle up, brother.
Come on,
You
man.
don't know about the Kuiper Belt?
Here comes another post.
Dude, did Sasquatch real?
No.
Craig Naletti.
It's every 75, 76
It's
years
Haley's.
for
Okay.
Haley's Comet.
Yeah, the
When
Kuiper-
was the last time? Was it in the 70s or something? Or 80s?
You were
Yeah.
alive in the 70s?
And then we need to see our frequency we
Or
travel
was
to the
I,
Kuiper
Fred?
Belt. Stop it.
Dude, the Kuiper Belt though. Hold on, where is the Kuiper Belt? That's past. It's Pluto, right? Is in the Kuiper Belt.
Oh, that's the one out there. We travel through some kind of
Yeah, Kuiper
comet. Is that the?
Outside of our solar
Pluto's
system.
still a thing?
He's still a thing.
Yeah,
He's just not a planet.
Yeah, it's just not a
He
planet.
just
Sorry,
he just
Pluto.
demoted.
Yeah, he's got too much. Sorry, but
Got
there's
doxed.
something. I don't remember if it's Kuiper Belt
Doxed
or,
a planet.
yeah, or if there's like, was it every
Cancel it.
12 or 20,000 years we travel through some kind of weird comet field or something like that? Is that the one we're?
Okay,
I
it's
don't
not
know.
Kuiper. It's not Kuiper Belt.
The Kuiper Belt's the one on the outside of the
Yes,
the
Pluto.
Solar system.
the solar system. Thank you.
Pluto
That's-
is in the Kuiper Belt.
But there's another.
We got Cass.
There's another field that we travel. through.
1986. It will again return in 2061.
61.
all right. Hey,
40
did you guys know there's going to be a total solar
40
eclipse
years.
in Ohio in 2024?
That sounds about right.
Dude, you
How many-
ever seen a total?
I have.
How many minutes does that last?
It's only
It depends
it's
on
like
the
a-
path of totality where you're at.
yeah,
Okay.
but it's not much. It's only like usually like
It's like 11 minutes,
Is it that long?
dude. When it
The
came,
total eclipse or just the eclipse? I think the eclipse, the start from the finish.
no, the darkness.
I was thinking the same thing, Cass. The whole time.
Total eclipse. The total eclipse
I've
of
heard
the
you
heart.
can, I've
Total
heard seeing this, I'm
eclipse
like, you
of
think it's
heart.
just a cloudy like overpass or something? I've heard that. I don't know.
No, it's
No,
only.
it's-
I've never
it's pitch
seen one.
black.
I've never
Really?
seen. No, it's
Yeah.
not pitch black,
Dude,
It's
yes,
not.
I've been to one.
I've witnessed one myself as well.
Where? Where were you at?
Look up the last
Yeah.
one, Cass.
I remember
I
I,
just wanna
was
know
in
where we
elementary
at.
school, and I remember watching it.
I
through the
feel
little
like it got
lens.
real dark.
There
It
wasn't
get-
a total
it's
eclipse
not
when we
pitch
were
black because you can still see
That's
the
not
ring.
that's not a total eclipse. Dude, crickets came out. I was in Tennessee. I was right there.
I watched the videos.
The
I remember
crickets
seeing you.
came out.
The
It was
last
so
time a
dark.
total solar eclipse took place was February 26th of 1979.
In
No?
Ohio,
So we all need
or
to
just
not
in,
talk about it.
in general.
In Ohio? That sounds like
conversation
Ohio.
over.
I mean, I don't know what I witnessed then,
Just
but
put it-
Everyone's talking out their ass right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it wasn't. I don't.
You
I don't
ended
want to.
up-
What's a total? Well, what's a total solar
Okay.
eclipse then?
a total solar eclipse is where the Earth is completely in the shadow of
The moon. Right.
completely to the point to where there is a literal shadow that is cast onto the Earth,
Right.
which is the darkness.
Right. I get that.
Y'all, this is the last time a total eclipse was visible in Ohio was in 1806.
Ouch.
Ah,
Facts hurt.
April 8th of 2024, a total solar eclipse will cross America, sweeping northeast from Texas to Maine.
Touche.
Ohio is directly in the path of totality, the area where the total sun will be eclipsed.
I'm saying because there was a
So
total solar eclipse a
April
couple years ago
in
in
2
different
years.
places.
When did they say it's going to happen?
24.
Okay.
24.
April
If we
8th,
make it that far.
2024.
Over, I think
I'll
it's
put
going.
that on my calendar and
We'll
be
make it that
surprised when it shows up in a year and
I
a
We'll
think
make it that
it's-
far if Russia decides to not invade Ukraine and we go to nuclear warfare or something ridiculous. Maybe.
Bro.
You know, so like, all right.
I touched the button.
Okay.
Cool.
No.
All right.
No, please.
So I constantly try to like, because I always like, I feel like, okay, the world's going to hell in a handbasket. I constantly
day.
feel now. I try to step back for a second. And I say, okay, does every generation feel like the world is going to hell in a handbasket? Right. So I try to
I
analyze that.
just had this conversation a week ago.
Okay. All right.
I love it. I love it.
I don't
Like,
mean to
give it-
rerun that.
No,
stuff.
no,
No,
no.
it's one
Rerun.
more.
Give me your.
So
what
no,
you're
I mean
thinking.
like I try to constantly compare like A to B or whatever, and it's really hard because everything is obviously perspective on your like individual life and stuff like that. But I don't know. What do you think? Like, is the world like in a more trepidatious place than it was for the previous generations, or are we just? Is it just more like publicized because we can do this right now, right? Like,
Yeah.
is that why, or is it literally like are our children in trouble?
So I will add on to yours, and I can let Chad respond because I don't know if you've heard this yet. That was kind of my thing was, and I got down. I think Tony helped me get my brain to the spot where I was okay.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe this is it. Maybe what I'm thinking is because that's kind of how I felt, and I was like,
Mhm.
maybe it's just because I'm paying attention more,
Mhm.
and I realized what's going on. But I think what I settled with was, do we think? I feel like really we are within a 5-year window of being in a place that is a monumental time in history that we could be there. I don't think we're there yet. I think we're in a spot where like, hey, you remember when like we kind of got this whole COVID thing a little weird because we didn't know what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
It got a little wild there for a bit, but we turned out okay. But I think some of the things, the paths that we're on, we have like a 5-year window that we could get real weird.
I mean, like.
And I think that's where my mind is like realizing.
I guess
it's
the
like,
first thing I could go back to is like, okay, are we like Cold War point? Like, because that was pretty darn close too, right? Cold War. I mean, realistically, that was pretty darn close. Like, are we there?
Yeah, but I think we're in a new Cold War with internet.
I feel like it's more like
It's like I don't know what you call
sociological Cold
Yeah.
War than anything. Like, I fear for our kids more like in terms of like how like what's the next. I kind of sound like an old man, like in terms of like
Yeah.
the next
You are.
generation, but like.
Get off my grass.
I mean, you are. Like, no, like, what kind of kids are we raising? That's my biggest concern.
Yeah.
Like,
Shitheads.
because, dude, like,
that.
imagine, like, right now, hit the pause button. We need, 1944, 1945 generation right now. Tomorrow. You're getting on boats. Tomorrow. Like, we're in trouble.
Yeah. But at the same time, I will play devil's advocate.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that same generation, they did a lot of really good things, but I don't think they necessarily. I think they did a lot of really bad things too. Like maybe being willing to just jump in front of a car for your country
Mm-hmm,
isn't always such a good thing.
mm-hmm.
Because the more we know now, and we realize, like you look at things like Operation, like I bring this up a lot, but it's just it's such a blatant example, like
Mhm.
Operation Northwoods. I don't know if you're.
Mm-mm.
So it was the government basically pitched to John Kennedy
Mhm.
that they were going to pretend like Cuba was attacking the United States,
Mm.
shoot down a commercial airliner, like arm opposing like armies with weapons so they could like like so it was basically it was a false flag operation that the government was planning, and
Gotcha.
Kennedy was like, yeah, no, I'm not doing this.
Yeah, sure.
You know, so with the knowledge that like our government is capable of thinking of these things, so like how much like of these things have happened that we just never knew about.
A lot.
So
I
how
would say,
much,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
when you like now it's like because of the age of the internet and social media where there's a lot of ridiculous stuff out there that we don't need to be ingesting,
Sure.
but because of our interconnectability, I don't know if that's
Sure.
a word.
Yeah, I gotcha.
It is now.
I'm on the
Yeah.
same trip. I'm on
Yeah.
the same trip.
It's a
You know what I mean?
neologism.
Send
Like,
it.
because of that, like maybe we're seeing a lot more than we're seeing a lot more of the exact same thing that's always been happening. We're just more privy to it.
Yeah. I mean, you know, like tangent, but so like we're in the age of information right now. And it is such a double-edged sword though, because it's the age
Yeah.
of disinformation
Yeah.
too. So like I feel like it almost works out in the wash and at that end of thing, you know, in terms of like what we gain and what we lose. Because like right now, try to find accurate numbers of COVID studies. Like good.
Yeah, it depends on what you're
luck.
looking for.
What
Like, there's-
perspective are you coming from? What are you
What
counting
type
as
of parameters
vaccinated?
are we talking?
What is
Are you on
vaccinated?
DuckDuckGo or Google?
Yeah, exactly. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it just so like that's really hard. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Realistically, I feel like we're like in some ways not any better off finding the actual information than we were 40 years ago because who's influencing the information that you're looking at?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's just rough.
So I think
So-
we can find the information. We just don't know if it's true. Or not.
Exactly. Well, that's
So
well, the
we
problem
may-
That's the question
still-
Cassie's been
the
asking for
problem
2
is
years.
still there.
Yeah.
Well, in some ways, maybe not. For example, like a COVID study, not to jump on the, and I'm not swinging on either side's
No,
defense
it's just
on
an
this.
easy topic
It's
to
an easy
discuss
topic.
because it's so
For
convoluted and so
example,
confusing.
So, like, I see constant stuff coming out with studies of terms of like the amount of people that are hospitalized with COVID that are vaccinated
versus
or
unvaccinated.
not vaccinated.
Right.
Well, that sounds great on face value.
But what's
But
vaccinated
then when you
mean?
really analyze that, what is vaccinated? Well, if anybody that doesn't have the absolute most cutting edge booster is not vaccinated, well, now these numbers are just completely
Right. And also, what if they
whacked.
were just hospitalized and they were just happened to be tested and they had COVID?
Mhm.
Does that mean that they're hospitalized with COVID? And how are they vaccinated or
Yeah,
not? You
so
know,
you-
there's so many different layers.
Yeah, so you can
Yeah.
see how quickly information becomes pointless.
Yeah.
It's just we're in no better spot, you know. So that makes me wonder, you know what I mean, in terms of just from a sociological standpoint, like
Yeah.
where our kids are headed. And I get what you're saying in terms of like the generation of 1945 or 1944. Like that's a good one to bring up just because of what they did. And I get like the idea of not just blindly following that, but I'm saying more of like just creature comforts. You're talking about like taking cold showers and stuff like that. It's so easy to take for granted how we live nowadays and how
That's for sure.
I don't want to use the word soft, but for soft, we've gotten like,
Oh, yeah.
I spoke
no,
to somebody.
we're super soft.
I spoke to somebody.
super soft
yeah,
birthday parties.
Super, yeah.
I spoke to somebody like a couple weeks ago, and they grew up in Mexico. No power, right? Nothing. It was a 3-hour walk to the nearest grocery store or anything that resembled
Right.
a grocery store, and then they had to walk 3 hours back to their home. And I'm just thinking, I mean, I need to shut up anytime I get angry and I don't get heated seats in a car I want or something. You know what I mean? Like, holy crap!
Yeah.
You
No,
know,
I'm on board with you there.
yeah, so
for
like
sure.
fundamentally, how do we like instill our next we always want our next generation to live better than we do, but you always have to walk that balance of that. It's that old argument of good times create soft men and hard times create great men. That balance.
Yeah. Because what's better? Like, because I've looked at that too. Because, excuse me. It really comes to light when you're looking at raising kids
Mm-hmm.
and raising the next generation.
Yep.
Because I think that's a parent's responsibility
Mm-hmm.
is not only to provide their child with the opportunity of a better life than they had,
Mhm.
but give them the tools and the skills and the artificial hardship, if necessary,
Mhm.
to balance them out. Because giving your kid a better life, all right, let's qualify that. What's that mean? Well, does that just mean more money? Does that mean more opportunities? But what about if you're not emotionally supporting them properly, or if you're not preparing them for bad things? Like, you're not preparing them for when the electricity goes out and they freak out because they can't charge their phone and they can't connect to Wi-Fi and they can't get on Instagram. When I flip this light switch, how am I supposed to warm up my
Hot
instant
pocket.
mac and cheese?
Yeah.
Like if you can't prepare for that, like, are you really giving your kid a better life? No, you're handicapping them.
Yep.
So like, I think that's the parents is to be able to balance that. Like, all right, like I want to give you more opportunities that I had, but at the same time, how do I make you work for them and earn
How
them?
do you earn it? Yeah.
Because if you don't earn it,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't mean anything to you.
Yeah.
Given your first car or bought it,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you're going to treat that car you were given like crap. Wrap around a telephone pole. If you buy the car, you
Maybe not
Are
even
you
necessarily.
wait a second though. I mean, like, let's back up though. Like, is there a way to do that though? Trust me, I'm not necessarily I'm not the handout guy. Trust me when I say this. But so, like, for example, I was given my first car. I did not treat it like crap though either.
Well,
Like,
it's 'cause I think it's
so-
because you were treated like you were given the responsibility. Well, your parents have taught you responsibility. Basically.
Yeah. So does it boil down to other? I mean, instantly
well, that too. I think it's multi-factor. Right?
Yeah, we go to certain things in terms of like, the kid was given his first car. How do we boil that down to what are we instilling? What are you actually giving the kid to make this trajectory work?
Oh, you're just
Yeah.
handing. Well, I would say there's different ways to do this. You could, in your situation, your parents taught you other skills earlier on in life, which was be grateful for what's given to you and take care of it. My parents taught me that too, but a lot of kids, they're not taught that. So when they work for something, it's like, oh, I bought this Xbox, I bought it. Well, when your friend throws you the controller, you're like, dude, I bought that
I had to
controller.
work for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if your parents
Mhm.
bought it, who cares? It's your parents' controller.
But so there's,
you know.
I think this is where the two things converge. Is I'm not against parents giving their children things,
Mhm.
but I am against parents not instilling the value of the things that the
Mhm.
kids
That's
have
what it
in
is,
them.
yeah.
Because
Mhm.
I mean,
Mhm.
I wasn't given shit when I was a kid. I'm sure there's a couple things that I got that were cool, but like I bought a Bronco 2 right when I turned 16
That's
for
pretty wicked.
$300.
Cool.
I
Yeah.
didn't know you had one of
That's
those.
cool.
I did.
Yeah, that's cool.
I blew the head, like I literally blew oil out of the engine twice
Wow.
before I had to like get it. I didn't tow it. The Worcester Police Department thankfully towed it for me. Not really.
You told this story, didn't you?
And maybe
Yeah.
I had to.
He did.
Yeah. So like, long story short, like it happened once before, but like it would overheat and just blow oil out the whole engine. So it would stop. But once it cooled down, I realized it ran again. So like I just kept on driving it. Well, I did that one day and like I couldn't get it quite pushed across the road and it was like real close to the white line. I walked like 3 miles to school and then I get a note that afternoon, like from the office that the police department has towed my vehicle because it was sticking out into the road. I'm like, well, that's cool. It cost me, I think $75 to get it out of impound. And I towed it to a junkyard and they gave me $50 for it. And I'm like, son of a bitch. But
yeah.
like I'm not against, parents paying for college or parents buying the car, but are you instilling with that gift that, hey, you're responsible for this now. And when if you wrap this thing around a telephone pole,
Mhm.
I'm not doing it again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
that's the, like,
it all starts with toddlers, though, doesn't it?
oh yeah.
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 I don't know. Hopefully not, because I fucked up a lot.
No, you're going to, but it's about consistency.
Yeah,
It's them because they'll test.
Yeah.
I don't know if I ever told the story on the podcast, but I've told the story a lot. When our daughter was, she had maybe like 2 or 3, like barely walking, not really verbal, like coherently.
God, I hope she wasn't 3 for that.
I don't know, but
Let's
she
be
was
serious.
walking.
They're tiny little drunk people from another tribe.
Yes,
That's
yes,
what they
like
are.
she could repeat words, but not like coherently, like form any type
Oh,
of
yeah.
like
Yeah.
whatever.
Mhm.
But I remember she was real little, and we had this bigger TV at the time. I thought and it was like that was like the most expensive thing in our house that we had. And I think that was the one, like she got it for me for my birthday one year. It was like the leg lamp from Christmas
Oh,
Story.
yeah.
Like that was like my thing, And then
Must
like
be Italian.
yeah, fragile. What was it, French or something?
Kyrie says that all the
Yeah,
time.
she does. But like she's standing there looking at me and like, or no, she went to like reach up and like, cause she had like drawn on it with a crayon at one point. And I'm like, hey, like we don't touch that. And she like ran up to like touch it. I'm like, no. So she turns around and looks at me and I'm like sitting in a chair, like, and her back's to the TV. And, so she's standing there staring at me in the like eye contact, hardcore. And then she takes her hand, she like raises it and starts reaching behind her, like to touch the TV. Like, well, if like if I'm looking at like he can't tell that I'm like, oh, like it started. like this can't even talk. This little thing in my living room can't even talk, and it's already testing.
She's effing with you.
Yeah, she's already like testing like my ability to like what can I see? How much can he control me? And I'm like, at that point, it was like,
Did you see the tumbleweed roll across the floor?
it was like, whoa, yeah, it was, and I was like, I was like, no, and she like you can see in her head going, I'm not sure what's going on right now, but he can see me through some kind of magic. Like it was like
crossroads of life.
yeah, when you realize that like you have this thing that you're raising that's just
Those moments are important though, aren't they? Like,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
and that's
Real
that's the
important.
rough part is like when you do one of those and you pass it and you go, I screwed that up.
Oh, dude,
Like-
when you yell at the kid or spank their butt, yeah. And
All
you're
the time.
like, uh-oh, that sucked. My kid told me about a spanking last night or the night before? Last night she got all pissy, and I was gonna get upset with her, and I was like, oh yeah, I fucked that up last time. All right, I'm not gonna get upset. So I was sitting there, and then she started getting all worked up, crying. I'm like, what are you crying for, honey? And I said, listen, we just don't do that, or whatever she was doing, or we need to eat. And she recalled the last time that I did not control my upsetness and was a little bit more stern with her. And she started freaking out because she freaked out the last time. I was like, oh, dude. I was like, crap. Hopefully she didn't. I was hoping she didn't remember that, It just sucks as a parent.
yeah, they do. I mean, they remember things, but also especially when
I
they're
gotta try
younger,
that.
like before. That's I haven't tried this. It might be a heater.
I think he tried it.
I think you get to a
What's
certain.
after this?
What's the earliest thing you ever remember? Like if you were like confidently, not like
Yeah.
oh,
So,
I remember this. But
My
'cause-
mom will debate this to the grave. Okay. So the first thing I remember, she swears this is before I would have ever remembered this, but I was young and I don't know, like 4 maybe.
That's really young.
Dude. So
I call bullshit on you too.
I was in the bathroom. I'm telling you, I remember the taste in my mouth.
So
So and this is how you know it's a legit memory. So, like, I was in the bathroom and bath time, right? And for whatever reason, I was probably doing something stupid. I don't remember the story. I was probably being roughhoused or something. But I slipped, and my teeth, the top front of my teeth, hit the edge of the bath. It was one of those just regular tub showers. Hit the top, like the first edge of the tub, and it shoved my teeth back up into my head. They were coming out. I remember that vividly, like my teeth
It sounds
being
traumatic.
knocked back into my head, and the taste of that irony blood in my mouth. And I was young. She swears there's no way I could have remembered that, but how would I have that recollection?
Yeah, I mean, so here we go. Another time, my mind has changed during the show. I always call bullshit anyway. That's like 5 or 6.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
okay,
sure.
maybe.
I hear you.
But I just, as you're telling that story, I remember when I had to be well before 6 because of the setting I was in. My dad had this old truck, and I had my hand on the A-pillar as I got in it, and the door like closed, and fingers. And then it wasn't like the newer cars now where you can just like bend the frame. It was like an old. And I remember, and then after that, subsequently, I remember that, and I remember like that numb, like throbbing pain. And then after that, having my hand, like I remember them getting like a bucket of ice and just shoving. I was sitting on the kitchen counter with my hand in a bucket of
That's
ice.
a traumatic event. I could see that being possible. I don't know. I could see it being possible. I don't remember anything else around that. So
It is weird though. So, but saying that, like, kids remember their like medium term memory is really good.
Yep.
yeah.
Like, especially at that age where they're like, I remember that when you were 3. How do you remember that? I
Dude.
remember this. Like, but then like usually by the time they get like, as they're getting older, those things kind of fall by the wayside unless they're apparently super traumatic.
So my daughter's 3, okay, and we were at vacation this summer, and we were playing in the pool or whatnot. And I'm like, I have my hand under her belly or whatnot, and we're kind of doing circles, the standard,
right.
And I'm just doing it, and I pushed a little too hard, and she kind of tipped forward a bit, and her face went underwater for a second, got a mouthful of water, came out, Daddy pushed too hard, and I apologized to her.
Daddy tried to drown you.
Dude, she brings this up constantly. The other day, I was like zipping up her coat, and my hand slipped off of the zipper, and I bumped her in the chin. And she goes, "Daddy, you pushed me too hard on vacation."
Yeah.
She goes, "It was an accident, though. It's okay." I was like, "Yeah, I'm sorry, honey."
Yeah. But now I feel just as bad.
Yeah.
Jeez, what
Just-
did I do to this kid?
Yeah,
Like,
I'm glad you're not the only one. Then.
Yeah.
Like, we the same thing
so
all
like
the time.
3. You're
Yeah,
talking about that median memory thing.
yeah.
I think it's also are really good at thinking they were there when they hear a story being told.
There's
Uh-huh.
definitely some of that too.
And it's like there are
Oh.
stories that have been told that I swear I was there.
Seasoned.
Oh,
Nothing.
Good.
you good? And I there's no
Thought
way
I
I
had it.
remembered it, but it's
It feels like you
I
do.
feel like I've heard that story and I just fill in gaps. And Kyrie does that. And it's like,
Mm.
no, that never happened. Or like you heard that
Yeah,
completely
you weren't
different.
there.
And she will swear and it's like you were 3. There's
Mhm.
no like
Mm-hmm.
you just heard that happened and that was wrong,
Mm-hmm.
but she swears that it
I wonder.
has happened.
I wonder how that works because I've heard that a lot with like crime scenes and investigations and stuff where like eyewitnesses aren't really all that dependable as much as they
Oh.
think they are.
You know,
Because
But
the brain, man.
yeah, and
crazy
as
thing.
much as I'll go ahead and admit it, I don't have a whole lot of like I can't think of any time that somebody has said or where I've said like this is what happened and
Mhm.
someone was like that's not what happened. Like there's things that I
They
feel like I
don't.
either don't
What-
remember it at all
Mhm.
because I'll forget a lot of things.
Mhm.
But I wonder how like the difference and if there is any type of difference between like different people and how their brain works that
Corey.
yeah, he's definitely he likes to tell stories that did not happen. There's time we used to give him shit all the time. The guy, him, like so.
Love you, brother.
Yeah, I love him. I love him to death too. But I used to joke with him and because we used to work on a crew together. So it
Yeah.
was me, Corey, and this other guy.
We need to
And-
get on I want to be on podcast with Corey sometime too.
Oh yeah, we'll absolutely make it
yeah.
happen. That'd be a great time. But like me and this other guy used to make fun of Corey. We're like, we're gonna make you a book of sayings and lyrics,
Yeah.
so you actually remember how they're supposed to go. Because he would mess up lyrics, he'd mess up stories. Like there'd be
Yeah.
times where he'd be telling a story, and like him and this guy, like we were there when it happened. We both look at each other, and we're like. Mm-mm. Yeah, we're like, yeah, Corey, that's not how it happened. And then next time he'd tell it differently,
Yeah.
and
Huh.
he doesn't do it like maliciously.
Yeah, no. The
You know what I mean?
brain-
Like, but
the
I wonder
brain
how
is-
much of that, like, because some things,
Yeah.
like, sometimes he adds a little spice to it, you know, which
It's all
I
good.
get.
It's all good.
So-
It's all good.
How much of that do you think got passed along through our history of events that
The
actually
storytelling?
happened versus
Yeah.
the telephone game?
Oof.
I mean, the brain
Mm.
is a super powerful thing. You know what I mean? In terms of like, you're talking about like, did you actually experience that? Or at least I think that's what you were hinting on is did you actually experience that? Or did you hear the stories and then your brain kind of just assimilated that
Formulated it for
into
you.
a story that you feel was real? Like, and I totally count the fact that that could be the case, but man, oh man, does it feel real.
Yeah, I wonder how much of that, too, like, they talk about, like, psychologists and, like, hypnotists and,
Yeah.
like, being able to,
Bring those memories back out.
Mhm.
yeah, not only that, but then being able to add memories in, because I've heard that's a thing, too.
Oh,
Manchurian
It's a
candidate.
plant.
Yeah, you can, like, implant, like, memories and, like, thought processes and stuff in
What's that
people.
movie?
And
Inception. Now we're into Inception.
yeah, well, actually, we'll say at the same
Oh,
time, have you
yeah,
ever,
yeah.
I've thrown this around. Have you ever watched the show Hannibal? It was a TV show that they
No.
did.
Yeah.
It's really good. I think it was like
I
it
like
was in-
Mads. I should have watched. I like the
It-
actor, but
yeah, I think it.
We're talking
Yeah.
about Mats, yeah.
So you, I didn't even know who it was, but he is a good.
No.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's a real mind twist. Like, and I even like because there's only 3. I think there's 3 seasons. They want to try to do another one, but I think it was like 2016 it came out or something like that. But like, it's obviously he's a psychologist,
Mhm.
and I told people like I didn't realize what I was watching until I started the second season. Like until the whole first season was over,
Mhm.
it was like, oh, like
Yeah.
the mind is such an incredible thing. And when they play with it well, it's like, I don't know.
That's the hard part about the whole those like near death experience things for people, because like, and I don't want to stomp on anybody's
I don't know.
belief system, anything. That's not my point. I'm just saying like we know how powerful the mind is, and like say you have a near death experience, like that you're bleeding out or you're unconscious or whatever, like your mind can formulate some crazy things in your head. You know what I mean? So it's like it's hard to tell.
yeah, I've known people that tell
They call
stories.
it the God model for a reason.
Yeah.
There was a study I saw. They were talking about people that had out of body experiences like right before they died, and in order to prove this that they actually weren't outside of their bodies, they would specifically they would have like a ledge in a room, and they would have very distinct like symbols on top of these ledges that you couldn't see unless you were up there. And so what they would do is that when the person said, "Oh my gosh, I just had an out of body experience. I just almost died."
What was on the ledge?
What was on the ledge? What'd you see?
Did anybody see it?
Yeah. Well, yes.
Ooh,
That's
okay.
crazy.
Yeah.
That is interesting.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
I'd be interested in
It
seeing
wasn't.
that.
It wasn't all everybody that
Sure,
that
but
reported.
some-
But yeah,
enough-
some
enough
But
people.
people
even
saw
if
it that it
one
was
or two
measurable.
people guess it,
I'd be
even if they
freaking
guess
Yeah, I
it
saw a
right,
giant
okay.
fucking Elmo. Is what it was. Like it was an Elmo, or like there was a.
Elf on a shelf.
Yeah, something like that, but you couldn't see. But like if you were above it, you go, "Oh my gosh, what's that?" Like
That's
some
interesting.
symbol, and they would get it right a lot of the times.
I think there's something too. I think there's when I first heard the idea of a fourth dimension like brought up.
Well, what's the fourth dimension?
It's just the idea of it. I don't know. I'm
We're
not saying
getting there. Keep drinking.
Yeah.
I know, what's
Yeah.
next?
No, I'm not.
Hold on.
I'm not saying there's anything definitive about it, but just the idea of a fourth dimension. I've heard people from like Neil deGrasse Tyson, Eric Weinstein, different.
Isn't it
types-
time?
Weinstein or Weinstein?
Weinstein.
Weinstein. Damn it, Weinstein.
I don't think he's watching the podcast. It's okay.
No, it's fine. But I still want to reference him properly.
True.
I don't want to get him.
If you see this, we're
lumped
sorry.
in.
It's Weinstein. Einstein Weinstein.
Yeah, and yeah, because it's Harvey Weinstein. God damn it, Tony! I said it right.
Oh, I'm just messing with you.
And I say
No,
it
you're
wrong
not. You
all
son
the
of a bitch.
time.
Right off a
Weinstein.
cliff, right off a
Weinstein.
cliff.
not-
you son
it's the opposite of that Harvey fuck. But either way, I've heard them talk about like, it's the best way of, I think maybe Neil deGrasse Tyson described it this way, is thinking about, you have to take a little bit of space here, a little bit of flexibility here. Think about an ant as a two-dimensional animal. If you put an ant on the table, it doesn't recognize what's on the shelves around the room, right? Because it just doesn't know it. It doesn't know it's there because it's just way outside of its scope of understanding and knowledge.
So if you can get to the point of 3D,
So if we are 3D and we understand what's on the shelves in the room, if we're just going to call that next one the fourth dimension, what is around us that we just aren't capable of understanding and recognizing that's there? And that ties into a lot of the near-death experiences, DMT trips, hallucinogens,
Yeah.
all those things that, like, maybe there's something here that we just don't understand. And then you tie that in with scientific type dark matter,
Mhm.
antimatter, these things that scientists say, hey, we know this is here.
Mhm.
We don't know how to explain it or what it is, but
Mhm.
we know it exists because this shows us something's here, but we just don't know what it is.
Yeah.
So if you take all of that and just mash it all up and together, like, what are we missing that we just don't realize is?
I think it's space and time, man. Like the warp speed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you can go from one galaxy to another, and it's just time, and you can move throughout time. I think that's it.
So all I heard from that was heroic dose. All four of us.
Well, I think we've talked about
John's like,
this.
I'm not so sure. I'll stick to my
Yeah, I already said like,
I know
Stick to my
you're
scotch.
full send.
yeah,
I know you're full send.
without saying what that is, because my company does
I
test
know.
for that.
I know.
Really? Yeah. Oh yeah.
Do they?
They don't test for the stuff I was showing you earlier. But
Yeah. That's
Yeah, so
interesting.
it's-
yeah.
But what's here that we don't realize? I don't know. It's interesting.
There could be somebody chilling right there just listening to our bullshit.
Unknown? I don't know.
I don't know.
That's where I will take this all the way and say, if Bigfoot is real, he is an interdimensional being.
I don't know about that.
And his name is Craig Noletti.
Did you know that there was actually Bigfoot signs? There was a Bigfoot statue outside at Pikes Peak.
Yeah.
Yeah, like right outside the gift store. There's a Sasquatch, and I saw that. I was like, "What the hell? Why is there a Sasquatch carving out of wood?" And there was a sign, a literal Sasquatch sign from the government. So the government has a Sasquatch sign, not just some jackass put it up. It says, "Caution: Sasquatch crossing." Or Sasquatch sightings in the area, and then below it said, "People have actually seen it, so we had to put up a sign."
Huh.
It was the wildest damn thing I've ever seen.
You hear accounts that people see things.
Bro, is this
and-
before or after your heroic dose?
No, this was halfway up the mountain. Didn't actually find any of that out there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the guys from the Invisible Ships podcast that we've had on before, they went out down to that. Was it Salt? What lake is it down in Ohio? It's northeast, isn't it? Northeast.
Salt
North-
Fork
sorry,
or Clendenning? or-
Salt Fork. Sorry.
Salt Fork.
Salt
okay.
Fork's east,
way out
dude.
there, southeast. Southeast.
No, Salt Fork's like just straight east.
Well, from
Oh,
who?
from you. Oh, yeah. It's
yeah, so it's southeastern
Sorry,
Ohio.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
Not
It's
really.
Eastern, well,
It's east from
Eastern
me.
Ohio.
Yeah.
Whatever.
You're north.
Either way.
We're north.
But they had someone on their show that was out in that area and said that they like saw was a UFO or Bigfoot or something like that.
Well,
And then-
so if you go to Salt Fork State Park, there is a they have all kinds of Sasquatch memorabilia there. So
oh, maybe it's probably a Bigfoot thing then.
yeah,
They didn't see anything.
Is there a government Squatch sign down there?
there is not. No, but the Pikes Peak one was very interesting. I was like, that's really a sign that they're going to put out there, like legitimate.
Did you see a Squatch when you were
No.
out there? No, nothing.
No, just I saw some elk. We actually saw a baby elk.
Did
which
you
is
really?
Interesting.
Oh, that's super cool.
Yeah,
Cass, is there a name for a baby elk?
baby elk.
Yeah, what are they
Oh,
called? Are they
Calf.
Probably a
are they
calf.
calf?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Is it?
Then we
It might
saw
be
there's
Deuce.
something
Yeah, is
super
it?
specific.
He knows. He's like Josh's like, yeah.
we saw a
it's
moose
calf.
and an
Don't
elk.
even look it up. I know it. It's a calf. Okay.
That sounds right.
Yeah, no, there's some weird stuff out there, man. Not just Squatch.
I feel like that's the start of a whole nother podcast.
Yeah, we don't necessarily need to get into that.
Yeah,
We
that's
could.
a deep dive.
3
Yeah.
more hours, yeah.
Yeah.
Nail that thing.
I don't know. I've always had a hard time with. There's some
Yeah.
things that like I find myself extremely skeptical, but I find myself creating like not creating, but being able to connect like weird dots and going, okay, maybe like the whole like aliens thing or something. Like I can't. The Bigfoot thing's just too much for me because it's like man, like
Got some bones by now.
It's another species that's
Something.
rolling around. I mean,
yeah, but we just like nobody has really had any kind of like good proof of it.
There'll be
Like
some medical evidence, but it's,
Yeah,
I don't
like-
know. Yeah. I don't rule anything out, but
yeah, it's like that's what I'm thinking. Like maybe, but like the UFO thing makes more sense because to me like that no, but there's no evidence
yeah.
because well obviously like they have technology that we don't understand, so of course they
You
would
could
be able to
visit-
outsmart us.
You could visit an ant mound and not leave any evidence. So I mean,
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But just some dumb like Australopithecus or whatever they
Yeah.
say, like
look at this. Look at it.
maybe he's an alien. Maybe he's an interdimensional being that
Right.
he's like
Did you just get some barrel proof?
no, I just got a big old drink.
yeah. I mean you can pour some out. You can share some of these.
So,
Want to share some?
Yeah, here you can pour some.
Holy
Which
shit,
one's that one?
Tony.
Is this the another barrel? This is the C 921. Is that what this one was, Tony?
that was a baby pork.
Is this the
Come
C one?
on. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me know what you think.
I haven't tried that one.
I don't know.
Rocket fuel.
Yeah, it's
I don't think it's that hot for what it is.
it's only 120, right?
Yeah. Only
I don't think
120.
it's that hot.
It doesn't-
But
There's minimal skyrockets in flight and afternoon delights.
it's just those two notes. I don't know. Throw me off.
Oh, it's not too bad.
I don't know.
There it is. Rolled in quick. Could be something else rolling in.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of it. It's very ethanol-y at the end, like the taste,
Yeah.
even at the end.
It just kind of swoops in.
Like ethanol in and of itself doesn't turn me off
No.
necessarily. I can see past that. It's not.
But
really that-
there's nothing else. There wasn't a whole lot there at the end for me.
Mhm.
It was just kind of very alcohol-y. Which I honestly
Is
I
it a
thought,
bad bottle? I don't know.
So
it's not
when I first cracked it, I enjoyed it way more.
Really.
Yeah, I cracked it when I was down in Nashville,
Mhm.
and I was very impressed with it.
Yeah.
yeah, because I had a
So
barrel proof
now
that
it's-
was what
it's okay,
125 earlier.
To not have had barrel proofs that I enjoyed far
Yeah.
more than that. So
Yeah.
That
I
was
figured I was
interesting.
like, hey, if you love it, and hey, have at it, because I don't want to take that from somebody. But
it's all good.
Yeah, I think some of those other ones that were even higher proof.
I like the 135 the best. So I don't remember which one that was.
I like that oak one, man.
Well,
yeah, I think,
toasted barrel.
Get some more.
The
Man. Get
toasted barrel, yeah.
What?
So
So
that in my glass and get you some toasted barrel.
that's
You
fine.
drink what you like.
yeah.
All
Don't
right.
drink
Yeah.
it if you don't like it.
Well, you kept nodding to like. So we've drank a ton of these. I think we've all drank the similar ones. Why don't we get the ones that we've drank off the table,
Oh, good luck.
or just move them?
I don't know.
Because I want to make
That'd
sure.
be like a bourbon game of memory.
I was
Yeah,
gonna
right.
say
no, I know which
These
ones.
ones
I'm
are
No,
talking
I
definitely-
think I could probably do it too.
I only did 3 of the small batches, and I just jumped to the.
I
He
was
like,
right
"Give
there
me
with
the
you. I
good
was like,
stuff."
give me some flavor.
Yeah.
Old
I haven't
Kirk.
had these
We
ones.
tried Old Kirk.
Yeah.
I think we all tried this one too. The Willet.
I'll
put this
Yeah,
over
just
by
put
you.
that footage, Josh.
There you go.
Yeah,
Just put
you
that
can
front
just
of
take. just
Hold on to that one.
That's
If
this
it
one.
disappears, we don't know who did it.
Hey, buddy, I'm well stocked. He knew ahead of time. He's
Just saying.
That's honestly, you can have it. I mean, it's good, but I wouldn't. It's like a like if there's mushrooms, like mushrooms on something, or if there's like a side of like mushrooms or
How
something.
about olives?
No, olives you can get right. You can get right the fuck off.
Oh.
I can't do olives, but like mushrooms are like fried mushrooms. You're like, oh, like do you like no? I'll save them for somebody who really likes them. I'll eat them, but you know, but olives you can definitely back off. I've told times.
Did you just compare my willet to mushrooms?
No. Well, yeah.
Yes.
I think you just did.
Yeah, but only not because I didn't enjoy it, but because I know how much you enjoy it, and I am being conscious of your likes and your.
Wait, you don't like mushrooms?
Is that what you appreciate about, Josh?
Yeah, I don't dislike them.
Oh,
I tell you what, I like that willet a lot more than I like mushrooms. I'll tell you that.
really?
Yeah,
Mushrooms
but
are good.
I can tell that you like it more than I do. So why would I?
You're like
take
smashing the ice cream cone in his face. You're like,
That's
fuck
all
you.
right.
No, it's me.
Hey.
I get it.
It's the whole idea of more for you.
Yeah.
'Cause why would I
could-
drink
You
it?
could
Like-
smash that willet ice cream cone in my face all day, brother.
Yeah,
I'm good.
yeah.
Your
Why would
dog
I
looks
take it if I
really
know you're
interesting,
gonna
actually.
No,
Will it
none of
infused
that.
ice cream?
Yeah. I'm all good.
Ooh,
You may be onto something.
I'm all good.
maybe. I
It'd
don't
melt,
know.
man.
Maybe.
That's the interesting thing too, because you can come back to it like, I don't know, 5 years, and you're gonna like something completely different too. Like profile wise, like your palate changes in terms of what you like.
So what happened? We tried a bunch of Elijah Craig. We tried the fancy one there.
There's some small batches we haven't hit. I know that.
There's a lot of everything.
Oh, you're talking about
Yeah.
yeah, there was a few that we
Yeah,
haven't
there's some
tried.
small batches.
I think we
haven't
tried a
hit.
ton though.
We hit the big stuff, and we hit the big
Yeah.
Yeah.
differences. Yeah.
Dude,
It's
my
all-
favorite was the barrel proof ones on the Elijah Craig, and then
No, I,
the,
think
Toasted?
I think your favorite one was the toasted.
Toasted
You really
one,
like
yeah.
the toasted
Yeah,
one, right?
toasted
The
one's
one where you
really
feel like
good.
you're just licking wood.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Got a remnants of that.
Yeah.
Josh, I wish you could do beer.
Yeah, me too.
So here's why.
Mhm.
You know me, man. I'm always like building the relationships,
Mhm.
doing certain things for certain people, and there's some unspoken favors, which typically I don't like call upon because I'm not that kind of human being. But if there's going to be some sort of like mutual symbiosis there,
Mhm.
sometimes I'll call on those. And so I called on one recently, and hopefully this happens. But with Paul at JFB, and I've got a buddy who's the head distiller down at Southern Grist in Nashville.
Mhm.
I said, hey, how about you guys do a collaboration? So originally, the way that the guy down at Southern Grist, his name's Jared Welch, learned to commercially brew. I hooked him up with Paul, and Paul's like, yeah, man, come on up. I'll show you how to commercially brew. Went down there, and Jared's very experimental. So you would like, if you could drink beers,
Mhm.
you love him because, dude, he does some wild things with wild ingredients. He's not afraid to get into the Brettanomycins, to get into the sours.
Mhm.
Like he's all about that. But I said, hey, I'm going to call on my favor here. I said, I want you guys to do a collaboration together. And Jared's gotten deep into the barrel age stuff. And so if you could drink those beers,
Yeah.
I would say, let's get a Willet barrel
Yeah.
and we'll pick whatever you want and
Yeah.
we'll age it. And I'd like to do a, if we could, man, like a Flanders or Flemish red, something that's like slightly sour that's aged for a couple years in some barrels.
Mhm.
Um,
I do miss beer so bad.
yeah, but a Willet barrel would be very interesting.
Mhm.
See, I'm more interested in the reverse. Like finishing bourbons off in different beer barrels. Like stout. I don't know like how all that works or if it's even possible, but like a Guinness finished bourbon sounds absolutely delicious to me. I don't know if that's even a thing that could be happening.
You could take like a drop of Guinness and put it into your bourbon. see
No,
if
but
it
like
tastes
I
different.
know like because Jameson has their
Well, the way you said it would be a
Jameson has, like,
bourbon finished Guinness, and they don't really finish that in barrels. Like there's not a beer barrel.
Mhm.
I know,
per
but like
se.
I know like Guinness, Jameson does something with like a stout flavored. I don't know how they do it. And obviously because there's a lot of like wine finished bourbons because you know they finish them all in casks or whatever, barrels or whatever. But like it'd be really neat to have like I don't know how the whole beer process works, but if they like if you did how about this? If you did a bourbon finished beer and then refinished another bourbon in that barrel.
It'd probably be a lot like running the same crop in the same field for 3 seasons in a row and not rotating it. Personally, that's probably what you get.
Yeah,
I
you
don't
think
know.
so?
You know, I do. I think
Dumpster fire.
You're gonna be pulling that wood. You're pulling a lot out of that wood. I don't know. I mean, I'm not gonna discount it.
I don't know. I just don't know if that was even like it's even. A
They
thing
don't
that could
normally
be-
go into barrels to begin with. So that's the hard
Right.
part. So yeah, like you said, it'd have to. Yeah.
We actually had a beer that was finished in Willet barrels.
I've had
Oh,
beer.
really?
Yeah, so it was when we were doing this in the garage, and I can't. Who was the guy? He owned the brewery. It was a big one out in California, and he was at the White Buffalo concert, and he opened up for the White Buffalo.
Oh,
Do you remember what?
I
do you
know
know
you're
what
talking
brewery
about.
that was?
Oh.
It has kind of a funky name, a little bit of a funky name, and I know
It
you guys
does.
would know it.
Because I've had that beer multiple times. I'm trying to remember what that was.
But it was definitely
that was when Rick met the
That
White
was-
Buffalo's
yeah.
dad, right? Yeah.
yeah.
And he bought the whole bar a round of beers, and because he was
Yeah.
playing,
Yeah, he said, well,
or not
he said,
White Buffalo's dad, but the guy that
yeah,
owned
the guy that owned the brewery. He said,
Yeah.
while I'm playing this song, he said, beer's free for the duration of the song.
I don't know. I can't remember. But
Man.
I think
But yeah, it was finished in Willet barrels, and it was very sweet. It was like 10, 11%. It was pretty good, but
yeah. But that's what I'm wondering, because like there's plenty of beers that are finished in bourbon barrels. So what would happen if you took that? I'd be interested in trying
Mhm.
a bourbon that was finished after the
Mhm.
beer was,
Yeah, I don't know how that would go. Yeah.
because I think like that stout, like the stout flavor.
Mhm.
Lagunitas.
That's
what it was. Lagunitas.
That doesn't ring a bell.
Yeah, because that was didn't Miles bring that? The one?
Well, he might have brought Lagunitas, but I had that.
No, yeah. No,
Yeah.
I'm saying, but I think after we told that story, and then Miles is the guy that came on the podcast one time. He was all nervous. He was like, well, I couldn't just bring like Budweiser here. So he's like, I stopped at this drive-through, and he's like, give me that Lagu. He's like something that sounded fancy, and it happened to be the same. Like, yeah,
Lagunitas.
yeah. It was awesome.
Linguini?
Yeah, linguine. Yeah.
So- What do you guys pair your whiskey with, food wise?
Almonds and chocolate, dark chocolate.
Really?
Mm.
I like barbecue.
Oh,
Oh, I can see that too. Yeah,
I
nothing
like
too
meat.
heavy. To me, it's nothing too heavy.
I just thought of so I got these and I thought this was like good bourbon snacks.
Mhm.
You know?
Yeah, something small. Because like a wine, I honestly like if I have a steak, I like a good like a dark like Cabernet,
Mhm.
because it's nice and dry.
Mhm.
It's you're not drinking a whole lot of it, but
Big
there's a
fan.
lot of flavor there. They kind of balance each other out. But yeah, with bourbon, it's just a little snack.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't usually pair it with food other than like a dessert necessarily, but
Okay.
just me.
Bro, that's my meal and
Yeah.
my dessert right there.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
drink it.
Yeah, or that every once in a while I get on a winter day
Mhm.
on a Saturday morning,
Mhm.
you get about 3/4 of a cup of coffee, about half of a packet of hot chocolate, a dash of milk, and a little bit of bourbon.
Interesting. I'll give it a shot.
It's real nice.
What do you call that? Sasquatch.
Yeah.
my
Hair of the dog.
functioning alcoholic, but it has hot chocolate and coffee, and it's Saturday, so it's
Dude, but
okay.
okay, so the question
Is that the difference between coffee and coffee?
Coffee,
Is that
coffee,
Coffee.
the coffee and a bagel.
The Boston.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, why
It is good though, because
Pepperidge Farms.
I was just gonna say, why not do it without the whiskey or the bourbon?
no, you could, but it's just it's a nice. The bourbon actually adds an additional like flavor to it, because with just the coffee and hot, it's just too sweet. Like, because I drink my coffee black, I don't like do any cream or anything like that.
Yeah.
So like, but like a little bit of coffee, and that's why I don't use a whole packet, anything like that. Just a little bit of hot chocolate. It kind of goes with that the whole dessert feel.
Huh.
A little bit of bourbon. It just has it gives the obviously I'm not going to be mixing an 18-year Elijah Craig with my
Why not?
my coffee and hot chocolate, but it's a nice little balance there.
Okay.
I think I got the idea from like an Irish coffee, maybe. My
I like Irish coffees.
My mom's giving me a
With a
couple
little
of
cream de menthe in there.
Yeah, my mom and her fiance, we used to have a couple. It's nice. It's like a little treat. It's a little dessert.
Yeah. I like a good Irish coffee.
Plus the
Coffee
coffee
and
gives it
Baileys.
that stout flavor, kind of that I'm talking about. That dark,
Mhm.
rich. But
So how did that out west trip end?
Stopped midway through Nebraska and then drove home. We went up north. From Fort Collins up to Cheyenne, Wyoming, and bought you a bunch of this.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate that.
Got a barbecue place up there that was really good.
Did you get pulled pork brisket? What'd you get?
No,
Ribs, chicken?
I'm sorry, it wasn't a barbecue place. It was just a regular restaurant that just had weird shit on it. It was like a Fridays but on steroids. Some local place. I forget what it's called. It was good. They had a hamburger, some Tony kind of hamburger or something like
I
that.
remember you sending me that.
Yeah. But I guess they have
Tony or something.
Yeah. But they had all kinds of cool shit. And they had unlimited onion rings or unlimited fries with each hamburger.
Sounds very American.
Oh, dude, it was so good.
That does sound
It was so
unlimited
stinking
fried
good.
something.
But it was like, and then they serve you way too many freaking things or whatever that is.
Sounds even more American.
Yeah,
Very
but
Midwestern.
it was nuts. And there's people. It was right over the border, and everybody. Not everybody, but there's a lot of people with cowboy hats.
Oh yeah.
Because there's literally a bison sign on the side of the road, and I was way down. I was like, that's a bison sign. My wife's like, no, it's not. Yeah, it's the shape of a bison. And she's like,
Not a
okay.
Buffalo Fred.
There's a very big difference.
Yeah, so it was. And then so there was a bunch of bison burgers and stuff like that.
Oh,
But
nice.
yeah, ended like that. We took a right, took I-80 all the way home, and I watched, let's see here, 2 Harry Potter movies and did The Hobbit on the way out. So did
Speaking
Wow.
of bison and bison burgers, tell that story real quick about the was it the Ace whatever story you were
Oh,
talking about?
yeah.
Real quick. Tony will like this.
So,
What story?
So I have an Ace True Value where I live.
Yeah.
And Fred had just given me a Bearded Butcher Chipotle seasoning or whatever like that. I
That's
think it
my
was
favorite. I use it every day.
when the last time he was here, yeah.
Yeah, so it was when I was here, he gave it to me, and I was like,
Shout
oh,
out
cool.
to Scott and Seth.
Yeah. So I went to Ace, and I was picking up some more pellets for my Traeger, and went in there, and they had a whole bunch of spices, and I was like, oh, I wonder if the Bearded Butcher stuff's over here, So I was looking around. It wasn't, and I was like, I actually had one in my pocket, which is funny because I was like, I just got in seasoning, and I was like, I need
This
that
story
around.
just
Well,
got real weird.
yeah,
I didn't
no.
know he was going to get this weird.
No,
He didn't
no.
tell me about this part earlier.
So
It actually didn't get. It's Chad. It didn't get that weird.
no,
Yeah.
it's not that weird yet.
yeah, just wait.
Yeah, give me like 5 minutes. So, anyways, I had just got done seasoning the chicken or whatever like that. I was like, shit, any more pellets stuck in my pocket went there. And I was like, I wonder if they got any here. They didn't. And so I know who the owner is. He's an old guy that literally works in there every single day.
Yeah.
Is the owner. I was
Yeah.
like, okay. So I was like, hey, you guys got any of that Bearded Butcher seasoning stuff? Because I was like, they're pretty big from what I looked up,
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I've never heard of it, actually. He's like, what, who is it? I told him, he's like, no, I never heard of anything about that. I was like, oh, okay, they're pretty big. They just had Brock Lesnar and all that. He's like, oh, okay. It was like 3 or 4 weeks, maybe a month or so later, I walk in there and I look around at the seasonings again, and I'd look over. I was like, holy shit, there's this big, huge freaking stand of Bearded Butcher seasonings.
Nice.
I mean, giant, like right there at the front of the store,
Yeah.
like prime location. I looked, I was like, that old man freaking listened to me. I was like, holy crap. And it was like half picked over too. So
That's awesome, man.
yeah. And it was pretty recent when they got it. So
Oh, that's super cool.
Tony, is that the brand?
Lagunitas.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, you called it, Cass.
Willetized.
Willitized.
How do you even have a name
It was
for
a
it?
4-pack, yeah.
Bro,
Can I
that's
get
your
a
new
shirt with
nickname.
Willetized on it?
Willetized. yeah,
Bro,
we might-
Good luck. Every time I go on their website to order like an XL
Yeah.
shirt, they're always sold out.
I know
I'm
someone.
a large
one.
I know
I'm
someone
good.
that can
Yeah,
make some
you
Fly under
shirts.
the
should.
radar.
I could whip some up for you.
I know. Yeah, that was exactly what it was.
Oh, that's funny.
Yep.
How was it?
I feel sacrilege saying this. I don't love beers that are barrel proofs. They're aged in bourbon barrels. They start to take on that sweetness, and I like a sour beer, or I'll take like an IPA or something like that. So
That's for you. Like those sour ones.
yeah,
I can do
love-
like
love
half
some
a one,
sours. Yeah,
just for like the novelty of it. But
yeah.
after it's
They
like,
do. I
it's-
mean, you I don't drink a lot of them because you make the you're
yeah. Well, at the same time, I'll
Self
drink
fries.
those what are those the grapefruit natties or
the
whatever they are.
flamingo.
The flamingo.
What?
Yeah.
Those are grapefruit flavored?
Is it what flavor is it? It's like lemonade. It's like a strawberry lemonade.
Yeah, it's a strawberry
natty.
lemonade.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, bro.
Half of one's not bad.
What?
Sometimes
It's
you
very
just get too
very
much.
rich. I mean, it was good.
Ooh, that's
It's definitely a dessert beer, but it's something that's super sweet.
I could see that.
Super sweet.
There was that peanut butter beer we tried that one time, Fred.
Yeah, I'm not.
That
feeling
was-
that either.
Dude, that wasn't bad. It
I'm not-
tasted like
it's not
peanut
bad.
butter.
It's just too much for me.
It was
there used to
interesting.
be a peanut butter porter that was at
I think that's what it was.
Willoughby Brewing, and I think they went out of business. But those guys were super cool back in the day.
Huh.
I went out to Great American Brew Fest, and we met them out there, and there were some cool dudes. And that beer was tasty. It was very tasty.
Yeah, sometimes it just gets too rich though. But on that note, we've gone full circle from starting with bourbon all the way back to bourbon and whatnot. I really appreciate. I mean, it's time's kind of flying. I mean, look what time
long
it
we
is.
got?
I love it, dude.
I don't know. I think
Keep
we're
Holy
going,
shit.
bro.
Yeah, we're
Keep
like
going.
we've been here for 3+ hours.
Oh, wow.
So, I appreciate you guys. Josh, you have any final words or anything?
This sounds
Anything?
morbid, brother. No, I don't
Not final. Just any
How's this
inspiration.
end?
Yeah, well, I don't know. Last time we had a fantastic discussion. It was probably almost too inspirational.
No, it's good. I mean, I enjoy the conversation.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
we could go on for hours more. But,
I mean, I don't think it'd probably kill us.
No,
No, you gotta
Well,
be-
maybe
we'd
not
be
for
fine.
many hours. Yeah, we could
Yeah.
do really
Fine.
good hours.
no, I appreciate you having me back. Yeah.
We can do this anytime. So I appreciate.
We'll come back for sure.
Yeah.
Foreign platforms are where it's at.
Yeah,
Mhm.
That'd be good.
for sure.
More cheese.
More cheese. Hey, you could always use more cheese. Thanks, guys.
Until you can't poop.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Gotta poop, man. You
Hold
can't-
on, we didn't ask Chad if he had any departing words here.
Oh.
That's a
Subjects or
nicer way
anything.
to say it.
Oh. I don't know. Live well, eat well, be happy.
Sounds like a.
Try drugs. They're actually not bad.
Oh, I was gonna say you started off. It sounded like a middle-aged white woman decorating her house.
And then it went
A Glen Karen.
Glen
10
Karen.
years ago.
10 years ago.
Like
Do we
Glen
really
Karen.
need to?
Live, love,
do we really
laugh.
need to remind her to eat, love, live? No.
Yeah. No.
Yes. No.
Was it THC's interesting? I'd love to try DMT, but if you haven't tried THC, it's very interesting.
If you haven't tried.
He's like a new CrossFitter.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Have you heard about
Guys,
have you heard about a burpee?
THC?
Have
I
you?
have. I've had some. And did you know that THC is available in honey?
Yeah.
Just you remind me of a CrossFitter.
Bees.
That's fine.
And one time at band camp.
Hey, we'll see you guys later.
Goodbye.
Thank you for joining us today. Remember, check out the website chronic-curiosity.com to join us at the forum, have some fun, interaction, pick you up a comfy t-shirt, or if you just want to support the show and donate, all that is on the website as well. Thank you. Until next time. See you.